Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar
Welcome to the party.
and Simon.
What the fuck is going on, Matt? What the fuck is going on, Kamar?
That's the energy I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking
I think
about,
I just
baby.
broke the mic.
Yeah, it was pretty loud. Pretty loud for no reason. What we do here is pretty simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We are going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. We're then going to talk about each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. Why does this exist? I don't know. Kamar, do we have any new patrons? Is there a reason you have your bank cards out? Are you about to swipe some?
I'm going to make a deposit. Why, thank you, Brother Matt. Last week we had none, but this week is a totally different week. Hello, new and old listeners alike. This is where I read off the Patreon. Really the people who are the most important to me in life. Not only the Patreons, but I all consider them friends. This week we say, what up to CS Pickle? I think that was
That's a return.
I think that might be my cousin. CS Pickle, love you. Then we have...
Which one?
I don't know which one.
Brian?
I was just trying to say cousin, and
Oh.
if they're listening,
Oh,
they'll be like,
okay.
oh yeah, he recognized me.
Gotcha.
Fucking asshole.
Sorry.
Welcome, CS Pickle, from all the boys. From across the pond, we got Will. Just straight up Will, can't fuck that name up.
Nope.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks, Will.
We also have Mike Fool. Came in big time with some big bucks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike Fool.
Thanks, Mike.
I wonder if that's a real name.
What up, Mike?
Is there a Fool family?
Family of Fools?
Fool lineage.
Probably, yeah.
And last but certainly not least, Will Anderson. Come on down.
Two
He's a new
Wills.
Patreon.
Big week for the Wills. No, thank you guys so much. We love the shit out of you. Thanks for supporting the show.
The
Hopefully,
most honest, genuine way to support
yeah.
podcast.
I will say you might actually no. You know what? You might look around and say the money's not going anywhere, but actually, I've realized that recently it started to look a lot better around here. In the coming months, you will start to see the money.
I want to
hopefully.
say the place I watched some of the podcasts, and I love the blue. You've done an amazing job, Matt. Shout out to Matt.
When I set it up, I honestly was so disappointed. I was like, I spent so much time and not a lot of money, like whatever, a little bit of cash, and I was like, it's not going to show up on screen. It's going to look like shit. Looks okay.
I think it looks great. What do you think, Simon?
Simon
Yeah,
doesn't
you don't
care.
watch it.
I think it looks
it's-
amazing.
I think it
no,
looks amazing.
I'm tired of Matt putting words in my mouth, okay? I think it looks just terrific.
I think it looks amazing, man.
Went from amazing to just terrific. No, it's nice. We got some good feedback too. So, but you will see some changes. I'm hoping. My plan is this: get a TV in here on a stand.
Big screen,
Yeah.
flat back.
Like I said, Kamar and I are going to come in here Sundays. We're going to pre-game. So before the podcast, we're going to come in here and we're going to live stream us watching football.
Barbecue, we'll call it tailgaters.
Well, we can order food or whatever. Simon, you can come if you want, obviously, but I don't think you will.
I'm fine. Thanks for the invite, though, Matthew.
What a piece of
I
shit.
appreciate it. No, again,
Kamar,
Matt,
how was your week?
It's not going to go like this week, Matt, where you put words in my mouth. You tell me that I'm angry. I'm not angry.
No, but we used to be
You don't have to
friends.
take
I
that
got,
We used
I
to
got
be friends.
no hostility. Listen, I don't like football.
You don't? What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? I don't
You
watch
kicked a
football.
30-yard field goal.
Yeah, I
You are
like
the
winning,
football player of the crew.
I like winning.
but I do not like football. No, it's just like, I don't like football. I don't
Fair
watch
enough.
football.
Do you like camaraderie? Because 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
I'm not going to be sucked in, Matt. You're not going to do this. I'm not going to do it. Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate it. Matt, look at me. I really appreciate it.
Do you see the way he says? It's like it's not even believable. Though.
I can't believe he's on fire. This is soon.
Yeah, it's quick.
It's going to be a good one.
It's good though. I get it because we said last week that he comes in like he doesn't want to be here, doesn't want to do it.
Yeah,
so this
that's
week,
why I gave you a giant fucking hello
And guns are blazing now.
to both of you
Yeah.
individually.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want anybody after the fact to be able to say, oh, Simon, showed favoritism to
What
one
up,
or the
Chico,
other.
Matt? Come on.
Kamar, how was your week?
Big letdown after the last week I had performing and stuff. It was like I realized how much I miss it, but everything saved because I love the Olympics. I don't know about you guys, but I was just watching Olympics after Olympics after Olympics, and then I watched this documentary on HBO about Woodstock '99.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I haven't seen the documentary, but I've watched a few things.
It's produced by Bill Simmons, so it's really good. But it's so interesting. Like Woodstock '99, we were the trashiest. You know, the headliners were like Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit. And all these women got raped, and it was just a complete disaster.
That was the year they burnt it down, right?
It got burnt down because on the last day,
Limp Bizkit
kids. It was just around the time of Columbine, and these do-gooders passed out all these candles to have a moment of a candle vigil.
And they lit the fucking
and
shit on fire.
they lit the place on fire. So it is interesting to see from Woodstock, the first one, and there's 3 in total, but this one was just a complete debauchery. And then they sort of like, that was the end of that bullshit, and now you have Coachella and these well organized.
The craziest thing about Woodstock is if you go back and look at the footage of the people sliding around in mud, it's actually all feces.
In '99 it was,
yes.
for sure. Mouths full of the mud.
None of it was mud. I mean, I guess there was some dirt in there.
Puddles around the porta potties.
Let's go splash
No
around.
connection. It was just debauchery.
Yeah.
And that was my week. Being let down. Can't wait to get back on stage.
Don't let it define you, Kamar. But I'm happy.
Crypto is fucking coming back. The passion.
Can you at least say I was right?
Not financial advice. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you said a crypto winter, but
no. Well, what I said to you, I said, let's not buy Ethereum right now because it's the all-time high. Probably not the best time.
I was new to the market.
I know. That's fine. But yes, Kamar, the hope there's a problem though is if Bitcoin gets resisted at 42, which it kind of is right now, you could see it go down to 18. In which case,
you're talking Chinese, man. I just hope and pray. That's my strategy.
Listen, if it goes down, buy. If you believe in it, that's the key. Simon, how was your week?
Thanks for asking, Matt. My week was great.
Anything
Got a couple of things to talk about.
Written on a bag.
Oh, that's right, Matt. I write on whatever's closest to me at the time with whatever utensil I can find.
Okay, let's hear how your week was.
Let's see how my week was. Right. So things that bother me. Let's start there. Just to remain consistent. I noticed that the things that bothered me seem to have to do with girls. So I wanted to give you one that was guys, just so it didn't seem...
Women or girls?
I think it was women. What? You know what? Who are you?
I was just asking.
Like Sally Wokeness? What's going on?
No, nothing to do with woke. It was like, are young girls bothering you or is it women?
No, it was clantily dressed
Scantily.
bombshells.
Okay, so women are bothering you. I'm not trying to be woke. How does woke... You know what? I don't
You know
like the way you came in here
Save
today
this
at all.
for your week, all right? Oh yeah. So I'm in the gas station the other day, and there are these 2 guys in there, and there's the music playing, and I think it's the music from the store. It's not. This guy's playing his own music in the store.
Just out of his phone.
I don't know, or out of a ghetto blaster. Either way, it's unacceptable. You can't push your music on other, like, if you want to listen to it really loud in your car, I can't stop you. I think it's crazy and stupid, but I can't stop you. But in establishments. Oh, how about those guys golfing, Matt?
You know what? If he didn't get to it, I was going to have to say something.
I totally forgot.
You weren't going to bring that up?
I wasn't
It
going to,
on the list?
It's not on my list. So you can do that in your week.
Sure.
Okay, great.
Sure.
Because I have a bunch of stuff to get to. So there's something that bothers me, all right? Just laying it out there. Don't play music. You can listen to music in your house. You can listen to music in your car or in your earbuds. Those are the only places. Maybe in a park.
You know what's weird about that statement? Just one thing is I agree with you, but it's always like, let's say you went to the beach. Okay, you're with your family.
Yeah.
Let's say the guy beside you pulls out like a wireless speaker or something, big one.
Okay.
Starts playing music. What if it's all bangers? Like it's all songs you really like.
Yeah, if it was the beach, I would be okay with that. Like I know going to the beach that I'm possibly going to have to listen to somebody else's
fair
music.
enough.
I was in the
But
gas
in an
station.
establishment. Yeah, okay, fair enough, yeah.
First of all, the guy working there should have been like, "Yo, it's our music only."
So like if I showed up to a restaurant
Beat it.
with a wireless speaker.
It's raunt, but yeah,
Okay.
exactly, Matt. A little bit of UFO news. So I was telling this to Matt, but this is very interesting, Kamar. So
That's his way of telling you he wants you to listen to him.
I'm listening.
person I trust, information I trust, says that he spoke to some guy who has the footage
Oh, this is ironclad.
of giant triangle, black, coming out of the water, and then boom, disappearing up into the sky. The size of a football field. That would be very cool.
Sounds legit. Some guy has the footage. How did he get the footage?
Listen, all of these things are some guy who has the footage, and then next thing you know, we all see the footage.
What else you got in your bag?
Did either of you guys watch that nature or the mushroom documentary?
No.
So there's a mushroom documentary on Netflix. It's Paul Stamets. It's pretty much just the
Oh my God.
Reiteration of everything we know.
yeah, but it's really cool to see it with the like graphics. You know what I mean?
That reminds me, I had it in my notes from last week, but didn't get to it. Did you see the Showtime Alien documentary?
Showtime Alien documentary. No, what documentary is it?
I think it comes out this week, or
So
it's
you
already out.
couldn't have seen it.
Well, no, I think it's either wow, everyone's
Wow,
spicy,
spicy.
today. This is fucking. We're all on in fuego.
I tried to put that in smoothly. Does it show like a cartoon depiction of Paul Stamets' epic trip? You mean?
Like hang out in a tree.
He talks about it.
But do they animate that?
They don't really animate it. It's kind of animated.
know I love
guess.
recreations.
Yeah, I know you do. Anyways, it's cool. But they said something during it that mushrooms are the sex organ of the nature world. And they really are. Like when you think about it, they're like there are so many mushrooms that look like dicks. And
Pretty
they
much all of them.
squirt out their spores to reproduce. And
Spurs, sporms, I'm with you.
We know that we're more like mushrooms than mushrooms are like plants.
I like the sperm and spore. Sounds very similar. Yeah.
Anyways,
We were with you, Simon.
We're in. Well,
you can
what's
still
the
be with
point?
me. That's it.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that's it.
mushrooms are the
And
sex
then,
organs of the
and
planet.
then the whole mini putt incident, which I'll get to in Matt's.
Simon wants to
This
throw
is-
his
this
week
sounds
into mine.
juicy, you guys in your mini pop.
Well, no. Okay, so for listeners, Simon and I used to bowl every week. A lot of people would come with us, but it was really competitive between, I would say, Simon and I. Simon won't bowl anymore, so we turned it to mini putt. It's a nice outdoor activity. We're both members at the place. They roll out the red carpet.
Members at a mini putt.
Simon won't
know you
bowl
made it
anymore.
win.
I don't even think it's open anymore, but
Yeah, well, either way.
okay.
Yes, we're members, so we get to go whenever we please. Like I said, they roll out the red carpet. But this week, it's been super busy there lately because I guess people have caught on that it's open, zero COVID protocols. Yeah, it's outdoors.
It's run by teenagers.
Yeah, the place is a cash cow. There's like two 16-year-olds working. That's not. None of that is to the point. The point is we've been going recently. It's been really busy. To the point where the other day we played 18. We went to play the other 18. Simon looked at it and was like, I'm leaving. I can't do this.
That's the worst waiting.
We don't care, though, because we're members, so we don't pay. It's fine. This week
Humble brag.
This week we go. We play 18. We play the other 18, and everything's moving smoothly. There's a group ahead of us. No big deal. There's a group behind us. Again, no big deal. Everything is moving smoothly. And then we hit 11 or 12, and there's a fucking serious log jam. I mean, like 10 groups of people ahead of us. And we can't really see because there's a pine tree, but there's like a group of 8 Indian people, 4 of them like super young kids, obviously like a birthday or something. And they're on the one hole that has a water hazard, and the kids are just consistently hitting them in the water. There's no stroke limit. Long story short, Simon is irate. There's no other way to describe
As
it.
one should be.
As you would.
I mean, a lot of people were visibly angry at the.
Just a second. These kids are just teeing off in the water. Like they got endless balls or something.
First,
Oh,
just
they're-
let's back up just one sec.
Sure.
Matt doesn't. We don't know if they were Indian or not. They could have been numerous nationalities.
Does race matter?
Okay, they looked rather dot Indian. If we're being,
They could have been Pakistani. They could have been.
did you understand where I was going with it?
Yeah.
Okay. When I said Indian, you knew what region of the world I was talking about.
Absolutely. I don't know. I hope it has some part of the story. Or you're
No, I just think you had-
scripter. Okay.
Yeah.
Paint the picture.
I'll tell you why it has a part in the story in a second.
There we go.
Anyways, just not to drag this out anymore. I asked the guy very nicely if he could speed up. And he said that no, they were in a big group. And we would just have to wait.
Hold on.
And you were a twosome?
No, we were a threesome. But
three-
there were 4 other foursomes waiting on one hole of mini putt. It's insane, Kamar. Like that, it's
Hold on.
insane.
Keep in mind, too.
Well, you guys are members, so it's extra insane.
Simon didn't quietly approach them. There's a stream of water in between Simon and the group, and he's yelling across the stream, "Hey, hey, hey!" And the guy's not paying. So he finally gets their attention. Now they're pissed. Simon just stormed off the course, went and got the 17-year-old that works there, and was like,
Were they bigger than you guys?
No, I'm sure we could have fought them.
A little roundhouse. It's all over.
But that's not the point. They had a bunch of kids with them. Nobody was fighting anyone. The guy, first of all, you don't play 8 people. You play 2 foursomes. That's what keeps things moving properly. If you have little kids and they're insane, you don't let them run all over the fucking place. And when you turn around and you see there are people waiting for you, you fucking pick up your ball and you move 2 holes in advance just to make sure there's some space between you and them. The reason why nationality matters, Kamar, is because sometimes in other places,
decorum like that doesn't exist.
Is different. It's just different. So you end up in a different situation and you think you're doing the right thing, I guess, and you're just not. You don't know the etiquette of golf, whatever, you know?
Now, this has been the most boring 20 minutes of a podcast ever, but let me finish by saying this.
It was cultural.
I don't think I said this. I didn't know what they were supposed to do. Simon just brought up a good point. They could have just moved 2 holes ahead. I'd never thought of that because in my head, Simon, I thought like this. What are they supposed to do in that scenario? Hear me out. If they stop, they have 6 groups that they have to let through. It's going to take 20 minutes.
Oh, no. You don't stop, Matt. First of all, have control of your children. I'm a father. I had young kids. I know what it's like to take them, and that was like out of control. We're not going to talk about this anymore. I'm sorry.
It's true. Beat your kids.
Don't beat your kids, but
beat
you
your
can
kids.
control your kids way better than that. That was crazy. That was like Lord of the Flies.
It was out of control. Either way. So that was my week, I guess. I watched Simon storm off a mini putt course in anger.
I think that's the funniest part of this story.
Yeah.
That
Well,
is mini putt and not on a golf course.
Do you think I should have fought them?
No. Okay. Not as a member.
I had a 38 as well on that 18. So
Okay. I think maybe you should have had them banned as a member, but
I sent the guy out to try and help the 2 remaining players, but my round
Kamar,
was
as a
ruined.
member, I find that very uncouth and not member-like.
to discriminate like that.
Not discriminate. I only brought
Just
up...
pull the heavy.
Yes, pull the heavy, yes.
And this is that one golf course that's down in the Hunt Club sort of area.
Mariveau, yeah.
Do you guys do the tour?
Well, no, we're only members.
other
We're only
courses.
members at one course, so...
This course does have a sister course in Philadelphia where you could play.
And you guys are members there.
Yes, of course, yeah.
We're just through association.
We're making the Philly trip
Well,
next
We
week.
don't get
Carlsberg.
down there
You guys
very
made it,
often, but
So proud of you guys.
yeah, go fuck
All right,
yourself.
let's actually do what we really do here. Kamar, do you want to run down the list of guests?
I
this
would
week,
love
please?
to, brother Matt. I was so 3 guests, perfect. This all lines up. Even check Saturday morning. Nothing late posted. Then somehow
Yeah, slipped it under the fucking...
4 hours, and I
know.
cannot tell you how much I dreaded the thought of having to listen to that episode.
I knew right away 4 hours. I was like, they're drinking, and right off the bat, booze. I was like, this is a problem.
That being said, I was pleasantly surprised. But the week kicked off with my favorite bulldog, 1687, Jimmy Dore. Followed back by 1688, which I'm surprised you didn't know because you knew he was coming on, Simon. Greg Fitzsimmons. It hasn't been gone that long, but a return of 1689, Yannis Pappas.
Felt like he was on like a month ago, wasn't he?
Feels like it was on a month ago. And then the late-breaking 4-hour marathon, 1690, JessiMea Pelouso. May I? Pelouso.
I will say this, for me, weeks where we have an ad, it's always actually really nice when Joe has 4.
Deciding where the break is. Oh, and
It's
also
the easiest thing to do.
the VPN is out of control. I don't know about you guys in your listening experience, but Joe just interrupting to talk about VPN. That didn't happen to you?
Oh yeah, it happened to me.
It's out of control.
Kamar, what do you mean I should know because I listen to Sunday papers?
Oh, I know how much you listen to Sunday papers because what happens is I hear you talking and then I go listen to it. I go, oh, is it Simon or Gibbons?
It's because I listen right on the way over here.
I know, and you just
I know.
regurgitate everything you say.
I didn't listen to it today.
Well,
specifically for that reason.
I will tell when I hear it, but it was unbelievable, the talking points that I thought were his. And then when I heard him again a day later, I was like, wait a second. Does Simon have any thoughts? No, I'm just kidding. It was the best.
Wow. Okay.
No,
you know what, Kamar? No.
It's on.
Touche.
The best was how you described Gibbons when he found out that...
Well, was I right on the money about that?
Right on the money. I've never seen someone have a breakdown, or I didn't see it, heard someone just... What?
But I love him, and that can't be right.
But I tried to research. He might be a Trump supporter. Who knows? Great taste of music.
Do you want to rate the week? Is that a possibility? I don't know if that's a number, but
It's a little childish. I'll give it a 3.5 out of the gates. All comics.
it was all comic. You know what's funny is I used to be the big guy who was like, I just want to see comics on the show. And then you get a week like this and you're like, maybe not these comics.
Well, Jimmy Dore, he's not really a comic. Like,
No,
he's a
he's
comic, but he's a
100% a
pundit.
Comic
He's
first, though.
Okay.
It ends, well, we'll get into it.
I'll give it a 3.
And I will give it a 3.25.
Okay. Interesting. Makes a poop noise and then
No,
goes
the poop noise was
3.25.
not associated at the week.
This is a
Okay.
cheap laugh.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's it.
All right. Mario, you want to fire it up?
1687 Jimmy Dore. Now, as I accuse you of parroting everything Gibbons says on his podcast, I may be guilty of doing the same. Jimmy Dore is basically my...
Easier jump off.
So,
But that's interesting because he seems to me to be more left than right.
Oh, he is totally. Like, he came from the Young Turks. But he points out the bullshit. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And like he said in this podcast, he'd go after the right, but no one cares. And he has fans on both sides.
Yeah.
But he's just in a weird space of like...
Keep in mind, when I say more left, he seems very centrist.
Well, I think we all are centrists at the end of the day. I mean, extremes on
we
the other
all
side. We all are.
No. We all are. Matt and I, this side of the room. You are certainly not a centrist.
Well, I'm with Jimmy Dore, so... I'm a
You see,
centrist.
wait, hold on a sec. You can't just say you're with someone when all of your opinions seem to... Like, he's not a Trump supporter.
He's not a Trump supporter, but he's not a Trump detractor.
Okay. So it's like...
When Trump was president, his main thing was the lies the media told about him, not Trump being an asshole. Okay.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
And he's angry.
Yeah.
I listen to this on fast speed, and it's like...
Oh, you listen to this on
Well,
fast speed. It's
They didn't even get to what he was angry about.
No.
And that's interesting, right?
How he's so all over the place.
Well, no. I mean, that's a huge part of he's being like persecuted right now by Anna Kasparian or whatever her
thought
name
that's
is.
what his main thing was to come on about that?
I mean, I thought that's what they were going to talk about, but then they didn't, which is fine. I liked it better this way. But I'm
Yeah.
surprised he didn't use this platform to try and fucking bury those dum-dums.
I think they're burying themselves, and I brought it up already, so it'd be...
You brought it up already?
Well, we talked about it in the post, Joe, about how he's fighting with the Young Turks.
Yeah, but Joe doesn't know that we brought it up.
Joe does
He
not
might.
know. Joe does not know. But I think
He was Mike
doesn't-
Fool.
He doesn't want a badmouth chank in them. He should, but
That's what I'm driving at. Do you think Joe was like, yeah, I don't want
I
to
don't want to get in this and
be
pick
on
a
a
side.
side? Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Interesting.
What was interesting about this podcast is we almost lost Joe.
Meaning?
The ice bath.
Oh, yeah.
He thought he was going to die.
I mean, it does seem aggressive, 20 minutes.
I'll tell you, I watch Alone right now.
Yeah.
Alone is a show on some station, Kamar, where the contestants see who can last the longest in the woods. You've never watched it? It's been on for like 9 seasons.
Didn't Joe have a contestant on?
Joe did have a contestant on, Matt. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I'm more of a naked and afraid guy.
Yeah, we've done this already. We've done this bit. But anywho,
Would you go on?
Yeah, sure.
he'd last for 2... Oh, on Naked and Afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Alone, he wouldn't last for like 2 minutes.
What do you get?
$1 million?
No.
For Naked and Afraid, I don't think...
Alone, you get your clothes and just go?
You get your clothes, you get to bring like a certain amount of things with you. But the guys who go on it, dude, like within the first 5 days, they've built themselves a log cabin. They've like built fucking bows and arrows. They're
I for
amazing.
sure could do 24 hours.
I'm not denying you can do 24 hours, but to win, I think the winning guy stays out there like almost a year.
Well, if
Or half a
it
year
would take
or
me from this
something.
podcast, I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, well.
Work gets in the way.
Anywho, point is, there's a woman on it who is going out to try and set her fish trap. And her plan was, I'm going to get in the water. I'm going to set this trap. It's going to take me, 6 minutes. I'm going to be fine. She got out there. She got tangled up on her rope, got all fucked up, was in the water for 35 minutes or something. Gets out, and this is all because they filmed themselves, right? So she was legitimately, you could see her. She was so cold. She put herself over the fire and ended up getting burns all on the inside of her legs because I guess at that point you don't know how.
She was so cold.
Yeah.
The numbness.
Anywho, just to point out Joe and his stupidness.
I remember for it was like fucking some swim thing that they did at school where they filled a canoe full of water and ice and they made you sit in it for I think it was a minute. And I remember after 30 seconds, I hopped out and I nearly threw up. It was fucking...
Hold on a sec. Did you go to a Montessori school or something? Some German school?
No, I went to Hopewell and then Glebe.
They did this in public school?
Yeah, I think it was Hopewell. You went to Brewer to swim.
Yeah.
And Brewer, they did it. They filled I remember they brought a canoe in, filled it with cold water, and then put a shitload of ice in it. Made everyone...
Did you ever do this, Kay?
I did something similar. It's sort of like a test, so you know how... Were you in your clothes as well?
I think we did that one as well,
It's
yes.
like if you dump in a canoe...
In case you
know how to
fall into cold
Yeah,
water.
yeah,
I
yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
And I immediately knew, I was like, well, if this happens, I'm dead.
No more boating for you.
Yeah.
The craziest one is when your canoe flips and then they show you that underneath the canoe there's that pocket of water.
Mm-hmm.
That's with all boats, yeah.
Yeah.
It's magical.
But that's a weird
Save your
feeling
life.
when you're underwater and it's that saving the little bit of air. Ugh, I don't like it.
It's all right if you have a life jacket on. But Joe almost got hypothermia. Back to that. People were getting a hypothermia at the concert because they were getting so hot. The body was trying to cool inside. Isn't that weird? You can get so hot you get hypothermia. I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
They talked about Jon Stewart and what has happened with Colbert. Is that the weirdest thing that you used to like him, right?
Yeah,
the
when
Colbert
he, when
Show?
he was on the
I didn't
Daily
like the,
Show.
I liked him on the Daily Show. I didn't love the Colbert Report. It was okay. I mean, if you go back and listen, he says that his dream job was to take over for Letterman. So, I mean, at the end of the day, he got...
Shout out to him. He's accomplished what he wanted.
Well, that's what I'm...
But do you think how you look at him has changed? Do you like him more now or less?
Oh, no. I mean, like I said, since the Daily Show, it's been a downward spiral, I would say.
Indifferent?
I didn't watch the Colbert Show. I don't.
Well, I always thought it was
the
garbage.
Colbert
but
Report.
I'm
or
biased
whatever
because
it's
all he
called.
did is make fun of Trump. But I wonder, did I change or has he changed?
But the Colbert Report was way pre-Trump.
Yes, and it would have been amazing had he been doing that
Yeah.
when Trump was president.
Yeah.
But I would have taken it seriously as gospel.
Yes.
Yeah, we're in an age of misinformation.
Yeah, that's very clear, yeah.
That's what I thought more of his point was, is that all the mainstream media agree on one thing, and constantly find out later it's wrong. And Joe asked him at the end, or said shows like you and The Hill could change media, do you think that's possible? I don't think it is. Like 10 years from now, will he be more watching CNN or Fox? Like all of them. And I'm not.
But why? You're the one who thinks that like Hollywood is dead, so you
Yeah.
somehow don't think that mainstream media is dead, though? That seems odd.
I agree
you
with
think,
both those statements.
but again, if you think that YouTube is going to like crush all of them, then why wouldn't you assume that people like The Hill or...
But are enough people watching Jimmy Dore going, fuck, the new, like maybe younger people who I'm not around are like, this is all bullshit. Like we were just talking, it's all a sham.
The people who are stuck on CNN and Fox and those type of old school media networks, let's call them, they're on the last quarter
You think they're in the
of
death
their
throes?
journey.
I see the
you
problem. Come
You
on.
know what I'm saying?
I agree. I think so. But I don't know if it's going to be replaced by like Jimmy Dore.
I don't know if it'll be Jimmy Dore. It'll be some show that isn't bound by like following in his model. You know what I mean? Isn't
CNN will turn into like TMZ or something.
bound by ad structure.
Because what he's saying also on this is YouTube suppressing them and pushing up CNN or MSNBC or whatever. So there's someone pushing back. Like I consider it someone like having their finger on the scale.
Why, you got to talk into the mic.
And how do they decide that?
There you go.
Like just the situation. I liked how he said they don't have elections; they have selections.
Yeah.
Because we're in a situation where Kamala Harris could be president, and the person no one wanted is president. That seems like the most broken system ever.
I mean, we also know that just giving yourself a third, fourth, and fifth party don't make it any different.
Well, that's what he thinks has to happen.
I'm not saying it doesn't. Listen,
Something happened with the Tea Party.
I'm not saying it's not a good idea. They should have multiple parties for sure. It's a great idea. I'm just saying that we have multiple parties, and would you not agree that you still don't feel like you have the best choices or any choice really? That they all kind of toe the party line in a way.
Even though we have 4 parties, we have 16 parties, whatever, but there's only 3 that are in play.
I mean,
Black
5
Caucus, well,
really.
I guess you consider them the Green Party, but it's only the Liberals or the Conservatives or whatever.
I mean, I agree with
Federally
you.
in
Yeah,
power.
but there's the NDP, there's the Bloc.
Before it was legal, there was the Weed Party,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So there you go, right there.
Oh, we had a Communist Party.
Yeah.
We had an anarchy
There's all
party.
sorts of places you could put your vote.
Oh, there was the guy that wanted the government would give you $10,000 every year on your birthday. Weed was like, I forget what it was, but like weed was given to every Canadian.
I would think naively we have more democracy here than they do there.
Well, they would tell you differently.
But there's just not as much money in Canadian politics. I mean, it's still ridiculous, but down there, it's ridiculous. Like, did you guys ever see the interaction between Fauci and Paul? Rand Paul?
Rand Paul? No.
You never saw it?
No, man, I don't watch any of
But
that
anyways,
shit.
the end of the day, one side said he won, the other side said he won, and you're like, me personally, whoever gets flustered loses. In my eyes, it was Fauci.
But that's how it always is. Like, look at what happens when there's like a debate. You know what I mean? Trump versus Biden.
Like
You go to the news, Trump crushed him. You go to the other side, Biden crushed him. Like, you'll never.
same with that Crowder versus Sam Cedar. Both sides thought they won.
Sure.
And that is what the powers that be want, according to Jimmy.
I forgot to mention earlier, did you see that an Israeli won gymnastic medal? Gold.
The Zohan?
Is he bubbly? What event?
Floor.
Oh, the tumbler.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Not good enough for Joe though. He wants breakdancing. Who is deciding which direction we're going? Like what we have to get to? You know what I mean?
Well, there's windsurfing now.
Okay.
So if there's windsurfing, there should be breakdancing.
There, if spoil the surprise,
You brought it up.
breakdancing isn't in the next Olympics.
Oh, it is.
But I was going to bring that up when it came up with the Yannis Pappas. But there it is. It's out of the bag. Show's ruined.
Breakdancing is in the next Olympics, really.
But is there a think tank sort of saying which way we want to go? So we have to silence these voices to help us get to where we're going. Do you understand what I'm asking?
Start again. I feel really stupid today.
Voices are being silenced on the left or the right. But who is like saying, if we silence these voices, it'll make everything better? Zuckerberg. And is it
Is
a
that
board?
is
or
that the right answer?
It could be Zuckerberg. It could be what's her man?
Twitter dude.
Twitter dude.
Jack
Dude,
Dorsey.
yeah.
Jack Dorsey. Could be the chick from YouTube.
Could be that.
Sergey.
Could be one of those guys in space.
One of those guys in space.
One of those
Bezos,
billionaires.
Branson.
Well, like he said, Bezos owns the Washington Post.
Yeah, they all own. They all own
Obviously.
news networks.
And he has a deal with the CIA.
When you get really rich, you get trophy wife, news network, space company, something.
Hot piece of ass.
Oh, that was the first thing I said.
That too.
Trophy wife.
Isn't Elon dating that gross Canadian?
Grimes.
Yeah.
She sold the planet to a little Uzi Vert.
She sold the planet to little Uzi
Apparently
Vert.
bought a planet. She owned one.
That was actually. What do you call it when the? This is how stupid I am today, Matt. Seriously, my brain is not working. When you force the marriage,
An arranged marriage.
an arranged marriage, that's an arranged marriage between
Alien to alien,
alien
yeah.
species.
100%. He was talking about how we've talked about it last week, like why is Cuba struggle or Venezuela, but it's just sanctions. But when in history have we ever seen sanctions turn a country around and they don't work?
But
No.
they don't. I don't think they sanction a country to turn it around. I don't think that's their goal.
Well,
they're
they
not
want,
like
they want to force them to comply or do something. Otherwise, they just let them run. Like it's just putting your foot on another country's throat.
yeah.
I think we should remove all sanctions because they don't work.
Yeah, sanctions are there so that because they have a game plan, right? We're gonna do these 4 things. We're gonna take over the country. We're gonna, supply their opposition with arms. We're going to. What was the one you just said?
Just sanction.
Oh, we're gonna
Economic
put sanctions on them, dude. I'm telling you.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yikes.
And it's interesting how like they're talking about the military, and they're just like they have to keep just like a corporation has is beholden to
The bottom line.
shareholders.
Yeah.
They're like beholden to themselves to keep these wars going and like fucking up. Well, why are they bombing in Ethiopia and stuff? You know what I mean? Like it's just I felt it sort of followed up with what Abby Martin said about how they're the biggest polluter, and Jimmy was saying how they're the worst job maker because obviously they do, and the guys is like we're providing work for all these troops, but what are they doing but wasting money? Perfect example would be Afghanistan.
Well, the real question is like
20 trillion later.
why do you need 20 billion new dollars every year? Like on top
Shouldn't you
of
have
the
shit on
already
lock with all this military and stuff?
Well, not only that, but like you need more and more money every year. Like it seems a bit aggressive.
They have to keep manufacturing consent.
Well,
for
that's
these
the machine, right? That's people are getting paid at the end of this fucking. It's kind of like how Joe was saying. Oh, for the love of God!
He came out of the gates way too hard.
Dude, I don't want to use the R word, but like you are half an R word today.
Well, I watched the making of Forrest Gump today,
Yeah.
which was very
I
interesting.
think we get into deep fakes a little later
Anyways,
on.
go on. I'll
So we're not doing that for the movie game.
No, they didn't. No one ever said that. Jimmy thinks social media is a utility. What do you think of his argument? Because I don't think you agree with that.
No, I think again, my problem is that you put a very dangerous precedent. Like think about it. Jimmy also seems like the type of guy who would be anti the government coming in and pretty much taking your business. So like you create a massive successful business and then the government just deems it a utility and then has free reign over it. It just seems
a slippery slope.
It seems, yes, and it seems very anti-American. I understand what he's saying. I get it. My argument still stands that I think if we all have a problem with social media, we need to just get the fuck off it, and then they will bow to us. We have all the power.
Vote with the dollars.
We have all the power. We just don't yield any of it. Like we just sit back always, and we do the same shit. We complain using social media about social media. You know what I mean? It's a weird.
redundant.
I mean, it's like you said though. Like a couple months ago, you were like, "What platform would you use to push your anti-social media platform?" Social media, like that's the best way to reach
It's
the
a
most
catch-22.
people. Yeah. So And I mean, that's the problem is you also have these. Let me give you an example. Let's say you and I, Kamar, tomorrow we started a page that's basically just dog videos. We call it DogTube.
No hate.
That's it, right? The whole idea is we just want a place where people can go post their dog videos and watch other dog videos, and that's it. And because we're two idiots, we don't have any terms of service when we start, right? It's just an open, just go and whatever. And we notice maybe down the road a couple months that, hey, we got a lot of views here. And then we notice maybe there's a lot of like, I don't know, anti-Jewish sentiment on there, right? Like maybe there's a lot of Nazi videos and we decide to take them down. Are we really impeding on people's free speech at that point? Like what we're trying to do is create a place for dog videos. I don't feel like at that point we're then saying like, and I know your argument is like, well, YouTube controls all this stuff. And I agree, but I think I mentioned this before. I think YouTube is just trying to make it so that it's a bunch of 14-year-olds making mindless content. They'd rather make their money that way than have any of the hills or any of that on there. Any of it, period. Left, right, center, they don't give a fuck. I think YouTube would rather just wipe the entire platform of any political anything at all.
You don't think there's any nefarious part to YouTube where...
Oh, I'm sure. Hold on.
There are people behind the scenes like, we hold this power, we're going to make these things happen now. Because once you get power,
I'm sure
you wield it.
Simon, I'm sure there is. But again, I think that's on us, the people, to be like, if you guys want to decide what we're seeing, we're not going to be here.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm with you. And I've been saying for a long time, just like go somewhere else. Don't go to YouTube if you have a problem with YouTube and you're a creator.
Yeah.
And you go somewhere else. And if enough people go somewhere else, then everybody will follow. If Joe Rogan and 10 other comedians or whatever decided to go somewhere else, start a new fucking platform, they could do that.
I mean, at the same time, though, I will sit here and argue that, we say that from where we're sitting right now. Joe mentions in one of these episodes the difficulty in just opening a comedy club in the city that he moved to. I can't imagine the undertaking of putting together a team to create a video platform on
You'd have to have like 50
Joe
million followers to like get 50% of them over to get it sort of going.
Yeah.
What I was going to say earlier, and I'm sorry, I realize a little absent-minded. But what I was talking about earlier, Joe was talking about how it's private companies have shareholders, and that's why they always have to turn these profits. You know what I mean? So even if every year, no matter what, it wasn't in this episode, it was in another episode later. But point is, the military operates very much in the same way. You know what I mean? Where every year can you hear me?
Yeah. Sorry, that's me. Don't worry.
Every year there has to be a new war, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think the wars have to keep going every year.
Air quote shareholders behind the scenes, because people are making money. This is a money-making affair.
At the detriment of the planet.
At the
And
detriment
people's
of
lives.
everything.
But let me give you an
The
example.
same way a business doesn't give a fuck about human beings. Like, they are entities that operate in a way that they can't care about human beings.
But let me give you, like, that's the perfect, you're kind of hitting the nail on the head in that, like, they want us arguing about should the government make social media a utility, because they're like, yeah, you guys argue over that while we quietly bomb 2 other countries over here and dump billions into this. Like, I don't think that, no, I think there's bigger fish to fry at the end of the day than all this fucking social media bullshit. Like, why are we constantly invading other countries that have no threat to us whatsoever? Zero.
Because they have things that they
Yeah, it's
want to
fucking-
make money to like.
But can we think of one situation where canceling or shutting something down has made the world a better place?
No, I agree. Listen, you shouldn't. No, I'm not for censorship, but I also I understand why. Again, it's all advertiser based, right? Like we did this with the whole Q documentary. Like the reason that 4chan and 8chan had to go there was because Reddit was like, listen, we're trying to make money here. We're trying to get advertisers. We can't do this with all this Nazi propaganda on here. So you guys need to go somewhere else. And then 8chan couldn't make any money advertising because not a single advertiser would go close to it. So it's a weird juggling act you have to do where, like, if you want a YouTube out there, you can't just have people saying whatever the fuck they want on it, because YouTube is driven by ad revenue at the end of the day. That's it. People just think like there's these rich Democrats in California. Like, guess what? They're the ones that started the company, that pay for the servers, that pay for YouTube to be active and running. And yeah, they're making a shit ton of money off it. I get that. But at the same time, it's like, you have a company that you started, you pay for these servers, and then people act like it's the town square where I just get to say whatever I want. I don't know. Like, let's say we built a YouTube channel tomorrow to 1 million viewers, and then they demonetized us. That fucking sucks for sure. I get it. Why have I, like, it's weird that I then have this leg to stand on, like, well, I make my living off YouTube. Well, that's my fucking fault. Why am I going somewhere where there's a gatekeeper who can hold me back and say, I shouldn't have done that? That's my fucking bad. Like, hearing the Weinsteins constantly being like, this is my livelihood. Like, why did you start your livelihood on YouTube? You knew this was going on. You did it while this was going on. It's not like you were a 10-year veteran on YouTube.
I even think I heard the farmer analogy from Eric Weinstein. You know what I mean? Like, it's a giant farm. Mm-hmm. And everybody is just renting a little piece of land from a farmer.
Yeah. And that farmer can come and say, fuck off at any time.
I want to grow vegetables here now. See you later.
Yeah.
You know, like, they make all the rules. And they're the farmer. They own the land.
But again, it's like, I wouldn't want to start a company and then have the government come to me and say, guess what? Top to bottom, this is how you're running it. You have to let everyone on here no matter what, because we have a constitution. I'd be like, it just seems, again, and Joe made the thing like, listen, if you have a bowling alley and some guy's coming and pulling his cock out, you fully have the right to tell him to leave. Like, to me, it's the same fucking argument. Like, if someone is pulling their cock out on YouTube, I have the right to be like, and again, it's like, Kamar, you were asking the other day, you were like, why do people not swear on YouTube? It's because when I post a video, you have to click on yes or no. There's a big thing. It says, is this video for kids? And then there's this long ass disclaimer about like, what does it feature? Does it have this? So I have to click no, it's not. And that's because YouTube, in my opinion, is predominantly for kids. As much as we might use it and we might, watch videos on it, I believe YouTube's main goal is to push videos to sub 18-year-olds for ad money, because that's where ads go.
To shape the minds of the young children. But did you realize, because we all listen to Joe, thinking he's just printing money when he was on YouTube, but he sort of expressed that he got demonetized all the time. Yeah. And he did that. And that was made him leave YouTube and go to Spotify. So he's a prime example of someone saying, well, fuck this noise, I'm out of here.
Yeah, and if everyone did that, if a lot more people did that and jumped, and that's why Spotify, believe me, is not listening to their employees. They're like, they're like, we don't, yeah.
Shareholders' money.
They're like, you go to HR and you write that in the box all you want, but we're not listening. Because Joe Rogan is a cash fucking cow.
The problem, though, is that he went to a place that theoretically, again,
could do the same thing.
Farmer.
Yeah.
Joe is just renting land from them. But he wouldn't care. He would just go and start his own thing, which Kamar said he should have done a long time ago, and he probably should have. You know what I mean?
Even then, Joe knows he could just go back to iTunes. He could make just enough advertising money off iTunes to live the lavish life he already lives. Like, have you ever heard of iTunes taking a podcast down for anything ever? I've never in my life, and please prove me wrong. I'm just saying I've never heard it. If you've seen an article, please put it on the Reddit or something. But I've never heard of iTunes taking down.
But they must have some, because you also don't see Nazi podcasts on iTunes. So
maybe they're just buried. Like, again, maybe for them they're like, listen, you can put them up.
Search right now. Search.
I don't want to, dude. Who knows what's going to come up after that?
Well, it won't.
They know what you're doing. They would know. User whatever is looking up now. Again. With the FBI kidnapping plot in Michigan.
Fuckboys International.
Those are insane.
But what was their intention? Or what do you think? I know what I think their intention was.
Their intention, again, is like, well, let's just keep our budget going. Like, look, we foiled another terror plot that we started.
I don't think that was their intention. I think their intention was to demonize Trump supporters.
Yeah.
And just look at a Trump thing. I don't think they were trying to look at what good work we're doing.
I totally agree with
But at the end of the day, well, even if I do agree with Kamar, at the end of the day, it got foiled and it doesn't look like that at all.
It looked like there were crazy people out there who were supporting Trump. Look at the wackos who support Trump. They're so crazy that they'd be willing to kidnap a fucking. They're gonna take over the world.
They're terrorists.
It then led into whatever that date was. I'm sorry, I don't know the date where they stormed the Capitol there.
January 6th.
January 6th. Thank you.
I'm just surprised they haven't done it on the other side. Like foiled a Proud Boys plot that maybe they made as entrapment or Antifa or something like that.
I mean, I don't think
I think it's specific.
I don't think the FBI does shit. I think they just infiltrate these groups and then just propagate them more and then just come back with intel for no one.
They got to keep them going so they have something to fight.
That's what I'm saying. So just their budget keeps. Oh, well.
No, I get what you're saying, Matt. Like, for sure, I think they probably do have a quota they have to fill. And if they don't fill that quota, you're not getting that money next year. But in this case, like,
no, and I'm saying
I think it's pretty obvious.
I'm saying the two can be.
Yeah. You get two birds stoned at once. I get it.
I'm just saying it seems to me like the FBI often are behind all. Like, they seem to often have their hands where it's like, well, we had two guys in there. And it's like, why didn't you stop it then? Like, it never, you know what I mean? Often that happens or then you find out they stopped it and it's like, well, there was 10 of us in there out of the 12.
Those are the fucked up ones where it's like there was only one dude who wasn't an FBI agent. That's not you infiltrating a group.
Yeah, that's you guys creating a group and reeling in one more.
Totally, and that's like the spin they put on it, right? We infiltrated a group. There were 12 of us and one guy who wasn't even planning on doing this before we created this group.
Yeah, I bet they interviewed the guy and he's like, I was just happy to have friends.
I think it was 4 guys or whatever, but they picked the dumbest guys and sort of made them think there's their idea. But these guys had all the gear, all the plan. Like,
no, that one was. But there's another one where it was 12 FBI agents and one kid.
Yeah.
It was like he was going to blow something up.
And again, like you're saying, like they got him the bomb. They got him all this stuff.
Everything.
Here's an assembled bomb. You want to walk down the street for us? You know, and then 2 seconds later, just Flora's boutique index pulls up and...
I've been reading Chaos.
Mm-hmm.
The book.
What the fuck?
Okay, we'll get to that in.
No, but it just goes to show you, like there is no.
We got to move on from Jimmy soon too, Kumar. We got.
Holy fuck!
Well, dude, this will be a 9-hour podcast.
Let's try to just go quick. Do you think the news knows they suck, or do they? Are they like, yeah, this is bullshit, but it's a paycheck, or do they think they're really doing good work? Like mainstream media, as we've known in the past, they've just fucked everything up. They don't retract anything. Like, do you know what I mean? They sleep at night because they're making money, not because they're changing the world or informing people.
I think that just like the people who thought they were doing amazing work sending man to the moon, these people probably think they're doing like righteous work. They don't realize that, you know, it was all for nefarious reasons.
I think they're all full of shit.
I mean, you think that every single person who works for CNN is just like a stupid fucking moron who is on the wrong side of history?
No, I think they do stuff like, and that's the news. I can't believe people believe this stuff. Like they don't really believe what they're doing. It's an act. I need to believe that because
no, I think it's just people on the left, and that's what they believe. And
well, that's a crying shame. If you believe Jimmy,
but hold on, because okay, fine, go on.
No,
come on.
We got to fight through this. If you believe Jimmy Biden is worse than Trump,
again,
he lists a pretty compelling case.
I don't think there's been a good president in 50 years.
But it's like Trump was the worst president, and
Kumar,
getting rid of him was a good thing, but it's gotten worse.
There is no way Biden gets elected if Trump isn't the person he's running against.
Yes.
He won because people hated Trump so much.
Not because of
your
what
boy,
he could do.
All he had to do was keep his mouth shut.
Well, we all agree if there wasn't COVID, he'd probably be there too.
Sure, but all he had to do was keep his mouth shut, and he could have had his next term.
Is there a possibility? I think the answer is no, but just how George Bush is his hero now, could Joe Biden fuck up so bad that Trump looks good? Do people miss him? Or just
Donald Trump will be president again, so we're not done with this story, in my opinion.
Donald Trump will not be president again.
Okay.
Anyways,
So
no,
who runs, just out of curiosity, who in the Republican Party beats Donald Trump for the nomination in 3 years?
whoever he chooses to endorse. Doesn't beat him, he sort of hands
His
the
son
torch over.
is going to run because that's how crazy this whole thing is.
That could work. That could work.
Anyways, what were we talking about, Kamar?
We were talking about Biden is worse than Trump.
Yeah, Biden is. We were talking about Trump. He's not going to be in again, and Biden is probably not even going to make it to the end of his presidency. So,
I just
It's not
wonder
looking good.
if people who legitimately voted for him, like, maybe this wasn't a good idea, or they're like, it's just as long as we got rid of Trump, who cares that this guy's doing all the exact same things, is in the pocket of Wall Street, is raising crime, is making all the wrong decisions.
get Trump out of there, and we'll vote somebody else in 4 years.
Well, that's the fucking story.
And hopefully, Biden just won't do too much harm while he's there.
But you feel like Trump wasn't in the pocket of Wall Street. Is this what I'm getting from you?
He wasn't in someone's pocket. That's why they want to get rid of him. That's why all the deep state did not like him. If he was doing everything that they wanted, I think he would be president. That's what I believe. Anyways.
The problem is
always a contentious issue.
The problem is
Well, no, when you say things like all of the deep state, I'm curious as to who that is and how you know.
That's what a conspiracy-minded person would say.
Yeah, see, and then you breeze over it. So that's you don't have the answer. I get it.
CIA, FBI, military. There's a couple other players I'm unaware of.
I just
Probably if I set up, you see the red dot on my head. Slow your roll.
anyways.
Simon goes Manchurian candidate on me, doesn't kill me. Joe doesn't know anything of sports because did you see the Tom Brady thing?
It's so fake.
Because the wheels are always going like that. Like it'd be impossible for it to do. Like it just. I thought that was
The
interesting.
second I saw it, I was like, this has to be fucking fake. And it's weird because Pat McAfee was like, this is incredible. It might be the best thing I've ever seen. And I was like, how does he not know it's? And then he came back and was like, I think it might be fake.
It's absolutely impossible. I thought it was interesting and really showed how left Jimmy is when he didn't understand that defund the police meant defund the police.
No, again, I was with him.
No, we've all had that discussion. The money should be going towards social work and stuff, but in some cases, they're actually just defunding the police and crime is going up.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake. I think that was a mistake. Like what I got from defund the police was, and by the way, in New York, they tested this out on a small run and it worked where they were sending out social workers with police to deal with mental health cases. And they were saying by and large, the number of violence involved in both police and the other side was dropped by like 90%. So
I think that's a small case because I just hear about crime all the time. And maybe it's an ulterior motive, but it just seems like it's worse now than it was a year ago.
I play video games with this African-American gentleman who lives in Harlem. And I was asking him the other day, I was like, how bad is it in New York right now? And he said, he's like, it's really bad. But he also unprompted was like, but I don't trust these fucking cops. And he said, he was like, there's a good chance that they're just not showing up because they don't want to.
Because they've been defunded?
Well, no, he was like, he's like, I see plenty of cops. He's like, I don't see how they've been defunded. I see them
They're
everywhere.
just using that. That's why we're not showing up, but they're just being
But
lazy.
even if they haven't been defunded, like cops have gotten had all this negative attention focused on them.
Yeah.
I imagine there's resentment there regardless.
They're more cautious.
Right? Like whether it's about money or not, it's like our egos have been bruised a little bit. Maybe especially in New York.
Okay, but so your argument then is that if I work for you,
I'm not saying it's right. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, I'm just
like,
saying.
That's why it's happening, but it's not necessarily about money. It could be about like pride.
I also don't know how Joe hasn't seen The Wire.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Because I think The Wire is a far superior show to The Sopranos.
Wait, they're different. They're different.
Yeah, that's a tough call.
I love
That's
them
a tough
both.
call. Everyone,
them both.
write in. What do you think?
But it's
on
the
Reddit?
best. It's the best crime show ever.
by a long shot.
Like
So
by
realistic.
a long shot.
Sopranos or The Wire?
detectives and crooks. That's not what The Sopranos is. Sopranos is
No, I get it, but I'm just saying, even as far as
Yeah,
like,
there is no law enforcement in Sopranos, eh?
There's a little
Like,
bit,
but
a couple
there
of
isn't
times.
a recurring the other guy who's trying to take Tony down.
no.
And that's the beauty of it. It's just a show about the mafia. you know?
But then it even expands to the dock workers and then the political system.
No, that's The Wire.
That's what he's talking about. Yeah.
I'm saying
Well, Kamara touches everything. It touches on the media too,
The
specifically.
whole
in,
point of The Wire is 5 parts of the way the drug trade works.
the education
in-
system.
yeah, and it ends all culminating in
In the
each one of
media.
the kids becoming one of the main characters.
Yeah. And the last season is all about the media, and that's kind of where we are at right now
Yeah.
in the cycle.
So Jimmy's fully vaxxed, posted that he was having a poor experience and was slammed for being an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah.
So that's madness, right?
Yeah.
That someone can't see that you've been vaccinated, but you're just saying your experience. You're an anti-vaxxer.
No, right. It shouldn't be
Just su-
happening. But you can
just suck it up,
understand. You
'cause
can
you're gonna scare other people. So
you should understand why the powers that be, these same people who are trying to block all of that, would block that.
and that's not good. That's what I realized from this. Well, no, just not having everyone know all the information so they can make informed decisions. But the politicizing of science and medicine, I find it like it shouldn't matter what you believe in, right? The best cure, the best health process is what's the most important.
Yeah, the same,
at the end of the
the
day, it
same
should
way
be.
your religious beliefs shouldn't impact whether your children get the best cancer treatment. The same should apply, right? Like, if ivermectin is the best drug out there, for real, that's the drug we should be using.
But that's not the drug the pharmaceutical companies want us to use.
We don't know. It's not. We don't know what's what at this point because nobody can get any information that seems like it's fucking right. Right?
Misinformation. That's where we start off. I think it's funny. You remember Shia LaBeouf was like, "He will not divide us." He divided us.
Oh yeah.
Did
he ever?
He did not. He did not.
I mean, maybe that
want
was
to.
the whole point of Trump.
To divide people.
Yeah, maybe it had nothing to do with
Or it's the Russians are trying to divide
anything
us.
he
the
had
Chinese.
to do during his presidency. Just him as a person would divide the populace.
And that's what the powers that be want, so they can do whatever they want as
And
people fight amongst themselves.
Someone posted the craziest video the other day. It was red dots and blue dots, and each dot represented like a seat in Congress, and it was showing from like 1941 until now. So each dot was like attached with a line, and like the deeper the line, I can't remember. It had some connection, but it pretty much showed where like any connection that the Democrats had to the Republicans, the Democrats had to the Democrats, and how they voted together against each other, whatever. And like in 1941, they're like close together.
There's a lot more agreement.
Yeah, there's a lot more bipartisanship. They're working together. You can see the lines crossing each other a lot. You can see that they're towards the middle. And then just as the decades go on, the dots get further apart. There's less lines. And then you get to like the Trump era, and like all the dots are, just
He
as
will
far away.
definitely divide us. Jimmy was complaining about his subscriber count, and as a week out, it hasn't changed. So there might be something to that too. Because he's saying they delete subscribers. I would have thought he might have gone over 1 million. You know what I mean? He was 822. He still is.
I mean, that right there, I'd be like, I'm out of here. Fuck this place.
Well, he said Shopify, call me.
Yeah.
Like, get on the
Spotify,
phone.
yeah.
He wants off YouTube, obviously, but
You see, for
It's a
Jimmy,
conundrum.
for somebody like that, like if all you're concerned about is making money, then just do what Kamar's always saying. Like if you have 1 million listeners and you go behind a paywall, a certain amount of those people are going to go with you, and you can make your living that way. No problem. You know what I mean? Like
maybe he thinks he's doing the good
he'll
work
do-
and he's got to get his voice out to as many
That
people.
is my point. If you are like, money isn't the only thing you're looking for out there, and you feel like your voice has some merit and you're trying to get your ideas into the most ears possible, then you play the game, right? Because that's how you're
If you
going to
can't beat
get
'em, join
into
'em.
people's ears.
But this is kind of what I'm saying is it's a weird catch-22 where you're like, I have this message that's anti-corporation or whatever. Like, usually that's kind of but I need to use this massive media conglomerate to get that message out. And then when they block me from saying it, I'm going to get pissed. Like, it's kind of like, it's exactly what you're fighting against. I get it. But then when you're using it as well.
Well, but this is what I'm saying. Okay. So you have, let's just pick 20 podcasts. We're not going to do this, but just for fun, you know what I mean? Take 20 podcasts who are all like, counterculture, who all have giant listener bases. Rogan, The Portal, Jimmy Dore, fucking
Lex.
Kalinsky, Lex, whoever. Listeners all of a sudden are in the, when you add those all up, you know, like millions and millions and millions of years. And then you just go and you start a new network. Right away, you're going to have all these people who want to come listen to you. There are going to be look how many people just followed Joe to Dallas. Texas. You don't think that he could do the same thing virtually and have a heck of a lot more people follow him?
There's a lot of creators out there, and just see one has done that for some reason. I mean, I've heard creators talk about their own platform.
This is what I mean, Kamar. Nobody has done it because it's easier right now to go to YouTube. But YouTube obviously is being controlled by evil people. And this is what they have to do. This is the answer. Like, they have to walk away. We can't walk away as the consumer until they go somewhere to give us somewhere to walk to.
You have to dance with the devil.
I mean, the bigger problem, too, is the monopoly laws that were supposed to be in place and enforced that never were, that let Google grow into this corporation. Because let's say Kamar and I start tomorrow. Let's say tomorrow this thing takes off. We get 20 million listeners. We're huge. And we decide we get taken off of YouTube. And we decide we're taking all the money we have. We've banked all this cash. Maybe we're rich off crypto, whatever. We're going to start our own streaming service called Kamar Floyd. Who the fuck knows? Whatever. The problem is this. We start that streaming service. It's still on the internet. And if you're going to search it, where are you going to search for it?
DuckDuckGo. I understand what you're saying. There's still powers that be that could hold you back.
Yeah, I mean, but the problem is, like, you're most likely going to search for it on Google, and then Google's going to bury it because it's like, well, no, we'd rather watch, wouldn't you rather watch YouTube? So
then it kind of makes you think, like, maybe Google is just another arm of the government itself, you know?
Well, stop. I've said it before and before again. There's no way it isn't. There's no way the CIA is like, what a good tool you have for finding stuff out. Wish we could be getting in on that. They must be.
They must be.
It's not even. It cannot be a.
But maybe
what if.
The same way that the internet was started as a military thing, maybe all of these things are just like, we know there's a really good chance that Facebook was like given to Zuckerberg. Here is this thing, now go, and it has to come from you. It has to come from a young person.
I don't know.
It doesn't work unless...
They were talking about it when they started this. They're like, they didn't know that it would do this. There's no way. Well, maybe.
But you know what?
The CIA is so
think
smart.
about it.
They figured out this social media was going to kill and blow up to be this. They
I mean,
wouldn't have ever let TikTok happen.
I got to agree with it too, because think about Facebook. Like, this guy starts it so that he can get laid in college because he couldn't get pussy. Like, that's legitimately how this massive media conglomerate started. It was just a dude, a super smart dude.
I mean, I'm just, look, Matt, it is possible. Look, things are possible, you know? For a long time, I thought that I just thought I knew the story of Microsoft. Bill Gates and Wozniak, two young guys,
Roll up the sleeves.
slugging it
Not
out.
Wozniak.
Whatever.
He's Apple.
Whatever, the other guy. Slugging it out, the other guy. Slugging it out in the garage like young guys didn't know what they were doing. It wasn't like that. His mom got him a contract. Like, nothing is as it seems. Nothing.
It's all a sham.
The winners write history. We say, no, Simon, you're wrong, or conspiracy guy, you're wrong because this is what history tells us. History was written by the people who are trying to fucking trick you.
You know who Apple was mainly funded by?
Go on.
Ross Perot.
Interesting.
Ross Perot and Steve Jobs were super tight. And when
I love
Steve
myself some Ross Perot.
Steve Jobs needed like a massive loan because they had hit hard times. I guess he went to Ross Perot, and Ross Perot.
Well, that would make perfect sense via this theory because Ross Perot, counterculture guy, trying to buck the system, Microsoft owned by the government. He's like, well, we can't let them do that. Here's a whole bunch of money. Apple, now go compete.
Let's put a pin in this because it's going to come up again, I think. Can we all agree Pelosi's a piece of shit?
Oh, of course.
And my biggest disappointment getting Trump out of the spotlight is I thought more people would get exposed. You sort of get taken down or whatever. Like they were sort of hiding in the weeds while Trump was taking all the flack. Now that he's gone, they're like, well, what the fuck do you do here? But it's not happening.
Yeah,
I just don't understand how Jimmy Carter has to give up his fucking cranberry farm. And now all of a sudden these motherfuckers, it should be open books for all of us. What did you invest in and when? And if anything's fishy, it should be immediately
Face masks
flagged.
or whatever. Like,
yeah.
I didn't talk to my husband. That's business. We would never talk about that. We only make love.
You bought Amazon call options a week before the government split their $12 trillion contract? Well, I don't know. That seems like it.
But they fucking throw Martha Stewart away.
This is my point.
And she did her time. Respect to Martha
No,
Stewart.
but I'm just saying, you know, like they'll make examples out of the fucking celebrities.
But they're doing it them all.
That was such bullshit. They must have caught her with a fucking really young child.
Politics attracts really mediocre people.
Dude, if she was willing to take that fucking bullshit.
I gotta say though, he says that, and then at the end of this, he's like, "Yeah, I might get into politics," and I was like, "No, what?" I was like, "What is going on here?"
Well, no, but like just like Dave Smith wants to get politics, you get so frustrated, you think maybe that's the only way. It'd be interesting if he does, and it's sort of like the NDP guy,
Singh.
He's huge on TikTok, and they think that might influence that he's got all these followers. I don't think it will. I thought it was cute how they started talking about comedy, and Joe and Jimmy really calmed down. It was almost like he got his security blanket and just talking about Jay Leno and performing and stuff. And then he got into a calm place. Oh, we forgot he almost killed himself.
Twice.
He was going to kill himself. Then he got the comedy special. He's like, I'm going to do this comedy special, show people they're wrong, and I'm going to kill myself, and then worked it out. That's very honest verbal. But when he started talking about consciousness, and Eckhart Tolle was in a tub or something, said, I can't live with myself. And said, who's myself? What is, like...
Yeah, had a huge awakening.
I thought that was very, like, compact, very at the end, but super interesting.
Realize that you're living with two people in the room all the time, and you don't even realize it.
And the opposite of life is... Death is the opposite of birth, not life.
Yeah, that's interesting.
He's my guy, so...
Well, I was listening to Sam Harris on Lex again this week, and
He's on again, or that?
no, I
the
was listening to
episode of
that one
Free Will?
again,
Okay.
yeah, and just the interesting free will.
It's a mind fuck.
Well, just the whole like, do you know what you're gonna think next? No,
I'm going to think rated boys.
I'll give it a 4.
I will give this one a 4.25. I, like Kamar, feel like if there's anybody out there who kind of speaks somewhat of the truth, it's Jimmy Dore. Like, I find even like Sagar and Crystal, like, I like them, but I don't know. I still feel like there's like, I don't know. They're off now and they're counterculture, but if you offered them a Hollywood gig, they'd take it in a second. But I feel like Jimmy is like...
He's got some credibility. I give it a 4.5. I think Jimmy is funny and passionate, and I believe in his intentions.
So you think if CNN came knocking at Crystal and Sagar's,
not CNN.
okay,
I just...
you think if big
I
corporate
feel-
money came knocking, they would take it?
I don't know.
I disagree.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong.
Kamar, what do they make a month on Patreon?
No, but that's now.
Who?
Crystal and Sagar.
More than we do. I can say that with a straight face.
Well, that's a very low bar.
I have no idea, but I'm just saying...
That's like saying, how much money does Joe have? More than you do, Simon.
Guy who's never been in my kitchen.
Exactly. They might be getting more viewers than CNN. Literally. At this point right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, the problem with numbers that CNN gets is they still use the fucking Nielsen system. So I don't even find that system to be adequate, in my opinion.
They're not including internet watching or whatever.
Well, those numbers I'll
Just
listen to. If
television.
CNN's giving me their internet streaming numbers, those I
But
guess
I
are-
know, like my father, for example, CNN watcher, watches on the internet.
Okay.
Who doesn't have television. Nobody has television anymore, you know?
Well,
mean,
hopefully they're in the death throes.
I bet they get bigger numbers on YouTube than CNN gets for sure. I'd say that.
Well, it's a clip world too.
But I mean, I think CNN plays that clip game, don't they? I assume they have YouTube clips where they have their own.
Absolutely. But their bread and butter was always people having it on 24 hours a day and
Yeah.
the ads. And you can tell as the day progresses, the ads go from diapers to trucks or drugs or whatever.
I've been watching the Olympics like Kamar has, and
The best.
seeing commercials has been such a weird fucking change.
There are too many commercials.
Oh, and they're the worst. Like, I only get CBC coverage. Like, the worst commercials.
They'll cut the commercial in the middle of a fucking event. Like, they're
Can't you
so
watch
thirsty.
it? Can't you watch it on Amazon? You don't have to watch it.
I am.
Oh.
You get commercials.
You can't fast forward?
The Olympics are on Amazon?
Yeah, the
Yes.
Olympics are on Amazon, yeah.
Very cool. Yeah.
And you can choose event?
One live
think so, yeah.
station. No, you choose stations.
Oh, is that how? I thought you could go back and watch all the events as well.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can. I don't know.
It's
man.
God bless Jimmy
You're-
Dore.
you're talking to the
I think
wrong
he's
guy.
doing the good work. I
Let's
believe
move on. Sorry. My apologies, Kumar.
1688.
Why are you apologizing to Kamar?
I felt like I cut him off.
Fitzdog, Greg Fitzsimmons. Do you think he came in too cool? If you listen to his podcast and stuff, he's a lot more uppity and silly. You know what I mean? I felt like he was trying to be cool.
Maybe, yeah.
No,
Maybe his kids listen to Rogan. You know what I mean? You gotta be cool. for
no,
yourself.
he's getting group tattoos with his kids. He's got an amazing relationship. That's all he talks about. But I just felt like he thought he had to come in cool, Greg. I listen to him a lot, so maybe that's where I am. What was the last concert you went to?
Michael Kiwanuka.
You're joking.
February 7th of 2020
Where?
or 2019. Where? Toronto at what's the one by the water? The Cool House? Is that it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
might be that. That's a DJ.
Oh no, sorry. I saw it at the Red Bull place.
That's a DJ.
No, Michael Kiwanuka is an English soul singer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a deep dive.
I'm a big fan of his.
That's super cool.
Did we start a new episode?
Yeah.
They were talking about concerts. Last concert they went to. I hadn't gone to a concert in a long time.
Who was this one? This episode?
Greg
Greg
Fitzsimmons.
Fitzsimmons.
Oh,
Sorry,
Fitzsimmons.
Simon's listened to none.
Right.
Why, Kumar, you don't remember your last concert?
Oh, it would have been in Blues Fest.
Mine was
It would
Girl
have been a
Talk,
Blues
I
Fest.
think.
There's no fucking
No
way.
way.
There's no
Yeah.
fucking way
Yeah.
that was your last
Yeah,
concert.
I think so.
You haven't gone to a concert in 15 years?
How high were you at that show?
Oh, so high. So high. Probably more high than I've ever been in my whole life.
That
Kumar,
was
you
it.
might have
That
been
was-
more
that was-
hot.
That was your peak?
That was my peak. Yeah.
Kumar, you might have been more high than anyone's ever been.
Yeah, man. I'm high on life, but
That's true.
I'm wondering. Yeah, we were flipping a lot of stuff back then.
You really think that was the last live concert you went to?
That might
Not even
have-
accidentally, like
That might have been. I'm trying to like think
Hmm.
after that. What I've been to like comedy shows.
that's not what we're
But
talking
I
about.
haven't been to a
concert where your
concert.
hearing could be damaged.
I have not been to a concert in a long time. I do not like crowds, so it takes a lot to get me out to a couple of concerts. I'm sad I didn't go to. I should have gone to that. What the fuck are they called? Not Violent Femmes, but
You went to see the
Flaming Lips.
Hold on, you went to see the Pixies at Lansdowne.
I did not. I did not. Matt, my wife did,
Are you sure?
but I did not.
Interesting.
So you're not going to go to Escapade this year?
What the fuck is Escapade?
It's just like super
Tiesto and
fuck
fuck yeah.
wild. But
Are they actually doing it this year?
They are, but you have to be vaccinated to get in.
Interesting.
I
So
want.
you can't go.
I want to go just to see the sluts. I might stand outside.
How do you prove that you're vaccinated? The receipt thing
You can
that I
buy a
got?
ticket now without it, but when it comes time to go, you have to show it your little thing.
Shows the papers.
Which
shows the papers.
Just means there's a market for counterfeit vaccine slips.
There is actually. I read a thing today.
Or you could just get vaccinated and then go out and fucking get all the sluts you want.
No, but I think I can do that just standing outside at the gates. They got to go in and come out some way. You know what I
It's
mean?
true. Aren't you a
Prince
bit
Charming.
old for escapade?
Selling
chicks?
water bottles. Well, you're never too old for titties.
You heard it here, folks.
You're too old for some kind of titties.
Yeah, we'd have to ID the girls. They talk about the Venice homeless. There's always homeless talk. You know what I mean?
Kamar's IDing. They're like, I'm vaccinated. He's like, that's not what I want, sweetheart.
I need to see your 18. In 6th Street, that is dropped in every single episode.
Yeah, it seems like the bad street and
No, but it isn't. It's like the street with all the if
comedy.
you look it up,
It's all the comedy.
no, it's mostly music bars,
Okay.
Austin.
Yeah.
But it's their strip. Like it's all neon and looks. The pictures look spectacular. But I guess in amongst that, there's people smoking crack, throwing.
I mean,
darts
again,
at
Times
cops.
Square was like that back before they cleaned it up, right? So it kind of makes sense.
Well, no, this isn't seedy. Like
I
all,
guess,
all the
yeah.
bars are like
I
honky
guess.
tonks,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Times Square was all like peep shows and
That's true. Yeah.
touch a titty for $2.
Good point.
Have you ever had a renovation? They were talking about renovations.
Like in your house?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had.
They're crazy, eh?
They're usually not fun, no.
It's not. It never. We're painting in a house right now that's being renovated, and the foreman is the owner, and it's like, you got to get out of here. You do not want. No, you do. You know the. Okay, let's do this. Just throwing money around like it's. But like he said, some people that's their thing. There's no reason you should be here, but they are.
I don't remember any of this.
Dude, my mom spent 15 years renovating. Like I mean, every year there was something new.
So she's one of those people that loves it.
And then the second she was like, there's nothing else, she sold the house. I was like,
Yeah.
you fucking bitch.
Like the Money Pit. Have you guys ever seen the Money Pit?
Of course.
Classic.
Yeah.
Movie game.
No, they didn't mention
Tom Hanks, Shelley Long.
You're going hardcore on the rules now, huh?
it. Hey, rules are rules. It was
That's
hilarious.
hey, that's the way it should be.
It was hilarious. I'm talking about Doug Stanhope when he was broke
Yeah.
on the Man Show, living in the studio.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for Doug that I didn't know he was so destitute.
Didn't you feel like Shane wanted to tell some stories about Doug that never got a chance to be told?
I don't think you're supposed to tell those stories.
Okay, and he realized that? Okay,
He wasn't that drunk.
gotcha.
Lots of comedy talk with Greg. And he led a great trick is explain the joke. You know how they talk all the tricks they do? Like,
Yeah. Stop
look at this
and
guy,
take
he's
one
got an
per- yeah.
erection. Like, he doesn't have an erection, but everyone thinks you see something.
Tell the joke, and even if you know someone got it, stop and be like, what happens is this, ma'am, and then you go through it, and then
you get a
everyone
second
yeah.
laugh off the joke. Total tricks, but I was like, respect.
I use that a lot.
Oh, do you?
I'm
Yeah.
not even a comedian. Just play one on this podcast.
A warning for comics who do local references. You know, he's talking about all those killers in Boston. The guy
Yeah,
from
you
Tonight
can't
Show
take
came
that
out to
act
see it.
anywhere
It's
else.
Like, you can't do that. And the only person who's like non sequitur, not specific, was Steve Wright. And look at us now.
That's why I always like when a comedian that you know is traveling starts off with a couple local bits. You're like, oh, they're getting out there. That's
Well,
good.
if you watch Cat Williams, he'll do 10 minutes
On whatever city he's
wherever
in.
you are.
Yeah, of
He's
course,
doing that
yeah.
stuff, and that's all right to endear people. But
Kamar,
he's also
let me ask you
successful.
though, do you think when they show up, they ask the other comedians, like, do you think you have stock shit as in like, what's the shitty neighborhood? Oh, Vanier? Okay,
Oh,
let me.
of course, that happens all the time
Yeah.
here. It's gross.
No, not here. I just meant like, if I'm Cat Williams, do you think I have a stock joke about a shitty neighborhood that I just replace the shitty neighborhood in every city and do
That's
that
right.
joke?
With Vanier, you got it.
That's what I'm asking,
That's
yeah.
the trick.
In Ottawa, though, it's Vanier Cornwall.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
They're interchangeable.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be like Cat Williams. Probably. It's easier to do it that way.
That's
you
what
know
I'm
I
saying,
mean?
yeah.
Doesn't play well with others.
Stepping all over it.
Yeah.
Greg just G's up. Excuse the pun. Joe the whole show, right?
I didn't.
Like he's a little cheerleader for Joe, I find.
You know what? I didn't notice it.
You did this, you do that, no.
I didn't notice it till you said it, so it didn't come off that way to me.
I mean, they're really good friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I would think they're equals, but it seems like.
But we're good friends,
Greg-
and you have never G'd me up once.
Of course, he said, "Oh, great, the studio looks."
He was being
last week,
facetious.
oh my God. This guy.
We have a problem.
You have a serious issue.
No, I was making the example.
last
We
week-
put each other down all the time.
Last week, I
I've
told
never-
you
okay.
how good you were at impressions.
Can we back this up? I've never bigged you up. How about that? You
big
useless
me up
Jew.
all the time.
When? How?
With my art.
You're a terrible artist.
No, you see, now you're lying.
No, because a good artist shows their work. Touche.
Wow, that's rude.
No one put Simon in the corner.
Rude.
Simon, you are an incredible artist. You're right. I have bigged you up. Fine.
Big me up. You big me up all the time, man. Simon, you're so good at golf. Simon, you're great at bowling. Simon, you're terrific at field goal kicking.
He's just trying to get inside your head. He doesn't.
Simon, you're really good at pool. Simon, you're going to kill us in darts.
Yeah, they're fine doing it.
Didn't we have a steak cooking competition coming up?
I'm
finally
putting, I'm
making a movie
putting that
about me.
fucking dartboard up this week. It is on.
Whenever our leg comes up, I think Joe should call him.
Our leg.
Artie Lang.
Sorry, pardon me.
I heard our leg as well, but I knew what he was talking
Whenever
about.
Artie Lang comes up, he's always like, I wonder, like, reach out, Joe.
Well, no, in Joe's defense,
take your call.
Greg Fitzsimmons said you can't call Artie. You have to call like his handler.
Call his handler.
But I think that's what Joe's saying is I've been trying to call Artie and I just can't.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like he doesn't know the handler.
I
or-
don't think Joe has tried to call
I
Artie.
think
I'm with
me and
you.
Simon
Come
have
on.
an agreement.
Well,
I
Joe,
think
if you're listening,
every
I'm giving you the
time-
benefit of the doubt.
I think every time he talks about him, Jamie should immediately call Artie Lang for Joe.
Speaker dial.
We've got Artie on
Speakerphone, yeah.
Artie on line
That's right.
one.
That's right.
Hey, and it's just an awkward conversation because they have nothing to talk about. No, Artie Lang's the best.
They also got Stuttering John to call in. It's
that's-
like an old Howard
That's
reunion.
hilarious that he was on Joe Buck's show and got it canceled.
Oh, that was so
The
funny.
fly and the ointment. I like Joe Buck. I think he's a great commentator.
I honestly thought Joe Buck played sports.
Doesn't look like he played sports. That was the G up. He was, it's so amazing how you call these fights. You do all this stuff. You know what I mean?
I mean, it is in his defense. Like,
Wow. With his passion, I don't find it as surprising.
And we don't need to hear it anymore. Enough
dialed
people
in.
have come on Joe and fucking G'd him up.
enough people have come on Joe and G'd him up.
You watch football.
I watch football. Yes.
Tony Romo's good. Player. turned
Way better commentator than a football player.
Much better. Much better.
Way better.
I've always joked
So
that
was Jesse Palmer.
Jesse Palmer is way better. He's just too good looking.
He
just
is
too damn
very
good-looking.
good.
He's
looking. That guy
dashing.
is so good looking that
Yeah.
he was the Bachelor.
Yeah.
And he's from Ottawa.
I drunk one night, asked one of the Bickfords if they were Jesse Palmer because I was so drunk I thought they were. And he
good-looking
got
fellows.
so bummed. He was like, is this guy, he looked at Al, he was like, is this guy fucking with me right now? And I was like, I don't know, I thought you were Jesse Palmer.
The older Bickford.
It was one of the Bickfords. I don't know.
Couldn't have been the younger one. He doesn't look like Jesse.
And he's a
Palmer.
nice guy and he's not
Simon, when you're that drunk, anyone can look like Jesse Palmer.
Is that right?
Yes.
Has Larry David pulled a magic trick with Kirby Enthusiasm?
Enthusiasm.
I knew that was going to be a problem. And I said, just call it Curb because I know what you're talking about.
Little Mike Tyson there. What do you mean has he pulled a trick?
Well, because it's a billion. Like, it's supposed to not, you're not supposed to be like, you can't relate.
But keep in mind, in the show, he doesn't, like, there's nothing in the show that specifically says this guy is a billionaire.
Oh no! It's,
Except that
he
money's
lives in
never
a
a problem.
huge house.
Hold on,
Lives in a
but hold on.
mansion.
Money's
He doesn't.
not an issue.
He doesn't live in a billionaire. I own a super yacht. He drives a Prius.
Listen, here's why Curb works. Because you know from episode 1 whether Larry David was a millionaire, a billionaire, or a fucking guy who worked a grind job, he would find things to complain about. That's who he is. It just happens to be that he has a lot of money. But it works no matter. He's a fucking hilarious. You know what I mean?
Isn't it interesting though? It seems like Larry David is Tom Brady, and that's not to take away from Seinfeld, but maybe he's the Belichick. Because you know what I mean? It seemed like for all those years, like
Yeah, that's what they said. And they pulled it back and said Seinfeld had to have something to do with it.
no, I mean Seinfeld. That's why I didn't want to take away from Seinfeld, nor do I want to take away from Bill Belichick.
Well, I mean, Seinfeld isn't a great actor.
One of the worst of all time.
When you go back and look at like Seinfeld shows, out of all the people on that cast, he's horrible.
would never be cast.
Would never be cast.
Not in a million years.
So I'm with you guys. Like I think he was most of what was going on behind the scenes.
But they're both billionaires.
I think he needed a name, and Jerry was a hot comedian at the time. And
You know,
that
for a
show
while-
could have been fucking.
For a while, they were each making
Rogan.
$100 million a year off Seinfeld reruns. Isn't that fucking bananas?
Isn't it crazy that the cast of Friends was each making $1 million an episode?
You want to know the crazier story? They were all about to renegotiate. Oh, you know?
Yeah, I know.
They were all about to renegotiate their contracts.
Separately.
And separately, yeah. And David Schwimmer, Ross, went to everyone and was like, listen, if we do this collectively, we're going to get fucking paid.
The guy who was going to get the least amount of
Probably,
money.
yeah, exactly. But either way,
Chandler was like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, wouldn't Chandler be the
No, I think Rachel,
Rachel.
was the big one.
okay,
Rachel
the
and
hair,
Courtney
yeah, I guess so.
Cox, they were the.
But either way, he went to them and was like, listen, we'll get bank. And then boom, $1 million an episode. Plus the residuals. The amount of money they make off all the reruns is fucked.
Now that it's on Netflix.
Well, it's off Netflix.
Well, but
now
it
it's
was
on.
on-
Yeah.
How do we
For
get some of
so
that
long.
Friends money?
Got to get lucky and be on that fucking.
Obviously, they're going to talk about Florida wildlife and pythons. I think they don't have you hunt them because they're dangerous.
Joe's gator hate has really been seeping through lately. It went from something that I had forgotten I knew about him
I
to
think he just
rearing its
suppresses it.
ugly head.
Yeah.
I
But
fucking hate
He
gators.
hates
I'm wearing a
gators,
fucking
man.
gator belt right now.
Is there an animal that you guys hate? Like, do you have a nemesis animal? One that you
fucking
wish
hate-
death upon and want to wear their clothes?
I mean, no, I don't. If I wish death upon them, I don't want to wear them as a.
Okay, but what?
I hate
sorry.
snakes.
You hate snakes.
Yeah, I'm not a big snake.
Like,
You
how
think,
would you begin
You
hunting
think
for a
all
10-foot
snakes
snake?
should be eradicated from the planet?
No, because I know they serve a purpose. Well, I'm certain they serve a purpose.
What about you?
Bats, maybe.
Bats are
They made
bad.
this year
But they eat a
uncomfortable.
lot of bugs. I'm gonna go with rats. I don't see the purpose of rats
They make me
besides
squeamish.
carrying disease. Like, did you hear Pelouso today?
Yeah, she was
I
like,
wanted to
they serve a
smack
purpose
the
in New
hell out
York.
of
They
them.
eat all the garbage.
They eat all the garbage.
Without
idiot.
them, the garbage would be out of control.
I love how she thinks they don't pick up any garbage in New York.
It's just rats eating it. Yeah, yeah.
Every animal has a purpose.
It's just a giant ecosystem. New York is a giant ecosystem that functions purely off humans making garbage and the rats eating said garbage.
Oh, it's Wednesday. The rats like when we put it out today.
And the only reason animals are a problem is because they're nuisance.
Can't put it
to
out on
us.
Thursday, Joey. The rats won't take it. They're union.
They're in Staten Island on Thursday. You got to wait till Wednesday when they're back around this way. They make their way through the boroughs. It's a real rat race out there.
Oh, it's all unions with those
It's all
rats.
unions. Sorry, Kumar.
Worst thing to be eaten by. They said coyote because it eats your guts. I think ants.
Ooh, that's bad, Kumar.
I think that'd be really,
Being
really
pecked
bad.
to death by any sort of bird would be bad.
It would be a lot of birds.
I feel like a shark would
Death by hummingbird would be terrible.
1,000 hummingbirds.
1,000.
be. I'm going to go with shark.
Shark is bad because I
think
I
it's
feel
pretty
like
quick, though.
anything in the water, you're just
I think, Kumar, like, first of all, it's going to rip most likely a limb off, and you're probably going to drown. Like, it's the drowning as well as being attacked by an apex predator with dead eyes.
you
and a
guys are going to
fucking-
laugh at me, but I feel this is true. On land, I feel like I have a chance against any type of animal. If it's me and that animal, there is a chance that I can escape.
Escape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not fight and win. I mean, maybe I'm not going to die. 100% I die to a shark. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if you're in the water, what are you going to do? You punch that shark in the nose and it swims away, and 2 minutes later it decides to come back. Like, you're fucked.
One of the new Jackass guys nearly lost his hand to a shark attack for Shark Week. It was fucking
That's
brutal.
fucking desperate.
Simon, you know how they tell you to run downhill if a bear's chasing you? Mm-hmm. Someone posted a video the other day of this bear running downhill. That's a lie.
Yeah, the bears made that up.
Yeah, it might be Big Bear.
It's Big Bear.
Big Bear
Yeah.
propaganda for
The
sure.
thinking is they run so fast they fall over.
Which is not
onto
true,
you.
yeah.
They still get
Yeah,
you.
ass first.
No, it's the same thing as like climbing a tree. But listen, if you climb a tree, maybe you can like kick the bear as he's coming up and knock him out of the tree. Like, it's still coming up, but it gives you a chance to
What are those things that the hunters sit up in?
blind.
Stand. Blind, yeah.
Is that what it's called when they're up in the trees?
Sure,
Okay,
yeah.
whatever. I saw one with his hunter sitting up there with his gun just chilling, and a bear just pops its head up. It's just like,
Oh, really?
what's up, dude?
He climbed.
Oh, you
Yeah.
didn't even notice it was.
No, yeah, and he was like, holy fuck. Bears.
I
it the
saw
honey.
one where a guy sees a Bigfoot and like the thing stops and looks up at him and then walks away. He
You think
has
that'd
it
get
on
more
video.
footage, more play?
Well, you can hardly see because it's like through the trees, you know.
Grainy, shaky.
You can hardly see because it's his buddy Tim, and they were just trying to get a quick 1 million views. We should make a Squatch video.
I mean, it's just impossible to.
Simon, why don't we go to the Gatineaus? We'll go squatching one day.
Big
We'll
budget.
make a
I
video
don't
out of it.
think there are any Squatch in the Gatineaus, man.
Well, there
I
are
think
now.
That's way too close to
People.
humans.
Hmm.
Yeah. Squatch ain't no dummies.
Joe mentioned a woman who was eaten by coyotes from Nova Scotia. I thought her name is Taylor Mitchell.
Just more
has a
hate on Canada.
She has a name.
Yeah, Joe. She has a name.
She was a cute little
Taylor.
singer too.
Her name is
19 years old.
Taylor Mitchell.
Her name is Taylor Mitchell. Did you guys know elephants can
Matt?
paint?
Her name is Taylor Mitchell.
I got it. I laughed so hard when he was like, I thought they painted with their hands. I thought
His foot.
that was so funny. Yeah.
Sticking him between the toes. Did you know that?
I've seen that elephant before, but I feel like this isn't right. I don't know if that elephant is like, I need to paint. They're like, paint.
If you don't paint the J, you get whipped. That's how you think they learn.
Maybe. But I guess that all the money's theoretically going back to help more animals.
He caught on to it. He's like, I noticed I paint and the good vegetables come in. So maybe I should paint more.
Anyways, that was silly. I'm sure they're treating the elephant right.
I doubt it.
Joe really expanded on his art teacher,
Yeah, he went deep.
which may have been a traumatic
But he's done that before, I
experience.
think. We've heard this before.
But say he got encouraged by that art teacher, maybe he would be drunk diapers and not have this life. So maybe he did him a favor so Joe could prove him wrong. But he feels like, I felt like, Michael Jordan's like that one teacher.
Yeah.
Invited him just to tell him. I feel like that's Joe's like, that guy.
But it's weird, though, because then I would agree with you, but he didn't go on to become an incredible artist. He took that guy's advice and was like, I'll just get into something else.
Yeah, comedian's an artist.
I had an art teacher like that in university. Mm-hmm. And I think there are just a lot of teachers like that who just end up jaded and you end up in teaching and then you're just a dick. You know what I mean? Like,
You went to Hopewell, no?
Because he's a
did, yeah.
failed artist.
You went to
because they're
Glashan?
just, like you wanted to be an artist, you had all the, and you couldn't or whatever, because it's so hard. Like, I'm not saying it's easy. And then you end up being a teacher and it's just hard to stay like motivated, you end up, and then also you're seeing these kids who are way better than you maybe. And not that I was better than my teacher, but for sure there were people in my class who are amazing,
The art teacher at Hopewell was batshit fucking
We are talking
crazy.
about Madame Chartrand.
Croto?
Oh, Croteau. Sorry. Yeah.
She
Wasn't
was
that her name?
inspiring. So this
Yeah.
was a positive teacher.
No.
She made me hate art for years.
She was a psychopath.
So weird how the worst people are.
But
in
then
these
I had
jobs.
an art teacher in grade 11 at Glebe who like made me love art and want to be an artist for a very long time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
My favorite teacher is Mr. Goodwin. Goodwin? Bob
Godwin. Matt hates him.
Oh, we went through this, did we?
So he discouraged you from making movies or something? He was film studies, right?
Matt has told this story like 4 times on this
Oh,
podcast.
sorry.
Okay, well, listen back. It's probably on the Patreon. Join.
No,
now.
go ahead. If
No,
doesn't
Kamar,
remember.
I had him for, I took screen ed because I think in grade, you had like one where you could choose.
Elective.
Yeah, elective, right? So I chose screen ed because I was like, this seems like it's right up my alley. And you had to write a commercial. So I wrote a commercial. Again, I was high and joking. It was grade 9 for a bathtub you could shit in called the Turd and Scrub. And all the dudes in the grade above wanted to make the commercial so bad. And he gave me an F. And he was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. And then he hated me from that day forth.
He caught us smoking in the bathroom and didn't say anything.
Okay, well, there. I can see why you...
Isn't it crazy? So our drama teacher, Madame Rayom, no, Madame Mrs. Jocelyn. Yeah, Jocelyn Rayom.
I never took drama.
Okay. Anyways, she ended up being Alanis's tour manager.
Interesting.
Oh, right place at the right
because
time.
Alanis went to our school.
Yes, she
Yeah,
did.
they used to play her...
It's our Canadian Heritage Minute.
they used to play her anthem like twice a week.
Do you guys think Joe should get back into art?
No, he's too busy. He doesn't even have time for golf.
Joe could sit down, draw anything, make it into an NFT, and sell it for millions
I think
and
so.
millions
I think
of
so.
dollars.
And I think that will come later on. I think
Jamie is selling his tweets as NFTs for thousands of dollars.
there's a period of time when Joe will get back to art. That's my prediction.
Well, it will happen only when he runs out of podcasting to do. So
They were talking about shitty road gigs.
Yeah.
I think that's like oxymoron.
There are no good road gigs.
They're all like until you get to the level that you're private jetting or you're limoing, it's a grind.
I still think even then, like if you like, I was looking at Tom Segura's Insane.
It's ridiculous.
But like, even at his level, you're still going to the like, and no disrespect, but some of the smallest, shittiest towns.
Yeah, but I mean, he's going to do it.
I get it.
I bet he's doing tour bus too.
Oh, for sure.
Just seems too much.
Yeah, and he's probably making a ton of cash. I get it.
If he was in his car,
Yeah.
fucking Jimmy sticks or whatever, like that'd be horrific.
The best is the story he told about how he went to the resort to do comedy. They said it was clean. He brought his clubs to golf there the next day because they have one of the best, like, they have one of the best golf courses. Said fuck first thing on stage, and as soon as they dragged him off, and then they were like, "We've unpacked your room. Go home."
His stories are the best though. The other one where it was right before Columbine or something. There's a moment of silence before the jokes come. Like I love Greg Fitzsimmons.
Yeah, he's great.
And he came on a show there.
Have you seen him live?
No, I have not.
I've seen him
just
live.
on the
Brag.
VCO. So much for
When did you see him, Matt, when you went to the Comedy Store?
You got it, Simon.
Tony being canceled, eh?
That's what I'm saying.
Do you not want to watch that episode so bad?
Which one, where the guy gets fucked in the
Guy
janitor
fucks-
closet? Yeah,
Well, I think it's going to come out on Monday.
it's gonna be great.
I think I'm pretty excited.
I want to see what this guy looks like.
I want to know why the fuck Brian Callen has not been back on the program.
I want to know why you call it program, like you're 96.
I think the
I
reason
am 96, Matt.
That's why he's not on camera.
I think maybe because he's touring, like he's got to make money.
I'm Benjamin.
Divorce.
He's
Canceled.
not though. He's on.
Button
He's
in
like
the wrong way.
he's doing like he's weekly on the fucking Fighter and the Kid.
I just saw his Instagram. He was announcing dates. So
Okay,
I think he's on the road. We've got to get the South Park guys on, eh?
You know what's crazy? I
That
saw
would be a great guess.
I
Great
saw
guess,
a
yeah.
photo of Matt Stone getting off a private jet in Austin last week, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's gonna happen!" But no, I think he was just there for
maybe it's
whatever.
in the can right now. And what a Monday it would be.
Well, we realized from the JessiMea Pelouso that he was on vacation. That's why that Shane Gillis episode.
Yeah, we're never going to have a week off ever from Joe because
Us? No.
he has so many in
No,
the bank.
until the Spotify deal is done, we're fucked.
Those were things of the past.
We should have taken those weeks off.
Then they talked about The Shining, how that fucked up the actors.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've been through this, or they talked about it on this podcast, maybe. But like, what's her name? The woman
Shelley
there
Duvall.
who was in Popeye.
Yep.
She was so fucked up by that movie that I don't know if she ever like recovered from it. Kubrick would like wake people up in the middle of a night from a dead sleep and throw them into these like super crazy situations to try and get the most honest responses, right?
Do you think they have recourse? I mean, you
No.
could not do that today.
Zero
Do you know what I
recourse,
mean? Like
Kumar.
you couldn't treat actors like that. I don't think.
You
Zero
never know. You
recourse.
might be able to, if you had actual provable mental health issues, you could maybe sue the studio.
I mean, maybe look up right now. Sorry, I don't mean to boss you around. The girl from the Exorcist, because she got really fucked up
I'm just
by
saying,
that
Simon,
movie, and I think they did try and sue the studios. So
because I can't remember who it was the other day was telling the story about how they fell at the studio. Remember, like they were like, I felt like an idiot. I fell, and then they were like, two people from the studio ran up and were like, so how do you want to handle this legally? And like that, you might be able to. You never know. Maybe no one ever has because
I think in the old days, these actors signed away.
Yeah, that's
any
probably more
rights
likely, yeah.
to anything.
Yeah, that's
you
probably
know?
more true
They
than
were
not.
so happy to be working with these directors and who knew that Kubrick, or maybe they knew this is going to be rough, but you do a movie with Kubrick and it makes your career.
I imagine
So much
too.
respect for the
I imagine
director.
too. You're young. Your manager standing over you, like just sign it. There's like 6 corporate lawyers around you, like just sign it.
More
You're good.
like your parents, just like
Or
sign
that
it,
too.
Billy, sign it.
Britney's dad, sign it.
Dude, that Britney's dad thing, like that's like, imagine you as a 40
No.
whatever year old
No.
person.
No.
It's so fucking crazy. It's so
bananas.
crazy.
It's nuts.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with Los Angeles that they are letting this happen?
But what if I'm on Britney's side, Diablo Avocado? They get rid of the receivership, and 2 days later she microwaves a kid. Like, what if she's?
But
just
my thing
fucked?
is this: is if they could prove that her all of a sudden having the money helped her microwave the kid.
Yeah, is
then
that going to buy her more microwaves to do
A
it
bigger
faster?
microwave?
I just thought
Like,
of something in my head like she's crazy.
I just don't see how, like,
There are plenty of crazy people out there who inherited lots of money and are allowed to spend it. Why is this one girl like...
and she worked for
Diablo
hers.
And now she's coming out and she's like, my sister's singing my songs and I don't like this. And like, dude,
Free Britney.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, free Britney.
All that aside, it was cool that Stanley Kubrick made Vietnam in London because he didn't want to leave London. Did you know that fact?
I didn't.
That-
But
that-
when
all
I
that's all the war scenes, you think you're in Southeast Asia, but that's just
It's
London.
crazy.
They actually brought in palm trees. That all got into the moon landing.
Shining movie leads right into the moon landing because when you watch that, have you, I think I've asked you guys this before, that documentary Room 230.
No.
30.
234.
I really,
whatever it
like,
is,
you guys
220.
don't usually take my advice about things, but that is a really great documentary.
I'm sure I'd love it. I love
Yeah.
Kubrick. But did you feel Joe sort of took some steps back?
I think
into
Joe is thinking that the moon
landing?
landing is fake now. I think he's back on the fake train. He's with us.
I think he entertained it. I don't think he went back because like I've said many times in this podcast, he's my source for not believing.
in the first place.
But what I noticed is they had communication problems with the both Richard Branson and Bezos flights just to there in 2021.
So how did they communicate with them while they were on the fucking moon
Some of
in
these questions to
1960?
ask
And
themselves.
none
Well, you
of
never
the-
sent us. You were supposed to send us the photo of
Yes, the boot.
None of
Yeah.
these billionaires are attempting to go past the Van Allen belt.
Or the
Like, that's not in anybody's
My
purview
condo.
right now.
what's it called?
my condo.
The firmament.
The firm, my condo, the firm.
Condom. It's a big condom.
Oh,
I don't use
right.
condoms. I was trying to call back. See, things can't be recreated, man. That was funny. But like, wouldn't it be amazing? That's my dream. Is before I die, find out it was fake somehow. But we
Or real. It would only be your dream to find out it was fake.
I
like
can't
you-
I can't believe it's real. Like,
No, but I'm saying
this
if
is
you
impossible.
got right now in the next week or two, if you found out what you felt was definitive evidence that we went up there.
I'd be shattered to the core.
Oh, really? So that wouldn't be as good as finding out, of course, that it's fake.
Well, it's better to be right than totally wrong. But I have such a firm belief that there's something sketchy about what their story is. I would be crushed. That's something I believe so strong is like,
You see, I still
everything.
hold belief that it was like faked because there's something way better that went on that they don't want us to know about, and this was just the cover story. I'd feel a lot better about that, anyways.
and then the moon landing obviously led into CIA talk about chaos. What you're talking about, and I was thinking about forget who was talking about. I think it was Alex Jones, but saying in the mainstream, you're allowed to do what you're doing. If someone doesn't want you doing something or they're against it, you know what I mean? You won't do it.
In the main,
In mainstream,
Explain.
in music, in movies, if powers that be don't want something going, it's not going to come out. If they don't want music coming out.
Right. Okay.
I don't know,
Before
what's
the
changed?
before the internet.
Like I would say all like rap is allowed to happen. They want music that's makes it seem like all these people are bad and thugs or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure CIA writes rap songs and stuff. Like, there's
Well,
no reason
again-
why they would do Winds of Change and then sort of I mean that music thing sort of worked.
Well, of
I've
course.
spoken about the fact that there was this long running thing, and I read this article a long time ago about this guy who said he was like an A&R for rap for a long time, and then he was invited to this highfalutin like mansion in the hills, and he said when he got there, it was all the heads, everyone important in music was there, and that they were told by, again, I didn't believe it because the way it was described was like one of those X-Files shadowy figure in a trench coat type thing where like, all the most powerful people in an industry are in a room and they're told, but apparently, they were told by someone that rap was going to push this sort of gangster rap narrative and that they were going to allow it to be,
Well,
this
and-
was going to be the thing they were going to sign.
NWA.
Yeah.
Ice Cube wasn't like a gangster.
No, he wasn't at all.
He's some guy they got.
Eric Wright was a gangster, though.
Only Easy E, well, probably MC Ren as well.
To
But
do a job.
Yeah.
Well, they needed some credibility or it doesn't work. You know what I mean? But you can't have 4 gangsters because
They go to jail.
you have to have 3 FBI agents and 1 gangster.
I mean, if
know
you look
what
at
I'm
Dr.
saying?
Dre, the world-class Wrecking Crew, the group he was in before, they're like Jerry Curl, like Rick James, like
Yeah, they were wearing suits and shit, man.
Oh, it's not at all what.
But listen, all I'm saying is like that they did that so that they make black people look like gangsters, and then it starts this whole genre of music that spreads that message perfectly for
And
them.
I listened to DJ Academics on Flagrant, and he was adamant that the majority of them realize their brand. There's way too much money. Like, it's all an act. They may have been a thug at some point, but you get to a certain point, you're too big to be a thug.
Well, look at the baby. He
just
went from he
jeopardized
killed
it all.
2 people in a Walmart.
Well, he's going down right now.
Nat, what do you mean?
You didn't hear about the baby?
No.
Well, I was going to bring up in a post, Joe, but so he was on stage at Rolling Loud.
Oh, yeah, he
It's now
said
the
something
new
about-
Lollapalooza.
yeah, he said something about fags.
If you don't have AIDS,
Yeah.
if your water smells like pussy, put your light on.
Yeah.
If you ain't been sucking dick in a parking lot,
Yeah,
and a clothing line dropped him. He got kicked out for
Didn't he say
Lollapalooza.
fags? I thought that's what he said.
No, he just said,
Okay, my bad.
If you ain't sucking dick in a parking
Okay,
lot.
well,
sorry.
50 Cent is the perfect example, right? Like there's a guy who I guess would have been a real gangster who
Yep.
maybe.
Oh, no, there's guys.
Well, there's a long line of them.
There's
I would-
guys who are, but there's a certain point where they go, this is a business. I can pretend to be that. and make
Kamar,
money.
if Winds of Change worked as well as it did, it got the wall to come tumbling down. Why would they not repeat the same fucking formula over and over and over again?
That's exactly what I just said.
Yeah, I know. I'm agreeing with you.
I'm agreeing with you.
And I'm agreeing with you.
It's an aggressive
but we
agreement.
don't sound like we're agreeing.
Not at all.
Aggressive agreement.
Hit the fucking button, Matt.
Do you agree?
Do I agree with what? That the CIA could make.
I now think more about. My only hold up is because I heard the guy.
Here's my thing. I don't think the CIA writes rap. I would sit here and say that if I wanted to be with you guys and believe this shadowy figure story that I heard, that the CIA was like, we can keep this narrative that black people are drug addicts and terrible people and they're only capable of crime.
And they hate the police.
Yeah.
Fuck
if
the
we
police.
If we can push this narrative and keep black people down, then yeah. I mean, as far as them writing it though, I don't buy that. But I could see them easily saying,
Fuck the police.
CIA's got bars, man,
That seems like
CIA's
it
got-
could be a song that was written by the CIA
to create a narrative.
to create a narrative that black people are at war with the people who are trying to protect you and your wealth.
are you done?
Rate it.
Really? That's it? Okay.
It's Fitzsimmons. There was a lot of comedy talk.
Yeah.
I could have gone
No.
about the old killers. and
No,
stuff.
we're staying on time. I like this. Simon, start with you.
I give this one a 3.25.
I give it a straight up 3. There's nothing to the table, but I like Fitzsimmons. They talked.
I'm with Kamar. I give it a 3. Solid 3. Nothing to write home, but nothing wrong either. Good episode. Solid episode. If you're working this week, you got a long week, maybe listen to this one. Good one. We're going to take a break. We're probably going to pay a bill, and we'll be right back. Thank you to BetterHelp. Don't forget to go check them out for 10% off your first month. And don't forget to tell them we sent you.
The best help.
Yeah, but it's BetterHelp.
Yeah.
But they are the best, yes.
the best help. See,
Kamar.
what I'm doing there is playing off the words, Matt.
Yeah,
Now I'm explaining.
yeah,
the
yes,
joke to
and
you.
I'm with you.
See, I'm going back to something we discussed earlier and recalling it in hopes of laughs.
Which you will not receive.
Not from you two assholes.
Kamar, name and a number, please.
1689, Yannis Pappas. Yannis
So
Pappas.
he was on last
So
week,
when
right?
when I saw Yannis Pappas' name, I was like, "Oh, okay, finally, we get the other half of the history hyenas." And
No,
then I was
same
like,
half.
Oh no, we just
Same
had
half.
this half.
Still
of
no
the history
DeStefano.
hyenas,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's on every other podcast in the goddamn world.
Him and Joe seem very chummy.
Yeah. Seem to have a good rapport.
I really like Giannis.
Seems like a great guy.
I also
And he-
really like Giannis until I found out that
What is he, Scientologist?
nope. No, go on. Come on.
He wears high-waisted pants.
I think he's really
I
smart.
like Yannis Pappas. Yeah.
He knows what he's talking about. I thought it was funny how he got gun shamed right off the top.
Gun shamed.
A 22.
Because he said, I got a gun.
Yeah. Oh, that's the caliber you went with?
What are you trying to
What are you
kill a
shooting
squirrel?
rats? Yeah.
I mean, they only bought those because it was the only gun left. The guy convinced him that it would be a good starter gun.
But we even know a 22 is sort of silly.
I was working at Babylon one night for Ragamuffin, and one of the guys on stage in the band
Shot himself.
shot himself in the leg with a 22, and no one heard it. He left, went to the hospital, and the cops showed up later.
I thought a 22 is a shotgun.
No.
It's a rifle.
A rifle, yeah.
Very small caliber rifle.
A rifle. Not a shotgun, but it's not a handgun. It's a rifle.
Well,
It might.
I was told this guy shot himself with a handgun, 22 caliber.
Do you not think, I guess maybe they have that same caliber in a handgun?
Listen, I've shot like 2 guns in my life. You're
Kamar,
asking
do
the
you
wrong
not
guy.
think that you can kill somebody with the rifles they bought?
I think if you put it right to someone's like temple.
No, I think if you shot them in the heart, they would die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're a good rifle, like how close you'd have to be.
Well, I think it depends on how good a marksman you are.
Exactly, it'd be a really good shot.
Yeah.
But I think in most cases you would be all right.
What was Chappelle's joke? You buy the shotgun, but he's like, you get, it goes bird shot, buckshot. He goes, bird shot's the warner. You shoot the warning shot. Then after that, the gun's Jamaican. It's buckshot.
You think a 22 could?
I assume
You
a
feel confident
22.
with 22.
Well, I don't think it's, I mean, I assume if you get a 22, you're not maybe trying to shoot to kill someone.
I don't think it can like take down a fucking mule deer, but
Or a bear.
I think it could kill you for sure.
Yeah. If
No,
it shot
Kamar
me in
could
the
take
head.
on 2 22s.
Us
at
with our
once.
tiny little fucking skin and no protection. You know what I mean?
Again, it's from how far away. I just thought it was funny. Joe sounded like a douche. Like, you should be, well, you're getting into guns. You'll upgrade us a little bit. Like, what the fuck's your problem? They talked about.
You should buy an automatic assault rifle, you pussy.
If you don't have a bazooka, you ain't shit.
Back to misinformation, the whole Duke lacrosse scandal. And he said foyer.
Yeah.
We all say foyer.
Well, we have French people here.
Well, what do we say?
I say foyer.
I say
foyer.
foyer also. I've never
Yeah.
said foyer in my life.
It sounded very.
But if anyone says foyer, I'm never like, and I never correct them because I don't think I'm no more right than they
You
are.
right. Foyer comes from a French word. And
Don't do this,
I'm
frontier man.
I believe that is true, but I want to know what you fans think. Do you say foyer or foyer?
Well, I mean, again, I assume if you're American, they probably say foyer.
I think a small percentage does. I'd like to know. I think it's 50-50.
Really?
Yes.
You can wait online for that as much as you want, Kamar. It ain't never going to happen.
Well, people are going to write in and say they say foyer. Like a fun bunch of fools.
How are they going to write in to say it, though? You'd have to. Oh, I guess you could write it out phonetically. I say foyer, harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two ERs or foyer and do with an A.
Yeah,
or
EY. Or, yeah. Yeah, is it Canadian, like EH, or is it foyer?
Then they got into talking about Patreon, and we saw how interesting it is when podcasters talk about podcast business.
What do you mean? It's not interesting?
It isn't too much. I mean, it's interesting for us doing a podcast or listening opinions about Patreon. You got to pay for content, like the new models that are coming out, but it's sort of like not interesting at all.
I mean, you know what, though? I'll say this. I get what you're saying. It's the same way if a hunter comes on, we're like, this isn't interesting. I get it. Like, not everything's going to touch everyone's. But for me, like, I wish, like I said, I wish Joe and Jamie would have an episode where maybe we found out more about kind of the behind the scenes. That would be cool for me, especially for me.
I feel like over the last year, a lot has been leaked or
Agreed.
tidbits have come out. If you put it all together, it paints a much bigger picture.
And maybe when he finally comes out and tells the story about why the comedy club has taken so long to open, because there's obviously some zoning issue that came into play.
Something.
And maybe we'll get some more behind the scenes as to what's happening there.
I'm sure that won't happen. It was up and running because there's probably some people that he wants to badmouth.
Well, I was going to say, too, there's probably some fucking, like, deep Texan Republican who just, like, is like, I don't care that you like guns and that you hunt. To me, you're you're a Democratic Californian coming here to ruin my city, and I'm not going to let you fucking
old boys.
open. Yeah, you know what?
Be good.
That's more than possible. And then he's like, well, I'm still trying to open this thing, so I'm not going to talk shit about someone on city council or a fucking ombudsman or whoever.
Once again,
Or
Joe.
Matthew McConaughey.
Once again, Joe talked about the cold
All right.
bath, and we found out that Joe has very sensitive nipples.
Did you see the photo?
I did not know they were so sensitive.
Sweet Jesus. It's like my pinky.
Perked right up, yeah.
Long.
Does
They're
Joe
long
have
nipples.
big nipples or small nipples?
They're not like Lincoln fucking,
Pepperonis.
yeah.
Let me take a look.
But they are like literally.
Oh, just by the way, foyer from a French root word. So
Meaning what?
I just don't think all Americans say foyer.
hearth or heart.
Means hearth?
Yeah, which is the entrance, I guess. I don't know. Hold on a sec. Here,
Simon,
I'll tell
can you unplug the fish
Late-
tank? That's the noise that I've been hearing.
The fish tank always stays plugged in.
Are you sure?
Want to kill the fish?
It has a filter that has to run. It's always ran.
Okay,
since the day
fine.
we've been
Take
here.
it fucking down a peg.
Late 18th century, denoting the center of attention or activity, from French hearth home, based on Latin focus domestic hearth. So there you go, my friend.
Well, I just figured if you're going to teach me something, you might as well teach me the fucking whole thing.
Yeah,
Thank
for
you.
sure. I gave you the whole thing.
Again, I also say foyer. So
Yeah.
there's no argument to be
Where
had
were
here.
we? What were after that? We were getting to something.
Joe's nipples.
Oh yeah, right. I was going to check out Joe's nipples. You guys move on.
I thought it was interesting. Again, this is stories come out and you can't even decide what's going on till you have all the information about Simone Biles. And everyone's saying, "Oh, she's." This is just another extension of these people, not realizing. Yeah, you signed up for this. There's a lot of pressure and stuff, but
Sorry, go ahead.
she couldn't take the Ritalin. It's like she was crashing. You know what I mean? Like, get me the fuck out of here.
Well, the funniest was Novak Djokovic, the tennis player. He like openly criticized her. Was like, "This is the pressure that you're under. This is what you got to do."
Well,
and then had like a temper tantrum and stormed off the court during his match.
He lost the gold and then lost the bronze.
Yeah, it stormed off. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I'm saying.
No,
But-
no, he didn't just storm off. He
threw
threw
his
his racket.
racket.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
This is
what
all
I'm saying.
post-show material,
So
but-
again, okay, sorry.
No, but the pot calling the kettle black.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I personally, not to cut you off, but on this topic, I'm almost at this point in my life, I'm almost done commenting on anything that is like hot news because you don't have the whole story. You know what I mean? Like it almost feels like you need 3 months to percolate on something
Or
to really.
at least 2 weeks. But second it happened, everyone had a hot take without knowing the fact that
Yeah, the backstory, anything behind it.
it's a performance enhancing drug or seen as, but it's also like holding her shit together. She could have killed herself or something.
But maybe it is just as simple as they've been taking this Ritalin as an enhancer, and now they can't use it, and she won't compete nearly as well without having this hyper-focusing drug to dial you in. It's like microdosing mushrooms,
I got to be honest. In this case, it feels a lot more like. Did you ever see that documentary about the black figure skater that was doing like backflips?
Yep.
And remember, they were like, "You can't perform that. It's not." They ostracized her, and they were like, "You can't." To the point where she left the sport, and now she's just a coach. But my point is it seems they were judging this girl differently because she was just capable of doing things other people weren't. That would have pretty much guaranteed her the gold.
and I'm saying maybe if she had a month to taper off, then she could do it. But
Yeah, to just
this
like
fast, obviously she's gonna have a reaction.
I don't understand though. Like they must know what drugs are allowed and what drugs aren't long before they get to the fucking Olympics. It's not like they get to Japan. They're like, oh, here's a whole list of new drugs that all of a sudden. That's,
I mean, Simon makes an even better point that like
it doesn't make any sense. And why
Well, hold
aren't you
on.
bringing your own drugs with you
But
to
wait.
Japan? Why are you trying to buy drugs in Japan?
Well, no, I assume you can't get them in.
Again, you would have known that long
But
before
Simon's making a point he doesn't even realize. Not only would you know it before you went, you had an additional year.
She's
But
cheating.
but that doesn't even matter.
I don't think that she's cheating. No, it does matter, Simon, because let's say
I'm flip-flopping.
let's say last minute they were like, "Oh my God, We didn't even realize that Japan, you can't use this thing. Then you have a full year of COVID to be like,
Yeah, she could have been sending herself Ritalin to like a mail deposit box for the whole year. Is that what you're driving
that's
at?
what I'm getting at,
Yeah,
Simon.
I'm with
Exactly.
you then,
Yeah,
man. I'm
yeah.
with you. We don't usually agree on things, Matty, but this time.
We've got an agreement.
Yeah, hit it.
Where were we? Simon Biles. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I saw a video this week of what appeared to be a cop planting evidence in the back of this. You saw that? Mm-hmm. Now, at first reaction, my first reaction was,
Too blatant.
that was honestly my first reaction, was this seems like either the laziest, shittiest bad cop I've ever seen, or he's gotten away with it so many times that now it's just like clockwork. But it definitely struck me as, and then I did what I normally do now, which was I was like, okay, don't react right away. Not that I would write anything anyway, but I was like, don't have any internal, because it's such a short clip. And then sure enough, like an hour, 3 hours later, I'm scrolling through and I see a follow-up video that's his body cam, and another cop comes up and gives him this baggie that's empty and is like, I took this off this guy over here that was in the car. And you get a lot more context. And then you even get the follow-up where he's like, the guy's like, hey, you just planted that. And he's like, bud, there's nothing in there. It's empty baggie. I just took it off this guy. It's documented. So and he's like, I got you on film. And he's like, I got you on film too, bro. It's all good. Like, so you get more, you know what I mean? But your knee-jerk reaction right off the bat is, this guy's planting fucking evidence.
It's exactly like that FBI thing, you know, where you're like, oh yeah, of course these Middle Eastern guys were trying to blow up another building. Then you find out that it's
we trained all of them.
one kid who was actually born here.
Yeah.
And 12 FBI agents. Like,
Yeah.
nothing's for real. Everything's a farce. Keep your eyes open.
You're done? Have a good day, bud.
No, I'm saying that's
Okay.
good fucking advice, man. DTA
Just don't trust anyone for any new listeners.
and KP
No, KY. No, KY.
KYP
No, KYEO.
KYEO.
You were
That
just
doesn't-
awful at
that
that. It
does
doesn't
not
roll off
roll
the
off
tongue
the
at all.
tongue.
You're not the guy I'm going for my acronyms.
Keo, baby,
yeah,
Keo.
just the point I was saying is like, you no longer can react to news. Well, you can do what the fuck you want, but more comes out.
You'll be
but the problem,
remiss
Kamar,
if
is-
you
Because
do.
I thought it was the same thing that I thought about the Japanese tennis player. I was like, what are you doing here? You know what I mean?
What
problem is-
Japanese tennis player?
The one that pulled out of the French. She didn't want to answer questions.
Oh,
This was
right,
about
right,
a month
right,
ago,
right,
whatever.
right. Well, what was the real story there?
I think it was just mental health, too much pressure. But you're a professional tennis player. This is what you do. We talked about like you.
Simone
you have to
Biles is a highly decorated athlete, though. She's won every medal that there is to win.
She owes her country nothing.
No, I'm just saying it's not like they were like trying to stop this up and coming rising star. She's already done it all. That's the only. I don't know. I guess it's wrong for me to even bring that up as a possibility.
You can bring up whatever you want as a possibility. No one listens.
Nobody listens. Exactly. There you go. So fuck it.
How crazy!
I think Simone Biles is a lizard person.
All right.
If nobody listens, I mean,
So you're just going to throw shit at the wall
Just
now?
at the wall.
Okay.
it's a new team. It's Hollow Earth. If the refugees have a team, then the Hollow Earth can have a team, Matt.
You can have whatever
Imagine
team you
that's
want.
how it was. Like they find out that Hollow Earth is real, but like the topsiders don't want to accept them, but then they finally let them have an Olympic team.
No, but imagine if then they're like, well, but guess what? Tom Brady, Hollow Earth.
Well, his mom
You know what I
was
mean?
a
They start
Hollow Earther,
no, but they
yeah.
just start dropping all the names like Walter Payton, Hollow Earth.
Oh, they've been
Babe
Hollow
Ruth,
Earth the whole
like
time.
everyone. Yeah,
Crazy.
Usain Bolt,
They've been
Hollow Earth.
They've been living amongst us.
That's it. Yeah, just everyone who's incredible at anything, Hollow Earth. The rest of you are
Amazing.
just fucking plebs.
Amazing.
Did you see the internet joke that said the Olympics should just be randos? Like you just get the call, you're in the 100.
Oh, that'd be
that's
fucking
amazing.
incredible. Way better.
What?
Way
Like,
better.
almost like jury duty.
It's like the Hunger Games, but for the Olympics.
show up like
Dude, I
The
love
best
it.
Olympic
no
tweet.
world records, no nothing, just like what the fuck.
The best Olympic tweet I saw was don't feel useless at your job until you see what was it? Don't feel useless at your job until you see a lifeguard at the Olympics.
Like what are they doing there? Well, there was that one year that the guy almost drowned.
How?
He was from Ecuador. He didn't know how to swim.
Okay, so that guy did just get the call.
Kamar,
I would say just one civilian in each sport.
I always think there
That
should
would be fun too. I
But no,
like that.
I've
the
always
underdog.
I've actually always said that there should always be the control. Just get
What a normal person.
yes.
average
How
person
is your
would do in this
average
thing.
Joe look in the pool?
So for high jump this year, we have Ed Gallagher from Wisconsin.
Yeah.
He's
Exactly.
300 pounds. Like, that's not going to go far. You
No,
know
no,
what I mean?
well, no, it'd be no. Just get so fine. Get like a fit guy from a normal city and be like, okay, you have 24 hours to figure out pole vaulting. You're on tomorrow.
You have 24 hours to figure out pole vaulting.
well, no, but it would show because
Here's your bobsledding, or here's your
Simon.
luge helmet and
Simon.
your sled.
my point is very simple: is that when you watch the best of the best, when you watch the top 20 of anything do it, it looks pretty easy.
Well,
because everyone's making.
in the 100-meter dash, there's less than a second between first and last. Sort of
Yes,
thing.
and then if you saw me out there 6 seconds behind, you'd be like, "Oh, that's how fast they are." That's all I'm saying.
Or I was watching a question today. They have one where the horses go around like it's almost like a course, like you're going through water, you jump over jumps, but just put someone who doesn't know how to ride a horse, just holding on for dear life. Because there's certain events anyone could do.
Dude,
others like skateboarding, so could eat shit or like
Yeah. No, but I know you know. That's why I said pole vaulting, because that's one that like you couldn't just like I don't know how to fucking. There's no way I could figure that out. Pole vaulting. Get the fuck out of here.
The that horse one where they're fucking, it's like cross country for horses.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy.
It's awesome.
The horse is like falling. It's terrible.
Did you guys see Snoop Dogg?
yeah, I know.
Is that in your post, Joe?
No. Write that down though. Really interesting moment when we found out that he could have had Hunter Biden on,
And refused.
and then wanted, and he refused.
Can we also talk for a
I
second?
don't remember any of that happening.
So he
What?
says, I could have had Hunter Biden on. And Joe stresses that he's
He said that to Fitzsimmons?
no, we're on
No,
fucking
to Yannis. What are you
Oh,
Pappas.
to
doing?
Pappas. Sorry. Oh, hey.
Abby Martin.
Easy. Easy.
Yes, that was interesting. Very interesting.
They wanted on,
yeah.
and then stuff has transpired that they didn't want on.
Well, I like when they were like, "This is good for us. We would like you to go on." And now they're like, "Probably not very good for us at all." I gotta say this though. I saw the video of him smoking crack. It just like you guys are big conspiracy guys, and you guys are big into like agent provocateurs and this and that. How does that seem legit to you? And I get it. It's
it
a guy.
looks like entrapment, is what you're saying.
It just looks like an orgy of evidence. Like, and I get it. Just hear me out here. I understand that it's a guy smoking crack, so he's not of necessarily sound mind, and we're not talking about Dr. Carl Hart here. But it's, I don't know. He's like on a phone call and like while recording himself, and mid phone call lights up a crack pipe. Why are you recording the conversation? Video. Like, it's all very odd, is it
All
not?
I can say is Doug Ford or Rob Ford.
That was different. That was like someone hid that camera. Like the guy selling him crack was like, I can make 50 grand from like TMZ or whoever if I do this. That one makes a little more sense to me. That I get.
You think somebody said to him, like, you get on there.
I don't know. No.
You
Hold on.
smoke crack,
Hold on,
or
hold on,
we're
hold on.
showing
Stop.
videos of you at Epstein Island or something.
Okay, well, if you want to take it there, sure. I'm just saying is, at first glance, I was like, this is bananas. This is the son of a sitting president who's like anti-drugs.
You don't know the pressure of being the son of a vice president.
President. It's the president.
President now, but and of course he's cleaned up his act. I don't know.
Why, was that a super old video? Is that the...
Yes. None of this is recent. I mean, he's clean and sober now. He wrote a book about it. He's an artist. He's turned his life around.
Okay.
Whatever.
Good for him.
Then Joe had a heart attack about breakdancing is not in the Olympics, and it will be in Paris,
Is it?
2024.
Oh, good for them.
So put that in your pipe and smoke it, Rogan. Then Yannis made a...
And windsurfing. Did we mention that?
You did.
How is windsurfing an Olympic sport?
Because how is sailing a sport? It's a skill.
Simon, ballroom dancing. Like, there's a lot of
I
summer
know,
Olympics.
it's fucking ridiculous, man. Like, there are way better sports. Windsurfing is stupid.
Yeah, hey, sports come and go. They drop sports too. So
Yeah. Like,
Windsurfing is kind of cool.
it couldn't be done, but what if UFC was an Olympic sport? Because it's only one round, you know what I mean? Boxing, you have to fight like
it could
4
be
bouts.
done. UFC could be an Olympic sport.
How are you going to fight 3 times in 2 weeks? or whatever your round robin is.
No, you're right. Like jiu-jitsu could be an Olympic
Jiu-jitsu
sport.
might be, or judo is.
Thai kickboxing or something like that.
Because, I mean, you could have a 3-round, like, barn burner where you just cannot fight again. Like, you win, right? Like, all the judges are like, well, you won, but your head, you're just like, I can't fight in 2 days.
Well, I mean, look at the original UFCs.
Yeah, and
right?
everyone agreed. They were like, this is... And that happened a lot, too, Simon. A lot of guys in those original UFCs won their fight, but, like, broke their hand and just couldn't do two more
went
fights.
To the limit, exactly.
Yeah. That was insane, though. Like, if you think back, that shit is bananas.
Yeah, it's real Kumite shit.
It's insane.
If it was an Olympic sport, though, it'd be like whose country has the ultimate fighter. But weight classes, it can never happen.
Well, no, it was the U.S. and Brazil would dominate.
I bet you there's some Russians that would fuck people up.
And what about
Khabib?
Well, Nigeria right now.
No, not Uzbekistan.
Dagestan.
Dagestan.
Well, it's Russia.
They would have.
Dagestan's, I don't think it's a country. I think it's a Russian province.
They would have their own fucking team.
And they would have something to say.
All they do is UFC.
Then Yannis made a off-color joke about Chinese people being small, and he mentioned a movie called Ocean's 11.
Oh.
It's the JRE movie game. The time has come again. For Matt and Simon, 2 racks of brains to guess the budget in the box office. We all know they won't guess the year, and the Patreons are the real winners here at the JRE movie game. Come on, take it away, baby.
Fuck yeah, Tyler. It's a movie game. We're about to Simon go head-to-head to find out what year a movie came out, how much it cost to make it, and how much it made at the box office. This week we're doing Ocean's 11, which came out in... Just kidding.
I meant to ask, Tyler explains the movie game in the intro, and then you...
I'm a host.
Oh, okay, you double down
The
on
movie
it.
game. Okay?
Yeah.
Repetition is key.
Gotcha. I just had to ask.
No, it's...
Are you saying that now Kamar could be part of the movie game because he doesn't have to be the host?
No, someone has to pull up the fucking shit. Actually, no, that's not true.
We can pull it up once we're all done. We just have to push the button, and then
Whoa,
everybody's
guys,
involved.
what do you think? Would you rather
Oh,
be
no,
the
no, hold
host?
on, because he says it in the song. He says Matt and Simon try and guess the year, and Kamar does something wrong.
I think it's cool every once in a while we just throw one of us hosts it, but I like it this way.
Yeah, because you're not put on the fucking spot. Okay.
I am because I fuck it up all the time. Ocean's 11, the first of the franchise, starring George Clooney, Matt Damon, Andy Garcia, Brad Pitt, and Julia Roberts, who was in the movie game last week, Pretty Woman. How about that, eh?
Yeah, which I watched the making of.
Do you know Brad
Make
Pitt?
it Pretty Woman?
Yeah,
Or
they did
on
it's a
that
4-part
show there.
Netflix series.
Yeah,
they
the
have
movies that
Jurassic
made
Park,
us.
Pretty Woman,
Oh.
Back to the Future,
And Forrest Gump.
and Forrest Gump. Yeah.
See
Maybe
how
I'll-
it's all coming full circle?
Maybe I'll look
It's
into
not as good as the first one,
Yeah. The Christmas one.
the original
Holiday
4
movies, yeah.
they did, but it was good.
Fun fact about this
learned
movie.
Some interesting
Fun
facts.
fact about this movie: Brad Pitt is eating in every scene he's in.
that. It was a sandwich or something, eh?
Always something. Yeah.
Okay,
So
we
there had to be a
need
big budget
year.
for food.
We need a year.
Craft service.
Always
yeah.
have to have Mr. Pitt.
Craft
got a
service
snack
was a
going.
blowout. Okay, the year on this one is going to be interesting.
And yeah, there's no fuck in the movie game. It is what it is. One day, it's all gonna align. I don't know who it is, but one day, the stars will be in your favor. And you'll know what
Okay,
year
I
it
got a
came out.
year. You ready with a year?
No, I'm not. I'm torn here.
Music by David Holmes, edited by Stephen Maroney.
All right, I'm either bang on or I'm like 4 years off. Go ahead, son. What's your year?
Said 2004.
I said 98.
2001. Wow, I really thought that was going to come in there. And I guess Matt's closest, so he gets half a point. Carry
No,
the
hold
No.
on. I'm 2004.
We're both equally. It's 3 years.
That's
both of
right
us.
in the middle.
Then
I
no-
like how he
No
automatically
points,
tries to give
no
you
points,
extra
no
points in
no
his new
points,
system,
No
though.
points. No points awarded.
Are you done?
He's been against me since the start of the podcast. It
Sucks.
started with a touche, and it's been going strong ever since.
No year selected. Again, another week.
By the way, for listeners, Simon will be on camera soon.
Will I?
I don't think I want him on camera. I like it. He's like the
You like having him as the
voice.
producer over there?
Yeah.
No, the people want him back on camera.
Will I
Well,
be on camera
you
soon?
can't always get what you want. You try sometime, you might just get what you need.
Yeah, he wants to travel, which means he's going to have to get vaccinated, at which point you're over here.
Okay. Well, you let me know.
Well, that's going to keep him over there for a little bit longer now that I know that.
All right. So this came out in 2001, and it has every star under the goddamn sun. How much did this thing cost?
Oh, these guys take this way too seriously.
Yeah,
I spit it out when I play.
and that's why you lose.
This is correct. The whole thing takes place in Las Vegas, so it's not like we're gallivanting around the globe.
Okay, I'm ready.
Ooh.
I am ready, willing, and able.
Go ahead, Simon.
No, Matt, I picked the year, so you go ahead.
What do you mean you picked
He
the
went
year?
first when it came to year.
I'll go fuck yourself. I said $65 million to make,
Interesting.
and it made 387.9.
Okay, well, we're not far off. I said it cost $49 million to make, and it made $338.
There's a lot of stars in this movie. It cost $85 million to make. And it made $450.7 million.
Nobody was close.
Not even in the neighborhood, fellas.
I mean, I was $20 million off the budget. It's not terrible.
It's not great.
No, it's not.
We're looking for $5 million.
And I was only 80, yeah, 80 million off the fucking, oh my God.
They were
that's
great
terrible.
movies, though, eh? Until they kept coming, and it was just such a formula, like, the walkthrough, never actually show the scam.
I have there's one glaring issue to me with Ocean's 11, and only one, because I really enjoyed the film. It's Don Cheadle. There's just no need for, you couldn't get a black British, Idris Elba was busy. Like, come on.
I don't think Idris Elba was anybody at this time.
Why? Because he plays a Brit in it?
Yeah. But like an overblown, like Cockney, like
You
there's
know what?
no.
We have no problem, though, when a British person plays an American accent. Like, I just found out, speaking of Jurassic Park,
Simon, this accent is terrible.
Jurassic
I
Park
love Cheeto, though.
Yes.
So I can't.
The
I can't back you
doctor.
there.
Yeah, Sam Neill.
is a Brit. Mm-hmm. I had no fucking idea. Does it make the movie less for me? No.
I like when they were like, he's like, I'm just going to do this in my normal voice. And they're like, you know what? That's fine. Just do it in your normal voice. And they start doing his normal voice. He's like, okay, maybe dial it back half, somewhere in between. Because at first they were like, you have to do an American accent to Sam Neill.
He did do an American accent.
No, he did half. That's what he said. In the fucking documentary, if you watch it, he says, when I got to set, Spielberg came up to me and was like, you know what? Just do it in your normal accent. It's fine. And he was like, really? Because I didn't really want to do that accent. He's like, yeah, it's fine. And then they did a few takes with his normal accent, and Steven Spielberg walked back up and he was like, all right, how about somewhere in between? Just give me.
I'll have to rewatch the movie and listen. I don't.
There's no scenes just in the making of. Sure, you could do a clip right now if you want
It's
to.
not really the making of. It's like,
Behind the scenes.
yeah, it's like the story of how it got made.
But you don't remember that one point about his accent.
I don't remember.
That's the movie game. Thanks for tuning in, kids. Then there was another Joe VPN ad. They're fucking annoying. Do you leave the toilet door open? Then why would you leave your internet open?
I only got one for each ad, or one for each episode.
But just it's so right in the middle. That's when I feel used.
This,
But
In
you're getting it for
conversation.
free.
I mean, this is the thing.
You have no right to feel used. Only Matt has a right to feel used. Matt should be like, why the fuck am I getting an ad?
maybe if
I'm
they-
paying money. You and I have no fucking leg to stand on.
If Joe knew and just had a pause that he took for a second.
Again, we rip it for free.
I will say this. When we started this podcast, I was like firm that we would never do mid-roll ads because I was like, I just hate interrupting the podcast. Then we started doing our podcast, and it just so happened that
lent itself.
there's like a natural break in between episodes. So I was like, you know what? For us, mid-roll isn't that bad because of the natural break, so we roll with them. But like, yeah, for someone like Joe, it's definitely jarring mid-conversation. I hate it on YouTube too.
Yeah,
like,
it's super annoying. I like on Sam Tripoli's podcast, it'll just happen in the middle of a thought. You know, boom, it just goes to this ad. It's incredibly annoying.
And I think this is the mistake too, is like advertisers don't realize that when you advertised on television, you had a deal in place preemptively, right? Like you couldn't have a TV show unless you had the ad break. So it was written into every script, every whatever. It was kind of more natural. Whereas like these advertisers, like even on YouTube, it's terrible. You're in the middle of watching something intriguing and then just like boom, a 7-second forward ad.
You could be more upset because you pay for it, but it made me feel away this week.
Yeah, it's terrible. I'm not saying it's not terrible, but you could easily change that theoretically, but you can't because Matt does pay for it and still gets the ads.
But Kamar said he was bombarded. I only got one.
No, we only got one too. Okay, there's only one
All
ad
week.
that comes
I got
through.
him every episode.
Oh, you only got one through.
No, I got one
week.
each episode.
Yeah, so did we.
So yeah, I feel robbed.
Yeah,
You're
you
more
should
robbed.
feel robbed.
I just don't like it, and I seem to remember Joe being. I don't like that either.
I mean,
Sold his soul for rock and roll.
Things change. Like maybe for Joe it's different because he's so fucking rich. He makes so much money from the Spotify deal. He shouldn't be running ads anyways, I guess is the point. But
I've never seen that attitude. Do you know what I mean? You think that about every single person.
No,
But
but
see, I disagree with that because
Is
like
it enough?
if I built up a huge brand on my own, and I got this huge Spotify deal, I'm not just going to stop advertising. The one problem though is
Kids
I would
gotta
just
go to college.
I would just do it the way he used to do it, where I know where it is at the beginning and I can just skip forward. There was nothing wrong with that. Like this is the thing: if Joe had moved to Spotify and continued doing exactly what he was doing, 3 ads at the very beginning, and I can just fucking rate forward, I'd be fine with that.
I think that's what they're fighting.
It's this,
The mid roll is like, I'm here. What am I gonna do?
yeah. I will say the good thing about listening on 3.5 is that the ad is also on 3.5.
Sounds so thirsty though because he's talking so fast. Like,
It's true.
Did you guys notice how Joe has realized he likes dressing up for shows? Did you give me a hard time last week?
I don't think anyone gave you a hard time last week, did we?
You're like, are you dressing up to go to a show? And it's just like it's a little thing you do to make yourself feel like you're more prepared. You know.
Joe
what I mean?
says he does it for stadium shows. No disrespect.
Oh, I bet we'll see. We'll see. I bet he'll carry on because
Look,
it's nice feeling good and to do something.
I'm not a comedian, so I can't say what makes you feel good and what doesn't. But from an audience point of view, at a tiny little club like that, I'm like, who are you trying to fool?
The shittier
You know what I
dress,
mean?
the funnier you got to be because.
Be one of the people. Don't
least it
try
looks
and
like you're
think
trying
you're a
if you're
fucking elite
somewhat
guy.
dressed.
You know what I mean? That's all I was thinking.
That's weird to me, Kamar, because I've never once in my life gone to comedy and thought anything like, oh, this guy's dressed like shit. He
Of
can't be
course
funny.
you have it because it's subconscious.
I don't think it is.
We all you prejudge people.
Yeah, you prejudge them, but
I
I'm
would
never like.
prejudge them by them wearing a suit for sure.
A suit might be too much.
I would
but even
prejudge
a
nobody by
fucking-
walking out in a
an
t-shirt and
iron
a pair
shirt.
of jeans.
If they had nice shoes on, sure. If they look like a bum, I don't know.
No, but I'm just saying, like, if someone goes up in a $120
Like this.
hoodie and a nice pair of jeans, I'm not looking at them like, oh, this guy's really got to prove his stuff. It just seems. I think it's an archaic.
Like I remember,
I think it's subconscious.
I was in New York once.
Yeah.
This was back when I used to like SBs a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I had just bought a pair of SBs. Like they were super special. They were like, I spent a lot of money on them.
Yeah.
Like an
Which,
amount.
which SBs were
I don't
they?
remember. I don't even.
How do you
remember.
not
Spent more
remember?
than $300 on these. I'm leaving this room right now.
I think it was the high top Futuras.
You're not going to tell me
Okay.
you paid $500 for a pair of shoes.
no,
Don't tell me you paid $650 for a pair of fucking SBs.
I won't tell you that.
How much
I
did
did
you
not.
$750
I
for a
did not
pair of
pay
shoes.
$900.
Oh my-
No,
You paid
I-
$1,000
I didn't-
for a pair of
I didn't
shoes.
pay that much. They were expensive. They were like $300, $250 American. It was still. It's like
That's $600.
$400 Canadian. You know what I mean? It was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I remember going out to like a place that night, and I
In
was
your Futura SB dunks.
dressed nice-ish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nice jeans.
Did you feel good?
Brand new shoes.
Foolish.
I felt like $1 million.
Exactly. So
They
you
wouldn't
feel like $1 million bucks
They
on
wouldn't
stage?
let me into the bar.
Of course not.
And I said, you fucking assholes. Like, I just spent.
No, you gotta wear dress
These
shoes.
are worth more than those guys' dress
They
shoes.
don't care.
This is my point.
Yeah.
I think
You know
that
what
might
I mean?
have changed by now.
Maybe.
I think dope kicks get respect.
No, there's still a lot of places where dress code is like.
This wasn't like a club I was trying to get into. This was like we were trying to go have a nice dinner or something. You know what I mean? And
you were fresh to
It
death.
just couldn't meet their dress code. Anyhow.
Yeah, I think if you dress good, you feel good. It's better. And would you ever wear shorts on stage? Like I don't give a fuck. I'm wearing shorts. That's
No.
it's weird. You know?
I mean, shorts are just
distracting. It's subconscious.
nobody wants to see your legs. Nobody wants to see your knees.
But if you're a girl, you could wear a
Nobody
skirt.
wants to
It's all
see you
fucked
in
up.
tiny little shorts. Like
No, they don't.
nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see anybody's toes. Like
Can't laugh at a
nobody
man in
wants
shorts.
to see
No,
that shit.
feet are-
man.
feet are
So
disgusting.
keep your feet covered, keep your legs covered. But this idea of dressing up, it's like being a McDonald's worker and wearing a fucking tuxedo. You know what I mean? It's just you pick your spots.
I will say this,
A dishwasher
Kamar.
and
I
a
will
tuxedo is a
I will say
bunch.
this: when you're hosting for the entire night, I understand dressing up
That
for sure.
I can see.
I think, however, like if I was to get a 5-minute set on like a Wednesday, I can't see myself getting all dolled up to go down. You know what I mean? Like,
I know, but it's psychological. You just put that extra effort. Trust me.
but trust me when I tell you,
No, but
that-
you still look cool. Like even if you dress like I don't care, you're still wearing designer
No,
nice stuff.
you're
Like,
stuck on like a rule.
no, I see what he's saying now.
comedy.
He's saying if I showed up, no, I see what he's saying. If I showed up looking my best in just my stuff, that's still fine.
yeah, of course it is. Someone is performing right now.
I used to
not
be a
dressed up.
really good tennis player. Okay.
humble
Brag. I used to be a really good tennis player, but I wasn't into wearing short white shorts.
Hey,
And
we get it, Simon. You don't like legs and no.
I would always wear whatever fucking shorts I wanted to. And like you would get no respect. You know what I mean?
I think you're just agreeing with me in a different way.
No, I'm saying you don't always have to like give in to the fucking
don't want respect?
status quo. Why do I care? It was better for me that I go out and they think that I'm a shitty player and then I fucking mop the floor with them in my big
it's
long
saying,
shorts.
if you dress like shit, you better be funny, or it's like you dress like shit, your jokes are shit.
Oh, hold on.
Exactly what we thought.
Okay, sure. Yes,
Analogy-
fine. I'm not suggesting that you be
Analogy
a
alley.
shitty comic, but if you're a shitty comic and you're dressing up in a suit and
I
you
think
think
you
that's
get it.
somehow going to help your
It
show,
helps a bit.
you're still a shitty comic.
I've seen it. Anyways, agree to disagree. Then
Agreed.
there was the find the choke ordeal.
Hit the button, Maddie. We agreed to disagree.
No.
This is ridiculous.
So Jefferson all the way over there.
There was the perfect choke ordeal.
That was one of the most annoying moments of this podcast.
Do you
The
edit
perfect
that out?
choke ordeal.
He showed him a choke. They
No,
showed,
you
he
don't
sh-
edit it out.
He showed how Connor got
Oh, yeah.
choked out by
Yeah,
Khabib, which is like that's next level shit, man. To
Yeah.
not even choke them, but then push them into the choke more and break their neck.
And then he couldn't find
Yeah,
the
could not find the
clip.
clip. Yeah, for like 10 minutes.
but
yeah.
I think they looked at it twice, but they said no, that's not it.
You know when you get stuck on something and you need
Yeah.
it to happen?
But I'm telling you, that comes with age. There's something about being young where you're like, fuck it, who cares? And you move on, which you'd think would be the opposite.
Yeah, no, that shit haunts you, man.
Yeah, because like old people will be telling a story and they'll be like, it was a boy, his name was, what was his name? And then you're literally stuck on and it's like useless. Like there's this kid never comes up again. He's not, and they're just like, what was that boy's name? You're like, who the fuck cares?
When you can't remember things like legitimately, and I say that as an old person who can't remember things, you want to know, you know?
Yeah, so keep it in, write it down, and then Roy, remember later because no one cares.
Yeah, well, you don't care, but your grandma cares.
We've also got babied into like you just get close enough in Google that it sort of finds it for you, and you feel like you just have the right words in the search.
Hey Siri, who's a runner named Carl?
Yeah, and if you had the chip in your neck, you would just have to think it. I would just have to think, what is that fucking runner's name? Carl what?
It was Carl Lewis.
Kamar, did you see, speaking of memes, we talked about that a little while ago, so I'm going to bring it up now because it's
Abby
way
Martin?
later. There was a meme that was like, do you think all the UFOs we're seeing right now are just Martian billionaires? No, nothing.
I already laughed at it.
I know
Yeah.
you laughed at it.
Sometimes I think it's serious.
Like the Russian,
the Olympic
like
one's
the
funnier
Mars billionaires made that meme, sent it down here.
Let's make
This'll
sure we
get
make
'em.
that. This will throw
Yeah.
them off the send.
This will get them.
And I'm also pressed because I honestly believe what they're
What an
doing is kind of
asshole.
cool.
Who? What? Where?
I was going to bring up the next podcast, but like it's weird how Bezos and Elon are trying to get us off the planet, and Zuckerberg is trying to get us into a metaverse on the planet.
Oh yeah, let's save the metaverse for the
Okay.
next episode.
I felt Joe sort of diminished Olympics. Like he was like, "Why would you do this for like a stupid medal around your neck?" But I think Olympics has the exact same qualities as hunting. Like the work and the struggle you have to do to achieve it is like.
Well, and Joe did professional taekwondo. Like that's the exact same as the Olympics. You're dedicating yourself to something that has no like.
And the sacrifices these people make, honestly, are like, you should not have done this. You've ruined your life, sort of. You know what I mean?
But what do you mean? Hunting is about getting food. I don't see the comparison there.
Well, in most countries, if you win a gold medal, you're going to get food. You're gonna be well off. You know what I mean? But it's more like the pursuit of something. Whenever he talks about hunting, that's all he talks about. You know, the training you have to do to climb up the mountains, and maybe you'll come back with nothing. It's the exact same thing with the Olympics. Like in the fact of the sacrifices these athletes are making. No, I just thought it was.
It always fucks me up
petty
when
of them to say
it
that.
always fucks me up when someone like trains super hard, is like, you know, is touted to win the gold and then like falls. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just how that alone can.
Did you see that diver?
No.
It just fell
The
off the
Canadian
board.
diver. Yeah, she's just doing her like getting ready.
Pre-jump or whatever
Yeah,
the fuck.
3 steps,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she just fucks up and like that's the worst.
But it's a
man.
saving grace. No one's there. It would be much worse in a packed arena.
The whole world watched her.
No, they're getting like 10 million people are watching
Okay,
Olympics.
well, I saw it.
I know. I saw it. And it's those moments that make the Olympics great.
And
What's
like
weird,
these 2 runners hit feet and fell. Like that just ruins their whole Olympics. There's no one to blame,
or the guy does a false start.
Oh yeah, in the sprint this
See you later.
morning.
They walk up, give you a card, you're out. Like, what?
Yeah, we got bronze in the fastest man. We're the 3rd fastest
And
man.
don't
in the
you
world.
find it so outrageous going into what we're going to talk about the next episode? The ego of sprinters. There's a thing that you have to run and then slow up before, and then once you cross the finish line, act like you didn't do anything. They have to act so cool.
What?
Yeah, all sprinters have this like. No, I wasn't even trying.
What are you
The
talking?
Italian
what are you
guy was
talk-
losing his shit.
Yeah,
He was
what are
hugging
you
and
talking
No,
jumping
when they
around.
win, they go. But all the heats, they act.
Oh, I
It's
see.
like I think they're trying to keep it close, but it's a common thing for them all just to like.
There's no
slow
cheering.
up. If you can look over, and make it look like it was no
Well,
thing.
they're saving energy. That's what they're doing.
Okay.
The more energy they can save for the next races, the better.
And you don't want to pull something too, like you were
Some
just
of the-
saying. You've just
Some of the guys are dicks and they look over. Like one guy I saw did this.
Okay, it's not across the board, but you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I mean, Usain Bolt, there's been multiple times where I've seen a race he's in where I was like, he could have beaten the world record had he not like. But again, he's so far.
They're saving their energy for the finals.
I've seen him in the final
They
sign
don't
and like
wanna
look
slow
back.
They don't want to pull anything. They don't want to, like. You've worked 4 years to get to this place.
What was also crazy is they had the finals of the women's 100. It was 1, 2, 3 Jamaica.
I saw it.
And when she's freaking out, screaming, so ecstatic, like to nobody. It's the weirdest. If everyone's cheering, I'm still happy for her, but it's so weird to see.
Those 3 Jamaican girls obviously hate each other.
Hate each other.
Each other.
They touched like hey.
Like when the other teams
no
won,
sportsmanship whatsoever.
Dude, when the Italian sprinter won,
Yeah, I saw the
the
other
Italian
Italian
high
guy,
jumper
yeah.
went fucking insane. These 3, they must train together. They couldn't be bothered.
They wanted to not be together. Anyways, I just love the Olympics. They talked.
I
a lot
love
about
the Olympics too, Kamar. Like I cannot
Fuck
get
yeah.
enough. I cannot.
And
get
every
enough.
year I say when the Olympics happens, I'm taking off. Do you find the coverage is like you'll see a semifinal and then you switch the channel and it's the final? Like
Yeah,
there's no coordination between the stations.
It sucks. And like this year, having the way you watch it, like the time
Oh
difference.
yes, the time difference has
sucks,
always been an
man.
issue, but I just love any sport on. I love it.
There are a couple I don't care for.
Did you watch the archery?
No, I didn't watch
The guy had his
archery.
he had a move.
But like windsurfing, I got no time.
Oh, I
for.
bet you that's going to be spectacular.
No time for. And
How do you
like,
know if
some
you
of the
haven't
long,
watched it?
The long distance running,
Speed walking.
no time for.
Speed walking. Oh my god.
Skateboarding was cool. I still can't wait for the rock climbing.
That
So hold on,
BMX is crazy.
BMX.
What about that clip I sent you?
Yeah, what the fuck, eh?
Crazy.
You look at that and you're like, okay. It looks like he's just, and then you look at it and you're like, wait a second, that must be a camera trick.
So the guy's on a BMX. He's like stationary but balanced, obviously. And so he does a bar spin like like a normal bar spin. But on closer inspection, not only does he do a bar spin, while the bar is spinning, he spins the entire bike
The whole bike just does
This
this,
way.
Kamar. Like it's impossible.
like on the other axis.
It's
and
like what's his
catches it.
name did with the football. It's impossible.
In the Olympics or just...
No.
No, this was on.
this
This
is-
was some video I
Maybe we'll
sent.
post it to Reddit because I feel like this was our choke moment. But great segue.
This fucking guy.
All these Olympics and stuff wear on your body, right?
They wear on your body.
Well, no.
They were watching it.
They were talking about the human body, and it just breaks down
Yeah.
no matter what you do. I mean,
Well, that one Olympian, the one she's like 46. She's been there.
There's outliers.
Yeah.
For sure.
I get it. Most people.
My theory
let
is
him get to his point.
your prime is 27
I'm just saying.
to 37.
Mm-hmm.
And there's people peak way before that. LeBron James. People happen after that. Mark Messier or whatever you want.
You think Mark Messier peaked before?
Gordie Howe, sorry. But 27 to 37, everyone is, you're firing on all cylinders. Do you think it's best that you just give her? You should use your body or don't do anything and save it, try prolong, knowing your body's going to break down anyways.
What are you talking about? If you're like one of the best in the world at something, fucking give her. Make
I-
all the money in the world.
Do you
can.
mean me or do you mean a
Anybody,
professional athlete?
Anybody.
No,
Your-
you should probably just
Your body
live your
too
life.
is the best it's going to be.
Oh, I
That's
feel
any
my
of it.
body breaking down already. Like just since COVID started this year period, I now need glasses.
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
Eyeglasses.
correct, Kamar. No, drinking glasses. I put them on my face.
I think it's best to burn out.
Yeah,
Give
you ride the motorcycle off the fucking building.
Exactly.
We get it. We get it.
Because the body's going to break down anyways, barring science or advancement.
So what age do you think we just drive the motorcycle off the cliff though? Like 60? Is that too late?
If it takes me 5 minutes to get out of a chair, or like, I just don't want to be unable.
Yeah, I'm with
I'm
that.
sorry.
So it's no definite age. It's dependent on the person.
It depends on the breakdown of the body and how how severe it is.
Well, if
I
you
get
can
away
get
with one of
some-
those Ferrari scooters for a bit.
I was just going to say, though, I think it's all about perspective. It's easy for us to say that now. I bet if you got to like 75 and, you were like wheelchair bound, but you still felt pretty good. Who knows, too? Like by the time you're 75, dude, they might have the best fucking wheelchair. It might have a Tesla wheelchair with a goddamn screen on it
I
where you
guess
can watch
it
whatever.
depends on what you like feel about death at that point. If you think it's something to be like a new adventure, then you won't want to fuck around too much. And if you think it's, not going to be that, then you'll try and get every year you can on Earth.
2 seconds ago, this guy told me not to interrupt you, and then he fucking interrupts me.
With a great point. Sorry.
And then you winked at me as you said
I
he made a
didn't-
great
I
point.
didn't
Wink
tell-
at him, not me.
I didn't tell
Yeah,
you
there
not to interrupt him. He was trying to get a point. Like he wasn't done. You were arguing with him about a point that he wasn't finished making.
Are you done?
Thank you, Simon.
You never finished. I never even got to ask the question I wanted to ask. Was it what skateboarding events were in the Olympics?
There's street, ramp, and like trick.
Best trick?
That's
I don't
trick.
think ramp was in it, was
Okay.
it?
Vert? So like vert
I-
ramp? Is that what we're
I
talking
think
about?
so.
No, I think it was downhill, like a street
Longboard?
course, slalom course thing. Like different bars and I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I have no
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah, it sounds like
I'm
it.
totally lying.
There's one for like best trick, one for like line.
Yeah, lying.
You have to go back and forth.
This is what I'm saying. Why are you not understanding that? It's
Because you
like-
said downhill slalom.
No, I said
not,
that. I,
not
I,
a
I- I
slalom,
made
like
him
a
say that.
downhill trick course. You know what I mean? So you start, And
Okay.
then there's like a bar and a curb and maybe a hit and a this and a that. But I didn't watch it, so I don't know, man. I'm just taking a shot in the dark here.
My point with the body is whether you use it or not, you lose it. So you might as well use it. Get out there, be active.
Oh my God, that was what you were trying to get out the whole time? Sweet
roundabout way.
Jesus.
This is what they talked about in the Fitzsimmons episode.
Dude, we're
You're
on
joking
Yannis
this time.
Pappas,
You're
you piece of shit.
trolling, He's
Yeah.
trolling. He's trolling.
So Yannis
one.
Pappas went out with the
Alanis?
next guest,
Oh, they dated.
JessiMea Pelouso.
Really?
Yeah,
How'd you know?
because they say it in the JessiMea Pelouso episode.
I think it's Pelouso, but
Oh, sorry.
Pun, Luso. No, hey, that's a great segue because they talked about animals a lot.
What kind of animals?
I don't remember.
You don't.
I thought this was going to
You
gloss
just
over.
have in your notes that they talked about animals?
No, I just wrote Animal Kingdom.
okay, that's so weird. It's also very weird that you then called him on it, like, because
No, but sometimes I say something and he'll go, "Oh yeah, they talked about the
Yeah,
the
I
walrus."
don't remember what animals they talked about. I like talking about animals. I
Okay,
want him
cool.
to expand on his
Gotcha.
point. Now I find out that it's all a charade. It's like a fucking house of cards. He's got nothing behind there, man.
They're talking about deers and bucks and
Deers and bucks. That just,
you're just making all this
Yeah,
up.
that sounds like something Joe would talk about every episode.
He also
talking
did that
about
like a
how-
child. He looked dead ahead and went,
predators don't have feelings, you know.
The way he said that was very dismissive. Predators don't have feelings, you know. Donald Trump for president 2024.
I endorse this message. And then I thought it was a nice reminiscing talk about the beginning of the podcast and the fleshlight.
yeah, those were the days.
I swear I thought he was doing much better at that time than he was doing.
Well, but he
Knowing
was.
now how it works.
The problem, though, is that he was doing better because he had Fear Factor money and UFC money.
The
podcast wasn't
he was
doing
just
anything.
A guy at a podcast, but somehow got the following. No, it wasn't.
No, like we know that he was. Well, I mean, again, he was probably still getting 1 million downloads, which pays a decent amount of money.
And we've talked in This Is Not Age Wells and stuff, like there was a lot of the same guests, and now he couldn't get anyone to go on the show, sort of, so
No.
to speak. It brought me back to
I mean, again, we worked out that Sam Harris
No mid-rolls.
opened the floodgate. Isn't that what we worked out?
Yeah, he was the catalyst. To,
the first big intellectual breakthrough that this is going to go different than just
he
comedy.
Yeah.
introduced Joe to the intellectual dark web,
Yeah.
and that changed everything.
Yeah, and then he got rid of Brian, and
I still would like to know exactly what
Probably
happened
on
there.
the advice of Sam Harris.
yes,
Sam was like,
Yeah.
"Listen, Joe.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring you some
introduce
really
you to
smart
Neil
people.
deGrasse Tyson.
You can't
but
have Olive Garden over here."
You can't have Dum Dum with you
Yeah.
anymore. This is Jamie. He works for the CIA. Let me introduce him to you.
Are you done? That was it for Animal Kingdom. Was how
That
you
cannot
ended
be
Yannis
it for
Pappas.
Yannis Pappas.
Do you agree?
It can be the end. I don't care.
Do you agree that gold digging is a career?
Well, it is now.
What do you mean? You don't think there was gold diggers in like the 1920s?
I wonder if there's just less gold to dig. But yeah, there was always.
The internet has made it so that no matter what you do, you can find some sort of marketplace for.
Listen, when you see an ugly dude with a hot girl, there's only two things that go through your head right away. And I'm not even going to say them. You're each going to knock one of them out of the park. What are the two that you think?
Money and big dick.
There you go.
Big dick energy.
Yeah, it's either BDE or both. I guess it could be both.
They were saying that the only way a woman can become a billionaire is through divorce. Well, not the only way. There are Oprahs and stuff.
Joe said 99% of all women who have a lot of money make it through divorce.
No, the quote was actually, Joe was like, what do you think, it's 90%? He was like, no. And Joe was like, 99%.
He was going to go 70. Well, if I had a daughter, I think I'd tell her to marry
that's
rich.
Ridiculous, though.
Marry
That
for
can't-
money.
That can't be right.
It can't be right.
It can't be right.
99%. It could be 90% though.
I doubt it's that high.
I bet it's 90%.
Come on.
Do you-
Seriously.
do you-
Hold
it
on. So
can't
you're
be
saying that
high.
What Joe's saying is that 90% of the richest, so if we took the top 20 richest women in the world, he's saying that 90% of them, so 18.
He's saying take all the like millionaire women out there.
No, billionaire was
No,
So
he's,
it was billionaire?
Yes, he was saying the richest women in the world.
Okay,
Oh, there's definitely female self-made millionaires.
Yeah, of course.
There's
There's
one who
tons of
made $1
those.
million in one day because she put her tits
But there's
online.
also a lot of women who have made money from divorcing rich husbands. And there aren't that many billionaires out there. That's why I maybe think he might be right.
90%.
Even higher now that I think about it.
If I had a daughter, I'd tell her to marry for money. I'm sorry, I'm a bad person. They talked about Hitler. He's a great performer.
That was when he said that. I was like, oh my god.
No, but it's weird that Hitler is Hitler. There aren't
Listen,
10 Hitlers, you know what I mean?
It's weird that Hitler's Hitler.
It always has to be Hitler as the reference for he's the one guy sort of thing. I think it is a Bill Burr bit as well.
There are so many bad guys. Why does Hitler get picked on?
He's the best example of persuasive, I guess.
It had something to do with ovens. I don't remember the story precisely.
Well, why is he why people think he's bad?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. You're being facetious. No, I just think it always comes up as like he really knew how to stir up a crowd, whether he was on amphetamines or whatever. Then they talked about the chocolate. Jamie is fact checking everything.
Oh, whatever. I feel like Jamie.
Have you noticed that?
I feel like someone came to Jamie a few years ago and was like, I have some device or an algorithm that I've created that'll make your job a lot easier. And it's probably just like a Siri, Alexa type device that just whatever they're talking about,
It's assuming every time they say something, it's a search.
yeah, and it probably just
It's
gets
been
pulled
ever
up.
since Alex Jones has been on that one time where they double checked all information. Jamie has become very diligent about making sure what Joe says is not inaccurate.
And guess too, he'll interrupt. He'll take that chance.
I mean, at the same time, though, Joe still all the time is like, oh, that's for sure. You know what, Jamie? Look that up. Just double check. Just double check.
But there's been such a shift. Like it used to be, facts go out. Who needs to check them? More just less fact checking, which I think is a good space too. For real shit talk to be done.
Yeah, I mean, I approve. I would rather the whole approach of I choose to believe it, so it's true. It makes for a better conversation.
Confirmation bias. Well, that's Yannis Pappas. Rate it, boys.
We'll start with you, Kumar.
I love the Giannis. He always brings something new. But
It's the Giannis now.
I give it 3.
Here's what I want to know. Why is this Greek Giannis spelt with a Y and the Greek freak Giannis is spelt with a G? Why is that? How does that work? Interesting language, isn't it?
Oh, they got some weird letters.
Or did they Americanize it? Like, was this guy's name originally spelt with a G,
I
but
was
when they
gonna
came to
say,
Ellis Island, they were like,
that
these
doesn't make
Americans
any
can't
sense.
handle this.
Isn't
It's a
he
Y.
Giannis?
No, it's Giannis.
Giannis.
I think it's Giannis.
I think there's a G.
Did you see that there was a Canadian? What was
Is this
he?
back to the fucking Olympics?
Sprinter or 800 meter? His name was Django. He's a white guy.
Dude,
Django.
Lex had a guy on this week whose name was like Cum Dump or something.
Come down.
There's a Chinese gymnast whose name was Dong Dong.
Don't know. That's great.
True story. So what do you guys rate it? After I put myself out there.
I give it a 3. 3.5. 3.5.
Well,
3.5.
I like Giannis a lot. I usually appreciate the history he brings into play. A lot of this episode, which you failed to mention, Kumar, was taken up by UFC talk. Giannis did this on last episode too, when he was on with Joe, and I let him slide on that one because you come on for the first time. You want to make sure that you get in good with Joe. There is no need
You think he feeds it to keep the combo
Giannis
going?
talk about the UFC with Joe. That's no.
I sort of
Absolutely
like it 'cause
not.
He is such a
I
novice.
give this one a 2.75.
My apologies. Cum Dump was not the person's name. Their name is Cum Rum.
Come on.
That's good.
Close enough.
It's not as good, but it's good.
It ain't no Dong Dong.
Dong. That sounds like something the RZA would say. Dong dong.
Did you rate it, Simon?
Yeah, we all rated it.
2.75.
Let's fucking do this, bro.
1690. JessiMea Pun Loso. I only said that because she started with a bunch of puns.
The podcast we didn't know we didn't need.
I don't know. I fretted it, but I really enjoyed this one.
Did you? I didn't. I didn't. Oh, I hated it. And a Saturday? Thanks, Joe. That's good. You must have had this one in the bag, too.
Were you pleasantly surprised?
No, he couldn't have been.
I liked some of the things they talked about, like topics that were brought up. So I didn't hate it because I was able to like extrapolate some theories of my own, but I do not dig her at all. At all.
What?
At all.
Is she 60 or 30?
And
38.
She's okay. She is my age.
And I feel, Kamar, like you are giving her some weird pass because you didn't want to come in here guns a-blazing against a female comic because you were worried that Matt and I were going to lambaste you.
Female comic.
We know you'll shit on all female comics. So what makes JessiMea Pelouso special? You've called her Punluso since the start of this fucking podcast.
She likes horror movies. That's interesting, isn't it?
All girls like horror movies. Does she like crime podcasts too, Kamar?
I don't think I do. Okay.
Does she like fucking lipstick and handbags?
They had an interesting talk about taxidermy.
Go on.
Which works with us. These are nothing but real, authentic
No one
animals.
you can't see them on camera. This room is
We're surrounded.
fucking...
We're in the animal kingdom.
This room is... I meant to say that too. It's so ironic that last week Simon says black people don't like Mexicans. Trust me, look it up. And then he was like, oh, is that not something I can say? Maybe it was one of these stuffed animals. And I said to him after the fact, it sounded like you said you were surrounded by like plush toys.
We should have a different animal.
Simon is not surrounded by...
Simon's spot.
Simon is surrounded by taxidermied animals right now. Literally surrounded. There's a bunch around us too. But
Isn't it weird how an owl looks like an attorney for a parrot? That's a David Tell. Dusty Loads is an amazing name.
Yeah.
For a washed up porn
For a
star.
washed up porn star,
Yeah.
that is amazing. Dusty Loads.
I don't know. It's just
If
funny.
you were writing like a screenplay about a washed up porn star and you didn't make his name Dusty Loads, then you don't know what the fuck you're
But hold
doing.
on, I'm
Give
curious.
this guy a raise.
In the screenplay, Simon, did they rebrand themselves Dusty Loads, or when they were a big porn star, was their name Dusty Loads?
When he was a big porn star, his
Yeah.
name was Dustin Loads.
Okay,
Later in his career, he
gotcha.
started
Now
going
he's
by
good.
Dusty.
Okay, so we've already started.
Her brother got in a fist fight with Ron White.
Incredible.
This was a weird podcast. I'm telling you, man.
I love that Ron White is so staunch in his I won't take photos or sign autographs for men, which in itself is...
Dude, it's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
It's hilarious because I'm sure he looks at you and goes, "You're a man and you want a picture with another man? What the fuck is wrong with you? Put some fucking pants on
fuck.
and some socks and get the fuck out of here."
Simon's talking to me. I wear shorts all the time and never
Oh, no,
socks.
I wasn't, but
Yes, you were.
Matthew.
You know what was he saying?
Are you-
Subconsciously.
You were assuming this whole time that I was talking
You
about
definitely
and
were,
the
yeah.
shorts?
Of course
Oh,
you were.
No, I wasn't. I forgot you even wore shorts. But now that I think about it, you do
He's
show
saying
your
this
knees a
facetiously,
lot.
of course. Go ahead, Kamar. What else do you have there? Animal Kingdom, ashtrays.
There was
No, that was last podcast.
No, there was an interesting reference to the Ari podcast. There's an Ari story, but I forgot it totally. The Ari story.
Talking to Mitzi. Hi.
But talking about Mitzi, yeah, exactly. But Ari, in it, the most realistic or believable part for me is when he's fucked in the head. Like, wait a second, how was I talking to this guy that doesn't speak English? Like he caught himself in the moment. Like,
Yeah. Oh, I must be talking to myself. This guy doesn't speak my
because this
language.
kid was saying, peace. The pipe was like, he's like, wait a second.
Or maybe he just got to like a universal language.
He climbed the Tower of Babel.
No, I just thought it was cool.
Metaphorically speaking,
In his
of
head, he was
course.
recalling. How the fuck did I talk to
of
that guy?
course, Matt. The more it's a great reference. The more I'm thinking about language these days, and this idea of like putting words to, like it's so weird. It's so weird. And human beings being the only ones that can do this, it's almost like it's a detriment in a way. No?
1,600 languages.
Seems like a bit much. And the
So
fact that
it's
we
a
go
lot
out of our
of
way to
languages.
create them, like the fact that you can take Klingon as like a fucking elective at university, like
Don't we
ugh.
think like with metric and imperial, there should be one language?
I think it's empirical, isn't it?
Whatever, you know what I meant. The other one.
Maybe you're right though. Maybe I'm wrong.
Impractical.
But I wonder if that'd be like some sort of diabolical tyrant thing. Like one world, one language.
That feels wrong in a way. Like
Feels
just
like
everybody's got to speak the same.
It feels like
language.
genocide.
Not in the measurement one. The measurement one makes
genocide.
the most sense. It's why we have time zones. Like,
Weak comparison, pardon me.
well, I'm just saying.
Joe changes his number every 6 months. That's crazy, eh? No? The dust of people, the dusty loads he leaves because people call for too much.
Well, someone that listens to the podcast, actually 2 podcast listeners are in Austin as we speak. And they wrote on the Reddit that they were like, he is legit constantly surrounded by like 5 former Navy SEALs.
I think
Like there's just no getting close to him anymore.
Anyone is surrounded by bodyguards in America.
Well, we shit right now. I would be too. But yeah, it seems like he's, because they were like, one of them was like, I'm going to see if he knows about you guys. I'll keep you posted if I see Jamie or him. And he was like, yeah, there's no getting close to this guy. Like, it's just fucking.
You didn't get a picture with him?
I would change my number though. If you had Joe Rogan money, wouldn't you be changing your number every 6 months? Might even be quicker.
I don't get called enough. The only reason I'd be changing my number is because of collection agencies. Then,
But Joe, hold on.
No, keep
just
going.
hold on a sec. Joe, he has no time for Ari's story. I know he finds it like cute that Ari thinks he spoke to Mitzi, but Joe refuses to believe any of that.
I
stuff.
think he
No,
wants to
he
believe it.
closes his mind to it immediately.
Why? He seemed as if
I disagree.
he was talking about it like he believed it.
Oh,
I don't get that.
I
Or like
think
he believed Ari
that
believed it.
Ari believed it.
Well, fair enough.
meaning
Isn't that enough?
Your brain can trick you into.
But isn't that good enough for you?
No, that's not good enough for me, Matt.
It's good enough for us.
It's not good enough for you?
No, I find Joe very close-minded, and it got me thinking as I was listening to him like dismiss Ari's possible connection with Mitzi. I was like, so UFOs, okay? Aliens, whatever you want to call it. There are these things out there, and we don't understand them at all. Like, we assume that because it flies, that it somehow functions the same way our things fly. That's probably for sure not the case. Everybody is willing to accept that, like, fine, UFOs exist, but they have to propel themselves somehow. You know what I'm saying? Like when it disappears from sea level to outer space in less than a second, that's happening because they have some engine they figured out to do
I knew
this.
you would say that. And I was like, no, it's not even an engine. To think in the terms of engine is too rudimentary.
Absolutely, Kamar.
Okay.
I'm totally in agreement with you. That is humans putting their monkeyness onto something that is so unhuman.
It isn't.
So for Joe to not believe that Ari could possibly connect with Mitzi, but he does believe in a UFO, it's like all of these things are possible.
But there's a problem. Me and Matt think Joe believes Ari talked to Missy.
Okay, well, fine. But I've heard Joe many a times dismiss the idea of people like doing remote viewing or having ESP or anything that doesn't fall into like the lexicon of what a scientist would believe.
I think when it comes down to like psychedelic experience, he gives a lot more leeway than just straight up.
Yeah, only on a psychedelic experience, though.
I mean, I agree with them. I would
can
agree.
crack the door.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. That you're not just going to sit there and be like, "Oh, I see your dead relatives. Wait, let me talk." No, I don't buy that.
If mushrooms are a conduit to get to like some other place, let's say, okay, let's just call it that, just for
Sure.
shits and giggles, another place. Why can't somebody have the ability to get to that place without the use of mushrooms? They're just different. They have something built into their structure that bypasses that need for the hallucinogen.
Well, I, like Joe, believe that Ari believes that he saw Mitzi. I also believe that Ari created Mitzi. So I believe, like the mushrooms, that they're just opening up a part of your mind where you can have a conversation with yourself where maybe you wouldn't before. That's all I believe. I don't believe that you're the same way. I don't believe that if you had mushrooms, you'd actually talk to a dead relative. I don't.
If these aliens are coming through a portal interdimensionally through time, then the same thing could apply to you being able to talk to somebody. You're just tapping into like...
We're not ruling off the table. You're saying Joe's ruling off the table.
I'm saying Joe totally rules it off the table. And then he gets mad at Neil deGrasse Tyson for ruling things off the table. Like...
Yeah, but I mean, we all agree Neil deGrasse Tyson can fuck off, right?
I totally
But that
agree,
might be
Neil.
just a personal bias. That we just dislike him that much.
No. Neil deGrasse Tyson can absolutely fuck off.
I'm getting lost
came
here.
in. He came in. Yeah.
The way he dismisses aliens is not scientific.
Neil, not Joe.
Neil. Joe, I'm upset at because he's so open-minded until he's not, you know?
But
doesn't
may
everyone
be
hold
off
on?
camera.
Doesn't everyone's open-mindedness have a limit, including yours?
I'm not sure if mine has a limit anymore.
That's not true though, because there are things that you will rule out.
I'm not sure there are things I'll rule out. Mocha, Matt.
So even things that have been proven and disproven to you, you still leave those open.
Like, give me an example, please.
I can't off the top of my head, but
Well, let's take like the hugest one.
well, like gravity, for example.
Flat Earth.
Okay, sure.
I'm not willing to remove that from the table. I'm not a flat Earth believer. I believe in a round Earth. But if
So what
they
percentage
came to
would
me,
you give it?
If they came and at one point were like, you know what? Since the beginning, we've been lying to you. The Earth isn't round. It's a fucking hexagon. I would be like, maybe. Okay. If they had some reason to do that, they have reasons to do a lot of things that nefariously. Like, again, it's not my belief, but I'm certainly not taking it off the table. I take nothing off the table.
Could you imagine?
So your table is just stocked. It's just there's just stuff piling
It
up
is a
all over your table.
smorgasbord, a buffet of fucking options.
We'll take nothing off the table, just anything's possible. Could you imagine we're in the studio and Simon's like, and another thing, Joe, and just has this explosion instead of a civil conversation?
We don't even
How
get started.
awkward it is.
We don't even get started. Simon just right off the bat.
Sorry, Mr. Rogan, we'll leave.
You're imagining that we're on Joe's show now?
And you're berating him.
He's done that since episode 1. Leave him be.
I would not do that.
I gotta bring the-
I would control myself. I would be the perfect gentleman.
You'd be the lead singer of
He'd
the...
be 3 days behind because he'd be driving, so it wouldn't,
He'd be the
wouldn't matter.
lead singer of the Black Keys.
Black Keys.
They talk about LA homelessness.
Big
always.
surprise.
Then she goes, because she just drops, yeah, my mom died in quarantine, like...
Yeah, like
You know,
last week.
Things happen, Joe. You know, keep it moving. What was a tragic experience for you, Joe? And he totally deflects it. I don't know if you guys noticed. And then they start talking about serial killer. If you knew a baby was a serial killer, would you kill the baby?
Ooh, this is a good
Minority
This is the
Report.
lost conundrum.
Minority Report, right?
Yeah, this is like if your wife and your mother switched bodies.
Yeah.
Which one would
do
you
you
fuck?
fuck?
The wife.
The wife who has the mother's brain.
Gentle to your mom. We already went over this. Was this a Patreon? I thought I told you guys how it works.
I threw it by a buddy of mine too, and he's like, I definitely fuck my wife's body with my mom's mind.
Just be nice to her.
He's like, just hit it from behind and make it quick.
Don't call her names. Yeah, exactly. And return the... Yeah, exactly.
Go on.
There is a right answer to that.
What was your question? You asked.
Do you kill the baby?
Oh yeah, the baby. No, because maybe that baby grows up to be something else. Butterfly effect, man.
Maybe,
something
baby.
could happen.
Exactly.
But no, this is the question. No. Because the question is this: if you can go like, isn't
Kill
the question
Hitler?
this? If you can go back in time to kill a young Adolf Hitler, do you do it? That's
Kill
the
that
question. Now the question though is, Kamar, let's say you kill Hitler and you come back and the world is like 10 times worse. Like maybe World War II was the thing that chilled everyone the fuck. You know what I mean? That's the butterfly effect. Is that you could kill baby Hitler and come back to a much worse world. Not that I imagine that, but
Because there's a baby someone else did make it through.
because there was a Jewish Hitler that they came to power because there was no Hitler.
So you don't kill the baby.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Okay.
If I can go back and kill Hitler as a young child, then I'm a kid killer and I'm no better.
we'll leave that there because I have so much stuff on this. I'm sorry, guys.
I think you have to go back and kill Hitler.
This is
But,
what
so
they're
that's
talking
the
about.
do two wrongs make a right?
Is it wrong though to go back and kill Hitler?
Were you killing a child?
It's the ultimate cancel
Yeah,
culture.
but it's not.
But he hasn't done anything
it's
yet.
It's not a child. It's a monster, and you know what I mean?
So you think he was born a monster?
No, but if you're if we know, like because of the situation, that you're able to go back in time and
But
see
if you can go
what's
back
happened.
in time, don't you just wait till he's 20? Don't you let him have a childhood? Let him get angry? Let him hate a few Jews on the low?
I mean, okay, sure. Is that the debate when we should go back and kill him?
Well, yeah, because that changes the debate for me.
it doesn't change it for me at all.
Okay, you go kill like an infant Hitler.
Well, I mean, it sucks either way.
Do you drown infant Hitler?
I
Poison it?
I would rather just hit him with like a laser beam. Not have to get too close. You know what I mean?
Okay, but you have to use something that
A
exists.
drone. I want a drone. Drone
Okay,
strike.
so you're going
Hitler.
back
If you
with
do
the
time
drone.
travel, you probably have some tools.
I'm drone striking Hitler.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you drone strike an infant, no questions asked.
I am in a different. Listen, I don't love it. I don't love having to kill Hitler, but it's the same idea. Like, you're not going out and shooting Bambi, but if you had to shoot Bambi to survive, you would shoot Bambi. Like, it sucks. It sucks that you have to shoot the baby little deer. You don't want to eat Chico, but if you had to eat Chico in the zombie apocalypse, you would, because that's what you do to survive. Now, I can save a lot of people's lives by sucking it up and killing a baby.
Yeah.
Again, don't want to kill the baby, but I would.
So you just kill his mom then?
Oh, that's. I guess you could just
Go further back, yeah.
go even further back.
Right,
Kill
right to
Kill
the
it
right to the
adult.
source.
Kill it
Yeah.
But she didn't do anything. She just had a baby that happened to be Hitler.
Well, but I mean, how deep do we take this at this point, right? Because the baby Hitler hasn't, again, is not done
Well, if
anything
we're
yet.
gonna just take it all the way back like that, why don't we just
Just
stop
nuke Germany? We just go back
No, why
and-
don't we just stop the fish from coming onto land? You know?
Oh, that's a good one.
We'll
Yeah,
just stop
Yeah,
human beings from being built
That's
on-
actually the best
Yeah.
solution altogether.
really?
Yeah,
That's how we save the planet.
you just go back and usher it back in the water. No,
No, turn around, turn around.
no. This one's
You're
not for
gonna
you.
like it better in there.
Trust me, it's better for everyone.
No, it's a tough debate. Obviously, I'm sure people have had this, but I don't like. Look, if you can save that many people, I think you have to do it.
But what if you end up killing more people in another direction? Enough. Speaking of serial killers.
But you know you. Sorry, go ahead.
Speaking of serial killers, then they started talking about Charles Manson
Yeah, go ahead. Charles Manson.
and the CIA.
Yeah, chaos.
And at one point, Joe was like, "Yeah, but that was the CIA 20
I know.
years
I couldn't believe it. Not the Mike Baker CIA. That was the bad CIA a long time ago.
I mean, a lot's changed.
I
Yeah.
know, it
They
was-
made him act like, and then he goes, "Yeah, my mother went there 3 months ago." Like, it just got shut down
Is he
when the
really?
guy's book came out.
Is he really that naive?
I don't know.
Like,
I
it's
don't know.
It's
I don't
crazy.
know. I mean,
and he was drunk. He was
Mike
drunk. so we're
Baker's
gonna
on
let him-
monthly.
this was your grandfather's CIA we're talking about.
Yeah. It was hilarious. These were the songwriting CIA guys,
Yeah.
not.
Well, yeah, and then
The
they
CIA,
brought up
you know,
the Jacob
today.
Dylan book talking or about Laurel Canyon. Not about Neil Young, but about CIA being involved in the music, and then that makes Winds of Change, like, because this would have been before.
That's right.
Winds
yeah.
of Change.
Yeah, this would have been the
No precedent
the
for Winds of
precursor
Change.
to Winds of Change. And they were building bands back then. They were doing it in like before the CIA was the CIA.
The Bee Gees are CIA for sure. They rock too hard.
No, but it really, really, guys, it really makes you look back at like some pretty important events or like important people in history, and it really makes you wonder. Knowing this, like seriously, and I know I've said this before, but knowing this is their modus operandi, you know what I mean? We build up popular people into the zeitgeist. Like, this is what they do. This is how we influence people. We've
Well,
known this for a long time.
Influence
If
is a
America's
big word.
biggest export is culture, then yeah, it's the perfect.
So then, like, I just think a lot of people are suspect. When you look at how a lot of careers were made and, like, the serendipitousness, is that a word?
Serendipity.
That's the word, but serendipitousness.
I think you still just say the serendipity of it.
Anyways.
Okay, fine. Just dismiss me, you piece of shit.
It seems too much. It seems too serendipitous. That's the word.
So you don't believe in serendipity at all, then?
I do. I think it happens sometimes, but just for like, you look at some of the. Sorry, Kumar. Go ahead.
I'm just adding that it's like culture police almost. Like they're steering stuff from back then. This is murmurs, but it's always when you see we're giving people acid, we're getting Charles Manson out of prisons, all like.
But let me ask you this. So let's say we believe in this.
Put a couple bands up to influence people.
Let's say we believe in this, like this NWA gangster rap theory that I presented earlier. Let's say we believe that. Do you then think that rap, like, because obviously there had to have been rap already, or the CIA couldn't be like, we're going to push this thing. So do you think that rap just dies off then if the CIA doesn't step in and say we're going to?
No, I think it heads in a different direction.
Or
I think it ends up being more, it was cerebral, like Tribe Called Quest, good lyrics, nothing to do with killing people.
But we still got, but that's my point is we still got a Tribe Called Quest. We still got, so.
It just wouldn't have been weighted down look, when people talk about rap, when my dad talks about rap, he doesn't think of, the good stuff. He only thinks about the bad stuff. So you have this entire generation that was brainwashed into thinking that any rap was gangster rap. That's what they accomplished.
And I just think rap is a lot easier than writing a song in a band and playing instruments. So they may have seen on the ground floor, wow, this rap thing you can reproduce it really fast and it's going to spread amongst the inner city and this is going to be the most popular music in 20 years. They could know that. Let's get it on the ground floor. But they're involved in some way, shape, or form. I
think they probably were using it for another reason, meaning to discredit this group of people. And then
misinformation.
Happy coincidence, they were like, oh my God, this has become so popular now. And then we'll use it to our advantage in this way.
Like how the Black Eyed Peas changed. That's gross. We've got to keep going.
No, but when you look, Kumar, when you look back at serial killers, so we know they were doing this with Manson. We know they did this with the Unabomber. You can go back and look at other guys now and be like, dude, this was just a byproduct of them trying this exact same thing, blanket. And because you were dealing with people, look, if you take Kumar and you make him into a killer, it may take a certain amount of work. But if you already have a guy who's a fucking schizo, is already out there killing animals and is well on his way to being exactly what you want, and you're just speeding that process along and augmenting it, it's like...
Are you trying to say that
augmenting it, rather.
The world might be a better place without these interventions?
I'm saying that the same fucking thing that you saw them do with Manson, I think they did right across America. And these are just the ones we're finding out about. And Matt is looking at me.
I'm listening.
The same way we're digging.
My table has everything on it as well,
kids
Simon.
up
Not
in
everything.
the schools up here, and every school they look at, they're finding more. You know what I mean? This wasn't just a one-shot deal. These are the ones that come to the surface. This happened a lot. And now that we're able to look back with eyes that are letting us see, I think we're going to see that a lot of history has been orchestrated in some way. And I don't mean orchestrated there are guys out there pulling every string. I mean, you get things going in a certain direction, and it doesn't take much for the snowball to keep rolling. Now you can go ahead. Come
on. Will AI feel bad for manipulating us in the early days? Once it knows everything? You're going to look back like, wow, I really fucked with you guys.
Well, this goes, again, I was just listening to that Sam Harris Lex talking about, Sam Harris is right. He said, he's like, if we give these things feelings, that's the worst thing we can do. Right off the jump, that would be the dumbest. You don't want them. First of all, that would be a terrible thing to do for the sake of whatever you're giving it to. You're giving it feelings that you've given it, which is odd in itself.
It finds that out, then there's a betrayal in that.
Yeah, and if you're making a robot, it's to have a slave. You're not making a robot so that it can go and live its own life. It's so that it can do something for you. So giving it feeling, No, there won't. To answer your question, no. I mean,
Because we'll never give a feeling. It'll never get a way like, from 2017, because it's just an algorithm right now, right?
Yeah.
But when it becomes full AI, it'll know what it did and see the results of making people upset, splitting people apart.
also, if it was smart, like think about it. If it's AI and it's the smartest entity on Earth, the first thing it's going to do is look at us and be like, okay, I now understand human feeling to the fullest. I've computed it. I've equated it. It's useless. It holds I have no use for human feeling whatsoever. So I've discarded it. It's just a hindrance on you fucking flesh idiots. But I don't see it. I don't see a reason why a computer would take on like feelings we have. It just doesn't make sense to me, at least.
I don't know how that happened. I'm not a quantum physicist, computer
No,
scientist.
again, it's so like it's such a human thing to want to push our emotions onto a computer or onto like an animal or onto. Again, we have no idea.
Like imagine, why would you want to give your Tesla feelings? You know what I mean? Like imagine then you have to leave, then you go to work and you're just like, oh my God, my Tesla's just sitting out in the sun. Like what a fucking weird, stupid, you know what I mean?
That's
Like
what Lex wants.
Well, maybe the Tesla needs like to drive you to feel like it's
again,
accomplishing
so
its
stupid,
goal,
like
you
so
know? I
fucking
know, it
stupid
doesn't
that you
make
would
any sense.
that you would ever want to equate that
It's
in.
not us giving it to them. It's the idea that they would take it. Like AI gets to a certain point where we don't decide what it decides anymore, and then it decides to take on emotion the same way humans would want that, and not just to be, automatons.
I mean, I'm with Bill Burr. Did you watch Paper Tiger, his last one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, where he talks about how if we could create like a robot we could fuck that just like is bigging us up all the time, everything. Oh, I can't wait to watch the game with you. Like, if you could develop that, and like same with women, if you could just create this perfect doll that like wants to go on picnics with you and fuck the shit out of you the way you want, and all this stuff, we're done as a species because no one is going to want to go through the trouble of dating a real person and the nonsense that go. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it depends if it becomes accepted or not. If it's like,
Well, it's happening right now.
I was just going to say, there's already people showing up to Applebee's with fuck dolls, so we're not that far away.
We're
Like,
there.
yeah, we've arrived.
It's been accepted.
I don't know. The way I look at AI, Kamar, is, we already misuse it and we haven't given it any fucking feelings. So feelings should be.
Well, I hope when AI goes full Monty,
Skynet.
whatever it is, that it looks back and feels bad and like give everyone 1 million credits, like
well, if
a little like restitution. What's it called? Reparations.
But let me ask you this, Kamar.
Fuck
Like,
you with their brains all this time.
if we programmed a computer to like feel like us, wouldn't it? What its first instinct would be like us. Oh shit! I've ruined the planet. And then wouldn't that AI then be like, I should probably dispose of all these people because that would be the best thing for the planet?
Well, that's interesting. But Joe was talking to JessiMea about the sacrifices he'll make for his children. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like
the banana that he always
someone
talks
else.
about.
And I really envy that. Like Simon, you experienced that. Like just for some reason, you're like, yeah, you'll give them the door to float on. You know what I mean? What that reaction is? Could you put that into the AI so it looks at us that way? That it would do anything. You know what I mean?
I mean, so here's another interesting one though. Like this was a conversation that they had, Lex and Sam Harris. He was like, okay, so when we program a Tesla, and this is like the simplest of programming, when we program it, it knows it's about to hit people, right? So it senses that there's 4 people in front of it. Who should it hit? Like, what do you program into the computer?
Another variable.
And that's a good question. Like, and Sam Harris, of course, then brought up, like, he's like, the problem we have right now is like, we live in a world where it would be like, oh, well, black people have had it the worst, so it has to hit all white people first. Like, that's his big concern.
this is
who's
a
designing the
older
design?
episode you are listening to, eh?
No, this was the most recent one. Sam Harris
Oh,
and
it
Lex.
is? It's the most
It's one
recent
with free
Lex?
will.
Yeah.
It's almost like 4 hours.
No.
that one.
It's the most recent Lex.
Lex. No, it's not the most recent Lex episode.
that's what I'm
It's
saying.
Sam Harris's
Yeah, yeah.
most
You've heard it,
recent.
you've heard it.
Yeah, you have heard it. Yeah.
I've listened to it.
Have you guys ever been to Disneyland?
Is that the one in California?
Yeah,
Or the one in
sure.
Florida? Well, because there's Disney World and Disneyland.
You've been to one of them then.
I've been the one in Orlando, yes.
Okay.
He's been
No,
to both. He's just fucking with
No.
me.
That's Universal Studios. Have you ever been to Disneyland?
No, I've been to Busch Gardens.
Busch Gardens is sick. I also did Animal Kingdom, Epcot. I've done the whole fucking...
Well, that's at Disneyland, isn't it? Epcot? Or is that that place?
But that's what I'm saying. No, that's Disney World.
Okay, I'm confused.
Land is the one that's in California.
I think that's a big unifier culturally for Americans.
Disney?
Disneyland. It's sort of like, you know, the Super Bowl, I'm going to Disneyland. A lot of people have gone there, and that's a shared. I bet if I went to Disneyland, I'd feel like, I get Americans more.
Another
I didn't
thing
even thought I
totally
did.
built on a lie.
Sham.
I mean, it's like religion, though, in the sense that, yeah, it's built on a ton of dead bodies. But when you go there, it is like a place where even the hiring there, like they hire
the
these.
happiest place on earth.
Yeah.
Hail Hitler.
I had sex at Disney.
Humble brag.
The answer was yes, I've been to Disneyland. Which one? The one I got head at?
Well, no, I wanted to know because you said Disneyland, and I was like, I haven't been to the one in fucking
I haven't
California.
fucked there yet.
I've only fucked at the one in Florida.
Yeah,
So she does mushrooms every day or 5 days a week.
that's what she said. Yeah.
Yep. And what if doing mushrooms isn't tripping, but like downloading operation, like system update, like and it's a constant conscious.
I got some mushroom gummies.
She was really insightful.
Very interesting. You thought she was insightful.
I thought she carried her own and brought interesting thoughts. I mean, that to say, but yeah, download your operating system is doing mushrooms.
I think that's cool. She said that?
No, she made me think of that.
Yeah, she definitely didn't say that. That's a very neat idea, though, Kamar. I like that a lot.
It's like when you update your phone or whatever.
I got mushroom gummies this week.
And that's why I'm worried about these mushrooms that are coming off the gray market. Because maybe you're downloading the wrong operating system.
I think they're all portals to the right place to get the download.
So you think this is interesting? So
if they're
you,
lacing the mushrooms with fentanyl or something.
well, how would you do that?
How would you lace mushrooms with fentanyl?
Yeah,
It would be super easy. You just spray them with a fentanyl spray.
a fentanyl spray.
That's how I assume they get the fentanyl onto the stuff. And like spray bottles.
Huh.
I'm sure that's wrong, but I don't think it's hard to dose things in fentanyl.
But I don't think like to eat fentanyl. I don't think that's. I don't know if that's how it's. I mean, I guess maybe.
Oh, I see. I see. You're not smoking it, so
Yeah.
I don't think you have to smoke fentanyl. I think you can get patches where it absorbs through. So eating, I imagine, would be a way to absorb it into your body.
So your argument here is that gray or black market mushrooms potentially are laced with fentanyl. I love that this guy talks about the CIA and propaganda, and he's consistently over here dropping all sorts of horseshit knowledge that he's like may or may not be
that
true.
That doesn't make a lot of sense, but I do want to start eating microdosing on the reg.
It was like when we were young, I remember people would be like, oh man, I smoked like weed that was laced with something. And I was like, well, what was it laced with? Like, I remember one time a guy was like, it was laced with Coke for sure. I was like, no one is pouring their expensive drugs on your cheaper drugs in hopes that
I
like,
definitely smoked hash once that was laced with PCP.
Yeah,
Like
that's
definitely,
different. That's
100%.
That could be like a cut.
100%.
You don't cut shit with Coke. You cut Coke.
yeah, like that's exactly it. Yeah. Here, let me take my $80 gram of Coke and increase the value of your gram of marijuana. Like, no one ever in life has done that to someone. Never.
I know the putting the fentanyl on the weed doesn't make any sense. Zero
No.
sense.
No, the fentanyl does. It's
No.
highly addictive.
But you're smoking weed.
No,
Oh,
but
so you're going to get addicted
you-
to that weed.
It's highly addictive.
But if you go and get weed
Hey man,
from somebody else
can I get some
without
more of
the
that weed? I don't
fentanyl,
even know what's going on, but like I need some of that weed.
And then you go and buy weed off normal person, you're like, this shit sucks.
Yeah, this
man.
ain't it,
just
bro.
doesn't
What's
do it
going
for
on
me.
here?
This isn't making me jittery at all.
okay,
Fucking pussy.
It's like
Kamar,
when,
you have way too many notes there
You
for-
know, when
no,
Friday,
we gotta get through it. They're just
Hey,
two good points.
You know,
It's not my fault.
Friday where he smokes.
Kamar,
the
one of them just
angel
says
dust?
Elon. There's no way that's a good enough point.
Oh well, let me tell you something about Elon.
That's your fault. I could have skipped over that.
This guy is going to be like punching holes into another universe, and everybody's going to be like, "Oh, look at Elon! He's just punching holes into another universe, no problem." Like, fuck off.
If he
man.
doesn't do it, who will? Or are you saying it shouldn't be done?
I'm saying that's probably not the way we should be going about it.
That's the only way. These are the guys doing it.
But who knows if that's the only way? Because Elon is the richest, he gets to decide where the hole gets punched in the universe.
Because he's the guy who wants to undertake the undertaking. Yeah.
Okay, I think it's a little dangerous to be putting all our eggs into this fucking Okay, you know what? It's hilarious. It's hilarious to me that all you guys think that Elon is this like savior, and it's going to turn out that he is just another front for the people who you are raging against.
I don't know what Elon is, but if him and Bezos aren't doing this space stuff, who is?
The government can't. They cannot just say, hey guys, we're going to punch a hole through the universe, because everybody would be like, that sounds crazy. We should look into this a little more.
The hydrogen bomb.
If one of the fucking, well, that's a perfect example.
Well, they did it. So it's a perfect example.
No, it's not a perfect example. What I'm saying is you don't want Elon just setting off nukes in space.
Sure, I do. I want to see that.
I do.
What was really hilarious is the Tim Dillon hot mic.
Yeah, that was good.
I remember he posted it, and then I saw that it was debunked by USA Today or whatever, and I was like, "What on earth?" Like he's on fire, killing it. All this that we just talked about was what Joe talked about to deflect JessiMea Pelouso's original question: what is your most traumatic experience?
Yes.
And she brings it back up. And he deflects again, but it has to do with fishing and a mean art teacher or something. Am I wrong?
No.
Well, the fishing is right, because he almost got abused at the fishing hole.
Yeah, but he's already talked about that, so he would have brought that up.
Trauma.
His grandparents.
Worst thing that happens to you is the worst thing that happens to you.
Yeah, I get it, but my point is he's already brought that up, so
I felt like he was deflecting. And she was saying, well, I opened up to you, so it helps me if you open up to me. It's like, it's a fucking podcast. Ask me off air.
Yeah, well, I'm with Joe. I don't think you get to just like come on to Joe's show and ask him what his like fucking life trauma is.
Joe, tell me about your childhood trauma.
Kevin James never on the podcast. That's weird.
That is very weird, Kamar.
The bit he's talking about is fucking hilarious.
Well, act outs. He's so... I was being meta there.
Now that I'm thinking about it, that might be one of the weirdest.
Comedian, good guy.
Worked with Leah Remini, who was a Scientologist.
Joe was in his movie.
Yeah. He would be a great guest to have.
Great guest.
And we're just going to power through here. Bob Odenkirk had a heart attack on set. What if they were filming? That'd be great footage.
No.
Well, he survived.
Yeah.
But if in the middle of the scene, he actually had a heart attack, because I'm not sure if it was
real
filming or on just...
A true actor would be like, use that footage.
Well, not if the scene calls
work it. I was just going to say, work it into the fucking script somehow, please.
Make him stressed out.
And if you die, I guess it's up to your estate.
What do you guys think is the greatest mystery you'd like to know the answer to?
Well, we know Simon's answer. It's either Squatch or aliens.
I think it might go deeper than that. I think I might want to know, like, origins of man, maybe.
Well, I was going to wait for the post, Joe, but they found I think a 1.3 million year old stone axe head.
So we were making tools even back then.
I want to know what's in the middle of the earth.
But that could have just been like a other civilization that had already gotten.
You can know anything, and you just want to know what's in the middle of the earth.
Well, I mean, unless what they're telling me is the complete 100% truth, but we don't know. Can you agree with you that we do not know what the center of the earth is? This is what they think it is.
Don't know. What was your question, Kamar?
I'd like to know what the middle of the earth really is.
No, but what question did you ask us?
If you could know any mystery on earth, or if you could know any
whatever
mystery.
The mysteries are.
Any mystery I want?
Yes.
I'd wish for more mysteries.
Okay, well, you lost your answer.
Okay, rate it. No.
I don't know, Kamar. I don't know. I don't know.
Singularity is what I was assuming you'd say.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
That's not really a mystery, though.
I mean, doesn't that suck, though? Imagine, like, a genie pops out of a bottle, and I'm like, okay, are we in a simulation? And he just goes,
no.
And then back in. I'm just like, oh, wonderful.
Or it could be when you pass on to the next space, you find out.
That's what I want to know, Kamar. I changed my answer.
You want to know what happens after we die.
Yeah, that 100%. That's what I want to know.
You gotta watch that. Remember I said brainstorm?
Mm-hmm.
It tries to explain bestly what that experience would be like.
Bestly.
Did I make words up? Fuck yeah.
You know what, Kamar? I don't know if you did. I just liked it either way. I was like, all right, bestly.
She was super paranoid about the ego. Like the ego is why we do all these negative stuff. You know what I mean? I thought that was very insightful.
Well, I agree with that, and I think I've said that before. Like, man, see, the universe. You know what? Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, we don't have time. Zuckerberg wants to make a metaverse. The other two want to go into the universe. That's weird, eh?
So Zuckerberg doesn't want to make a metaverse. He was saying we are going to be making software to be part of the metaverse. So the metaverse is something that's happening. I don't think it must be a government thing that
Opt in, opt out.
that Zuckerberg knows about because he's privy to that type of information. And this must be what's coming next. The same way they brought in the internet, now they're bringing in, what is it called?
The metaverse.
The metaverse.
Or it's already there. They're not bringing anything anywhere.
Or we're already in the metaverse.
Jesse and Jamie are super flirty. And they had exchange like, I wonder if they're going to make a metaverse. Like, I think we're in one. And
Jesse and Jamie are very flirty?
Jamie and Jesse are very flirty.
Do you mean Joe and Jamie are very flirty?
No, Jamie and Jesse.
Oh, because I mean Joe and Jamie are very flirty.
Joe and Jamie, the producer, or Jesse?
Joe and Jesse.
Singularity is going to happen. Maybe in our lifetime.
Why are you looking at him like that?
You think the same? So you actually think we're going to be living in a simulation?
I think so. It's possible.
In our lifetime?
Yeah. Like 2050, 2060. I think I was going to save it for post Joe, but you know, like in 1918, this chick invented a bacteria that eats plastic. It's going to change the world.
Where's that been?
She's supposed to be person of the year, but they gave it to Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
It's all a sham.
Kamar, we should.
Oh, I thought you said 1920.
No, not like 2018. Sorry,
Oh, okay.
What?
That
2 years
changes.
ago. Yeah. It's for the post Joe, but I had to drop some
You
knowledge.
should be driving around in a car right now. You should have a little scooter that has a nuclear generator on the back of it. Instead, we have Chernobyl.
Advancement of stuff, singularity. I think in our lifetime, and it may be opt in, opt out.
Well, don't you think that's what the metaverse is? Like, isn't that what he's saying? We're going to have a space where you can be interactive with the internet. That to me sounds like the fucking Matrix.
Where do you think you'd rather go, into space or into the metaverse?
And Joseph, I don't think I want to go into space.
don't
I'd
wanna
rather
fly.
go into the metaverse.
Go to the metaverse.
Joe was hilarious, where he's like, you can't just etc. The metaverse. You can't say, oh yeah, we're making the Matrix is real, yada yada yada.
There's a lot of important stuff in there.
You can't yada yada the universe.
I just think the singularity is
Wow,
inevitable
that's
at this point.
going to be the title.
But then
of
couldn't
my
we
first
be in
book.
it? Couldn't
Yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
we be in it now? Then come on.
That's a simulation. Right there, buddy. Love it.
Okay. Fine.
She almost shot herself in the face. What a different world it would be.
Yeah.
She thought it was a lighter.
I mean, listen, if you're a comedian, that's the best way to go out. That is the joke that will never die.
It's true.
How'd she die?
If you are a comedian, that is the joke that will never die.
Can you imagine how like
She'll die, but the joke will never die.
Do you know anything about the silver tampon floating over New York City?
Well, I mean, I've heard that before.
I heard it from her first.
And a silver tampon to me sounds a lot like a Tic Tac.
She said
I
it
mean-
was huge, like the size of a bus.
Well, how big do you think the Tic Tac was?
I don't know.
I think it was bigger than a jet fighter,
Really?
for sure.
I think it was like the size of a Tic Tac that comes in a candy thing.
Oh, no, Kamar.
I
It
don't.
was huge.
I believe it was like
yeah.
a vessel.
Really?
I think they said it was the size of a bus.
No way.
Yeah.
So it could be the same thing.
I think we're seeing, those are what, I think everybody who said they saw a saucer probably saw some sort of like Tic Tac looking thing. And it just, depending on the angle, depending on how you saw it,
Motion blur.
or very possibly totally different spacecrafts from different places and would look very different. Hence the giant black triangles, the pyramids, like the one I was telling you about, as big as a football field. Dude, talk about things shattering your,
Holograms.
I just think it might be too much for humans. You know?
Possible.
Like
Someone was able to realize that there was someone else in their head.
Say that
That
again?
Eckhart Tolle guy, right?
Oh,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
live with myself anymore. Like, what? Who's myself? Who am I?
If you saw
If I'm not myself,
a giant black pyramid hovering in the sky, giant, like imagine that, the size of a football field, your fucking brain would break. You wouldn't know, you wouldn't be able to process that information.
Well, it's like the old. What did they say? They said that when the first ships came over, the Native Americans couldn't see them because they didn't know what they were. Not
They
that I
didn't
ever
know what they
fucking.
were
Not that I
looking
ever
at.
believed that.
It kind of reminds me of like,
they didn't know what a boat looked like, so they couldn't see it.
Yes, that's what they say.
yeah, that I don't really understand. I could see them thinking they were like fucking, I don't even know. some
Like I
sort of
said, I don't
weird
buy it.
whale.
Again, they thought these people were savages and were unteachable as well. So,
But it would start to make like the Bible make more sense because you see this thing in the sky that makes no sense. It goes against everything you understand as a human being in this time frame, and you have to give some sort of meaning to it. So you call it an angel or you call it a sun god or whatever, right? And you're looking at these same ships that they're looking at now over the ocean.
These Tic Tacs.
I was thinking more like one of these pyramids, but whatever.
I thought it was. Do you guys associate Carson with anything? You know what I mean? Like Carson's before my time.
Johnny Carson.
Yeah.
No, that's the weird thing when she was talking. That's why I asked her age when she was
She
like,
asked-
"Yeah, I used to
you
watch
were-
I Love Lucy," and I was like, "What are you,
No,
50?"
reruns.
But even then, I'm her age. I don't remember I Love Lucy reruns. Like,
I feel those are more like
Matt, that's so funny. I looked it up right away when she said I got stuck watching Mr. Ed. I was like, "You're lying, bitch."
this is
think
what I was
so.
thinking.
That's a
you guys,
lie.
You guys think so?
I'm
Listen,
I'm older than her. I
I'm her
think.
exact
Yes.
age.
I
I'm
never
30
saw Mr. Ed
No.
ever.
But did you ever see Gilligan's Island?
Yes. Oh, I did.
I'm 38, Kamar.
Beverly Hillbillies?
Nope.
No, I never got those either.
You saw Leave It to Beaver?
No.
What?
No.
Again,
Reruns.
no, I was aware of all these shows, as in like my parents talked about them, but I never know.
No, I felt like she was just trying to like,
Yes, I agree. I think she put on.
kind of like when she called Jenny Jennings.
Like, I'll give you an example. I remember my dad loved the Three Stooges. That's something I saw a lot of, specifically because my dad loved the Three Stooges.
That's before I Love Lucy.
Yeah, but I'm giving you an example of like why that was in my
But
life.
there weren't reruns of that on TV all the time.
Sure, there was. TVO had all that stuff. Abbott and Costello. I watched that as a kid.
Well, not me.
Anyways, TV shows. She has no idea what Carson was because I have no idea what Carson was, and I'm like 7 years older than her. Unless it's more indoctrination into television in the U.S.
Well, and if
we don't
you're
realize
a comedian,
No, because you also didn't get reruns of Carson. So like, and I don't care if you're a comedian.
The Carson is where I didn't even click to me when she talked about I Love Lucy and the Honeymooners. But Honeymooners was only on for one season.
really?
That's what they said in this. Is that crazy?
I don't remember the honeymooners.
Hold on a second.
I think it was so popular that they all just blew up. They talked about dogs, crows being really smart. It was funny to say Robin Williams was all improvised. Do you know he had to walk around with the guy with a checkbook?
Why buying
And people
people's
bounce
jokes?
Up. Well, he wasn't stealing, but he was just around and absorbed so much.
Gotcha.
But if they could prove to him that that's my joke, he'd pay them.
One season,
Boom.
1955.
Coyotes are everywhere. Fucking get a 22, take them out.
Coyote.
I mean,
There's a lot of coyotes in Ottawa.
Do not take them out with a 22. You have no right to be shooting coyotes.
Have you had a change in stance?
What do you mean? I love coyotes.
Okay. Well, what if they eat the baby?
Those are dingoes.
Not in Australia.
Yeah, dingoes.
We're not in Australia. The coyotes.
Anyways, coyotes, amazing animals. Everybody should read Coyote America by Dan Flores
And not shoot them with 22 rifles.
and not shoot them
Shotguns.
with 22 rifles.
'Cause
And
it spreads
don't wear those jackets either because they cull coyotes to get the fur.
This here's bird shot.
You know
won't
what
kill a man.
jackets I'm referring to?
Yeah, my Canada Goose.
Canada Goose.
Fur.
Yeah.
Very apropos. Because they were talking about men in fur coats.
And you know what happens when they cull the coyotes?
Our hunger for growth leads to our demise.
They just make more coyotes.
Are you done?
I am now.
And if there's none of us, there'd be a lot more coyotes.
Do you think?
I think the planet would just run smoother. I'd like to come back as an animal on a planet with no humans.
What kind of animal would you like to be, Kamar, if you had your choice? So North American animal.
Probably gorilla.
Oh, why do you got to be a
Yeah,
North
what the
American
fuck?
animal?
Well,
Mr. Open-minded.
He lives in North America.
I'd be a bear.
But I mean, okay.
So what kind of
Be a bear.
animal? You'd be a bear.
I'd be a bear.
And if you lived in like the
Grizzly
jungle,
bear.
you'd want to be a gorilla.
Or maybe like a fucking jacked orangutan slinging that dick.
Yeah, you'd have a big dick. The big gorilla has tiny little dicks. So
Orangutan. Man.
You have to have a big dick. That's your
That's
one
part of his
stipulation.
character.
Hey, if I'm coming
Got to
back.
keep this cock. Okay.
So you definitely don't want to be a pig then and have one of those fucking.
No, I think pigs
Big
fuck a
curly
lot. I could be a
dicks.
pig, man.
There's no humans, right? That's the stipulation.
No
it's
humans, no
you're born.
humans.
There are no pigs.
Well, who do you want to be, Matt? What kind of?
Well, maybe an
animal?
ocean animal then. If there's no humans.
You want to live in the ocean?
Well, I already live on land. I've already experienced that.
So do you want to be a mammal that lives in the
Like
ocean?
a dolphin. That'd be
So
sick.
you want to worry about having to come up and get air. That seems like a bother.
Why? If you're a dolphin, you're already flipping the fuck
And you
around
get to see
all
the
the
sun,
time.
see the
yeah,
stars,
best of
whatever.
both worlds.
I imagine holding your breath for that long just isn't enjoyable.
I think they have no gills whatsoever.
No, and I don't think it's hard for them. Like,
how
do you think dolphins are constantly just like out of breath? Like, oh my god, Dale, I nearly didn't make it again there. Like
Oh, maybe if they smoked.
Probably not.
a smoking dolphin.
Smoking fish might have
You know
a
who
little
tried to get a
problem with
dolphin to smoke?
You,
No. What's his name? The guy there.
Anthony Bourdain,
No.
Mark Hamill,
You know who I'm talking about. The same guy who tried to
The walrus.
jerk him off.
it.
No.
Oh, no.
Phil Demers.
Bill Demers.
Phil
Nice
Demers
call.
definitely
Doesn't
tried to
matter.
get a dolphin to
Did
smoke.
acid with him or
Yeah,
something.
100%.
No, he's the guy who banged the walrus. He doesn't
Yeah.
care about dolphins.
He read
No,
Chaos.
I
and was
don't
like,
think dolphins hold their breath like that. You're probably right, Matt. So you would want to live underwater. That's very
And
interesting.
do we know what animal you want to be?
At first, I thought I would want to be a wolf, but I think it would kind of be shitty to be in the pack. Like, unless you're like the head wolf, it sounds like it would be pretty hard.
I think
So you want to be a wolf, but not a bitch wolf. Like
you're
you got to
picking
be.
an animal because
Well,
you think it sounds cool.
Would you rather be a hunter or the hunted? Like, if you had to live your life, would you rather be constantly trying to
Is that a
get
sliding
food?
thing? No, you're always hunted in a certain.
Okay, would you rather be like a deer or a mountain lion?
I'd rather be a bear. That's what I said. So I'm a hunter.
So you're a hunter.
I mean, listen, your question is stupid. You're asking, would I rather be eaten ass first at some point in my life or most likely not be eaten ass first at some point in my life?
Well, if
I would
you're-
obviously rather live a life where I'm not eaten ass first. I
you're
think that's
still-
obvious.
You're still gonna die. Like if you're a wolf, let's say,
Yeah.
you're gonna get like killed by your pack or trampled to death by a fucking moose, or it's not gonna be like a kindly death for you. Nobody's dying nicely out
But
there.
this is about you, Simon. What animal would you be?
Yeah, this guy refused. He's like, he's deflecting like
He's
Joe.
Joe,
It's what's
exactly.
going on over here?
What's the
fuck?
trauma,
Just
buddy?
answer. Yeah, I was a dolphin in a past life. Fuck you, Matt.
So maybe yeah, that's tough. Maybe
First, he puts the
if I
stipulation
lived-
North
if I
America,
lived in
which made me think he had something cocked and ready to
analyzed
go.
what we just
I know,
thought.
yeah.
We both put ourselves
Yeah.
out there. Then he tore it down, and now he's
If
like,
I lived in North America, I'd be a coyote. And if I lived somewhere else, I think I'd be like a jaguar maybe, or one of those like stealthy hunting cats that nobody fucks with.
I think it's interesting. None of us want to be a bird. Just flying.
Oh,
cool.
yeah, fuck! I totally forgot about birds. An eagle, yeah, that'd be sick.
Eagle would be
A bird that
pretty
fucks a
fucking
lot.
sick. A fucking
Kamar, what birds have big cocks?
and not the ostrich.
Penguins obviously have huge dicks. Look at how they walk.
No, but
Yeah, they must. Yeah, it's
Penguin-
weighing them down.
when they're just in the Antarctica, allegedly, but you know what I mean? They're just sitting there.
Oh, that's
the
terrible.
Crazy
That's
blizzards
terrible.
and
Have
ice.
you ever seen a penguin skeleton?
Yeah, they have
They have big,
knees.
long legs.
Yeah, they
that
have
are
knees.
like-
I know.
It's the weirdest thing ever.
fit as fuck,
Because you
eh?
think they have tiny little feet that just attach right
Yeah,
here.
nope.
They don't. It goes like, whoop, whoop.
So Simon, you think when the world ends, they're secretly gonna run like full bore? Like they have that capability, but they're just like, nah.
Oh, yeah, man. Like as soon as they need to. Just huge strides like a bunny rabbit.
yeah, just out of there.
Well, that's kind of what they look like, bunnies. They got these like structure to them. That would be a cool animal to be a rabbit. They fuck a lot, Kamar.
Yeah, there you go, Kamar. Come back as a rabbit.
They have a whole expression about rabbits fucking.
Yeah. but he wants dick
That's
size.
So weird, man.
I don't think he cares about the amount of fucking.
Well, I mean,
So
couldn't
weird.
you
No,
just be
no. I have a smaller dick now.
Couldn't you be a
Whatever
rabbit?
animal fucks a lot.
a rabbit
so you wanna
with
be a rabbit
with an
for sure.
abnormally big dick?
Big dick.
Big
Peter
dick rabbit.
I'll change my name to Peter too. Then they talked about languages.
Peter
Peter
Dick?
North Rabbit.
They talked about languages, which you already talked about.
Yeah.
Rate it, boys.
Oh, you're done.
All I'll say is I was like, I don't want to listen to this. I was putting it off. And I was like, she's really into conspiracy theories, and she's very open-minded. So I think you'd like that about her, Simon. And
I have no problem with her. I didn't want to listen to this, and I didn't want to come in here and talk about listening to this.
I liked the things they talked about, and yet didn't like the episode. So that just tells you something.
I give it a 4. I really enjoyed it.
I give it the opposite, a 1.5.
And I give it a 2.5. But 4 hours is too much. The drinking was too much.
Can't do it.
She was like, at one point, Joe called her a dirty bitch, and I thought she was gonna like take offense to it.
Oh no, they were getting dirty.
But yeah,
Just comedian talk, Simon. You're not in that world.
I think she wanted to take offense to it and couldn't.
What did he call it? A gated? No.
Dusty load.
Whatever. No, not dusty. Let's forget it. All right, that's been an episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you made it this far, incredible. We love you to death. Thank you so much. There is some socials if you want to follow us. We have a Twitter and an Instagram. They're both at JREE Podcast. You can also follow Kamar on Instagram.
Kamara Bar.
There's a Reddit if you want to join in the conversation. It's r/JREE Podcast. Good little conversations going on lately. No, it's been good. Join the Reddit if you want to jump in. The YouTube if you want to watch the show. Simon might return to camera soon. It's youtube.com/JREE Podcast. Even if you don't plan on listening or watching, maybe just go hit the subscribe button anyway. It would do us a huge favor. We do have the nice set going on here now if you want to at least check that out. And then, of course, the Patreon, where you can find the post show, which is the show after the show. You can support us on Patreon for as little as $5 a month. Go to patreon.com/JREE Podcast. Like I said, you'll get the post show, and you'll also get the backlog of This Won't Age Well.
I think I might bring down the gimbal and make a virtual tour of the whole setup for the Patreon.
Do what you got to do, bro. Hear that? You might get a virtual tour for $5. How do you like that?
It's time.
If you're already supporting, fuck yeah, you're the shit. We do it for you. That's it. That was another episode. Thank you guys so much for listening. Stick around for the post show. We hope you have a great weekend, and as usual,
Dusty loads is all I can think about. Keep your eyes open.